All right, what's up, everybody? This is Rainy with the Super Magical Cup, and joining us is Rumham.
Hey guys.
And Rumham was just done. You just got done with a streaming session.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I stream every Saturday morning, and it was this. My normal streaming just went right into this, so I hope we've got some loyal Rumham viewers in chat. That'd be awesome.
That is absolutely awesome. So, as you guys know, if you have been watching the Super Magical Cup, and also if you haven't watched it before, the Super Magical Cup is a weekly tournament, and we have gems up for grabs,
Lots of
super
gems.
magical chests that people can win. You can see the pricing down there on the overlay. First place gets about the equivalent of about 7 super magical chests. Second place gets 4. And then third and fourth place get 1. And in addition to that, Rumham, we have viewer giveaways too. So across the stream, we're going to be throwing out questions to you guys. And all you guys have to do is ! raffle space and then answer the question that we asked, and then we'll go ahead and use Moobot to find a random winner and read out their answers on stream, and you're gonna get $10 worth of gems, a bucket of gems, I believe it is, in game, and so a lot of exciting stuff. Rumham, your first time joining us here. How do you feel about
I'm really excited. I love casting tournaments. I love being able to see the really high level strategy. The thing that excites me the most long term about the Super Magical Cup is that the prizing seems to be the highest of any community tournament that I've seen so far. I mean, I barely opened 7 super magical chests after the update. To win that each week would be an incredible, amount of gems to earn. So I really hope that the high lucrative prize pool brings out the best competitors, the best competition, and really becomes the place to go for Clash Royale tournament play.
Absolutely. And with that, actually, guys, we do have a leaderboard that has been started, and so we'll have more information about that coming at you guys in the coming weeks. And of course, as more Super Magical Cups are being held, more winners are going to be determined, and more points are going to be given out, so you guys can follow actually who are the consistent top placers. And if it's all chaos, you're going to figure out who's been kind of getting first place across the weeks. It's going to be really exciting. On top of that, this is kind of the first Super Magical Cup that's going to be held on the new tournament, or rather the new Clash Royale patch. And so there's a lot of stuff, more legendaries, more cards, balance, a lot of changes. So we're going to see a radically different game than we did the last
Of the 3 new legendaries, which one do you expect to see the most of? Or to be the most powerful? Which one's going to take the whole meta by storm?
So my heart tells me Sparky.
Ooh.
But my brain tells me it's the Princess Rumham.
Of the new ones, of the new legendaries.
Of the new ones. Okay, of the new ones. I feel like people have yet to explore the Miner.
Okay.
As much as I think the Miner has a lot of good uses, but I feel like people are just trying to constantly use it to backstab towers, which I think is not its most effective.
We were just talking about this on my stream right before I came on, is that I feel like the Miner, what people are doing is they're playing things like Giant or Royal Giant to tank the tower, and then they play Miner as an aggressive attacker on the tower while it's not drawing any aggro. The problem is that the Miner does 40% damage to crown towers. What ends up happening is that he needs to get 3, 4, 5 attacks to even be equivalent to like an arrows or a fireball, and you probably wouldn't just arrow or fireball a tower. So I don't think that's his strongest use. I really like Miner with Goblin Barrel. And a few other things like that, where his little bit of hit points can translate into a lot of damage by tanking for other low hit point, high damage troops. My prediction for this tournament is that Lava Hound is incredibly strong. I think Lava Hound is kind of underrated right now because most people don't have him, or the people who do have him at the top of the leaderboard only have a level 1 or level 2 Lava Hound. But in tournaments, all legendaries are capped at level 1. So anyone who has even a single Lava Hound can play Lava Hound to its maximum effect in this event. And I expect to see a lot of surprising Lava Hound performances.
Absolutely.
That's my breakout card of the new legendaries.
Absolutely. Lava Hound is going to be very interesting to see. It's a very, very strong card, just in the sense that it's very tanky. You can get up to towers, and then it releases a mini minion horde, basically, when it gets defeated. So, with that being said, guys, let's jump right into the first match. We have, we're still in kind of in pool plays, so Rumham, we're just going to be jumping in between random matches, just kind of spectating, seeing how the group of players are playing, just trying to get a good look at everybody kind of trying to qualify into what will be our tournament bracket, and that's going to be a round of 8. So up until now, it's just going to be a little bit of chaos, but we have our first matchup here. Let's go ahead and look at the match preview, and we can take a look at their decks even, and Rumham, with your expertise, why don't you give us some thoughts about how you feel these two decks playing out? The first thing that catches my eye, of course, is that the bomb tower still exists, Rumham.
I'm surprised to not see Kana in either of these decks. And actually, let's talk first. This is going to be a great match because there's no Hog Riders. Not that there's anything wrong with Hog Riders, but that's one of the most commonly played cards, so it'll be really interesting to see the duel of these two non-Hog decks. No,
the matches are sliding up. So.
Oh, the matches are sliding off the chat because it's going so fast. Oh, wow.
Oh, goodness. Okay, well, now I need to... Oh, God, we were looking... Oh, here it is. Here it is. We found it.
We got it. Okay, hopefully we didn't spoil it. There we go. So I think what'll be interesting here is Royal Giant seems to be the new breakout card of the most recent patch.
Yes.
Royal Giant's range being increased by 1 has made it one of the most popular attacking things that I'm kind of... Let's see. I don't really know how Royal Giant decks even duel. The big thing I'm excited about is the Giant Skeleton in the Dards deck.
Yeah.
The Giant Skeleton can go in front of the Royal Giant, block for it, and then when it dies, blow up anything that would come from the Royal Giant. If we see that interaction, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to freak out.
Well, let's see if we can satisfy Rumham's...
That's what I want to see.
Combo. He really wants to see that combo work out. So, the Dard versus ETD. Oh my goodness, look at those trophies. Rumham, these guys are serious.
We've got a legendary player, the Dard. He knows. That's how he knows.
Oh man,
and that's how he knows about the Giant Skeleton. He's a legend.
Exactly. And something cool to notice is that the new friendly battle cap is raised, so we have level 9 Arena Towers. Okay, so the first play is going to be the Giant Skeleton moving across. Yeah, the Valkyrie is a great card to utilize. It's very tanky, and it tries to keep the...
Oh, it still gets there, though, just in time.
Oh, my God, and the
Inches
Archers
off.
and the Spear Goblins. Okay, the Zap. I like the Zap.
Great. That helps stem the bleeding. Like, you know, it's unfortunate that you took 1,300 damage, but being able to zap and prevent another, 1,500 or so is great. Love the sportsmanship, too. Good old thumbs up.
Uh-oh.
Here comes Royal Giant. Who can... Oh! That is one of the most underrated new skills with this patch, has been the ability to play a tower just as the Royal Giant comes across, but before it targets your main tower.
It's very
fast. A very small window to get in there.
It's time to... The TTT, time to tower,
yeah,
is actually faster than the Hog Rider, in fact. So the Royal Giant is actually a speedy card despite its size. And more Royal Giants.
Ooh, EDT, I'm nervous about that Royal Giant because, with no backup, it's actually relatively easy to counter. Royal Giant isn't a card that you can play by himself like Hog Rider. Well, I guess you sort of can, but it's I feel like it's very easy.
So
in that,
the Valkyrie actually onto the barbs and the spear. Oh my God!
Get the spears! The Valkyrie at least earned her keep. She earned her elixir cost. Even
I was about to bring up this thought, right? The Royal Giant is a 6 elixir card, and that's kind of the equivalent of playing a Hog Rider alone and a Zap, or a Hog Rider and a Goblins. And you saw that Royal Giant actually got 4 shots off, so the equivalent is actually the same as spending something like a Hog Rider Zap combo. You get those guaranteed hits in, even though they play the Barbarians to counter. That's something to think about.
I think that the danger in that analogy, however, is that usually, let's say a Hog Zap, you're zapping something irrelevant. Like you're zapping a 2 elixir card. So Zap normally ends up being elixir equal, and then the Hog Rider gets the damage in. The downside that I've had, and I've been playing a lot of Royal Giant decks, I'm a big fan of the big boy. The biggest downside is that even though he costs 6, if he only gets in 400 damage and then they play Barbarians that kill him, right? These Barbarians are at full health and returning, and you have to deal now with this, 5 elixir push. It can be supported with other things. You can see the Giant Skeletons coming in.
Essentially, none of the additional elixir played for the cost of the Giant is killing off any cards, so the counter push gets that much bigger. And it looks like ETD is in a little bit of trouble. I've liked the way he's used the Valkyrie all game long, but it just seems like his defense can't hold. The Royal Giant moves over, and oh my God, look at how much damage he's doing.
I think he can take that one down, though. And then his Valkyrie moves up, and it looks like it's nearly full health. That's a great fireball. Lots of value in there, and the Zap holds it off. So what do you think went wrong for EDT there? It almost went wrong from the very first The very first interaction between the players.
You know, I feel like the big thing about EDT's struggle was that even though he was placing the Valkyrie down, the thing about the Valkyrie is it's great at tanking those big units. So giant skeleton, but he had the archers in the back and he was going to add on the spear goblins and he was just starting to pile cards on top. And I feel like the Valkyrie wasn't backed up with enough damage on supporting it. And so the Valkyrie ended up delaying the giant skeleton. But as we saw, the Valkyrie ended up falling. Giant skeleton had enough health to walk up to the tower and drop its bomb. And then in the second situation, the Royal Giant ended up pushing up, and then the Valkyrie was doing the damage that it could, but the Royal Giant is still getting shots off onto the tower.
Once a tower gets to around 1,000 or less, it's really hard to stop a Royal Giant deck from being able to push it, especially if they have spells like Fireball that they can use to not only kill the things that are coming for the Royal Giant, but also to finish off a low health tower.
Right, and one of the things to think about with this new patch is looking at, you know, now you're really being tested for your decks about how effectively are you able to put out enough damage onto things like the Royal Giant, because before it was really how quickly can you defeat the Hog Rider, and even more so than that, how much can you distract the Hog Rider so that you can burn it down, because it didn't have that much health.
You're right. The old meta was very much about distraction. I mean, when you think about P.E.K.K.A.s, slow building attackers or hog riders, that was really the thing. You didn't really concern yourself with how quickly can I kill the P.E.K.K.A. It was how long can I dance the P.E.K.K.A. around in front of my tower.
Absolutely.
But that's really not going to work anymore with Royal Giants, so I like that it's forcing decks to figure out how much DPS can I actually do.
Absolutely. Let's go into another game. Let's take a look. Oh my god!
No, guess we're not doing that game now. We'll do a different game. Hey, so quick question. Is this a good time to talk about the format of the Super Magical Cup? How many people are playing in this tournament?
Yeah, actually, it's a 128-person tournament, and what happens is, because we're having to work within the clan system, they're all split off into groups of 32.
Okay.
So groups of 32 will play against each other, and that's kind of our group play, which is what we're in right now. We're kind of watching the group play. We're in one of the clans, the qualifier B group, and we're going to watch some of these games until we get closer to kind of the final 8 players, so 2 from each group. So we're going to see the qualifying matches out of those groups, and then they're going to go into so from A, B, C, D, you have one player moving on to make a semifinals bracket.
Awesome.
And then we're gonna go to the finals, and that's how we're gonna play. And every single match, starting from the group stages, is actually best of 3.
Okay.
So it's first to 2 wins, moves on in the rounds. And so single elimination. Once you lose your set of best of 3, you're out of the tournament.
But you get at least 2 games against each opponent.
Absolutely. And then the other thing to think about, which is a big question for Clash tournaments, I think, across the globe, is, you know, what is the deck format? How is the game going to be played in the competitive sense? We've decided to try this format where we have the players submit 2 decks, and they have to actually win with both their decks. And we define the 2 different decks as having to be 4 cards different.
Okay, so I can't just play 2 Hog Zap decks.
Exactly.
Well, I guess I could, but at least 50% of the decks has to be different.
Has to be different.
Awesome.
So these 2 different decks must be submitted, and you have to win with both of them. So in a best of 3, if you win the first game with your Hog Zap, now you have to play the second game with your alternate deck, you must win with that. You cannot go back to your Hog Zap in that matchup.
I like that a lot. I like that it forces people to be a little more diverse in their deck selection and stuff. That's really cool. If I wanted to sign up for this, how would I sign up for it?
So you can go to the website, www.supermagicalcup.com. All the information is there about pricing, about signups, about how you get involved with the community, and much more stuff coming onto that website. A lot of information. You can also follow the Twitter on the overlay there, and you can get updates about announcements and whatnot. So, awesome. Super Magical Cup. Moving on, Luca versus Nick R. All right, so just as a glance here, I see Hog Zap on Luca's side. Hog Zap, assisted by Valkyrie, which is, I feel like, has become slowly, it was always a really popular card, but slowly but steadily, people have been like, okay, Valkyrie is pretty.
Valkyrie is good against so many things. I mean, I think one of the subtle interactions you're going to see in this game is, it's again, Giant Skeleton, Royal Giant, love that combo. I think what you might see is the Valkyrie being played on the back side of a Giant Skeleton to hold it in front of a tower, tank it for a really long time, and then when it dies, she just walks away out of the explosion. I think you'll see a lot of, it'll be a challenge for Nick R to actually get his Giant Skeletons to the tower with cannons, Hog Riders, and Valkyries to distract him. But if he can, obviously a huge payout.
Yep. And the key phrase to remember here is Cool guys don't look at explosions.
Cool ladies neither.
Cool ladies. Action stars.
Cool gals do not look at explosions.
Action movie stars do not look at explosions. The Valkyrie just walks away.
All right, we're starting off with the
Oh my god!
the world's most famous opening. Good early zap just to
Ooh.
stop those hogs in their place. And actually, I liked where the zap was played because it ended up holding the hog in the tower range for a little
Yeah,
bit.
got a few extra shots.
Overall, though, I believe Luca only spent 8 to Nick R's 9, so that actually
Yeah.
probably turned out a little better for Luca.
Yeah, and you know, of course, the fact that he had to play the Elixir Collector in such an awkward situation. Obviously, you want the Elixir Collector to survive to give you the benefit, and just luck of the draw, really.
And Valkyrie, though. Oh, there's a giant skill.
Oh!
Let's see where this Valkyrie's playing.
Oh!
The in front. Oh, Luca. I think Luca could have waited just a little longer to let the giant skeleton walk, so you can play it in between the archers and the giant skeleton. That way, the Valkyrie would at least kill those things. But we just, as we said, giant skeleton's kind of easy to distract and run around. Love the confetti throwing.
Yeah, the confetti.
throwing.
That's probably one of my favorite changes. Is actually the confetti.
Is that from live spectating? Like, it seems like if you live
think- yeah.
spectate, you throw the confetti, and
Oh!
then it stays in the replay. That's awesome. How great
There's
is that?
multiple people throwing confetti. Oh, Royal Jan on hand.
Oh, reaches across.
Oh, that was long range. He had a pole. He just poked
That's
the cannon.
yeah. That's one of my favorite things about Royal Giant now. I don't think it could shoot the Elixir Collector, for example, where it's placed, but one click forward, and I believe those buildings are vulnerable. They
Yep.
have to be at least 4 clicks away
Uh-oh.
from grid spaces.
Don't know about that. Oh my god. Actually,
Wow.
it feels like Nick R has some very inefficient options against the Valkyrie. He had to play skeletons and then spear goblins, and the Valkyrie just chews through those 2 cards.
Yeah, those any number of small units Valkyrie will take on without
Uh-oh.
question. Oh wow! Didn't have another Elixir Collector, no cannon in that deck. The Fireball, while doing damage and killing the goblins, a little late. Not much, maybe nothing much you could do about that.
Yeah.
I think if he had a zap in hand, the zap would have been a little stronger, but
Yeah.
what can you do?
Timing is super important. The difference between fireballing before the goblins do the damage and then fireballing after they clean it up is huge. The fact that the Hog Rider maybe could have gotten another 2 swings if the goblins hadn't done their damage.
What I'm
But-
really excited about is, as competitive Clash Royale gets more developed, is the ability for people to play predictive spells. So when you say there's nothing there right now, but I think there will be something there, and I'm willing to gamble on it by playing my blank, that will be, I think, really awesome.
Yes.
This is a huge push coming from Nick R. Where is this coming from? Where's the elixir coming from? Oh my
There's a
goodness.
second giant skeleton being added onto the mix. The Valkyrie, now that's the money spot. That is the money
Oh,
spot.
nope,
that we
it
were
didn't
talking
get
about.
oh, I got held up by the spear
Nearly walked
goblins.
away from the explosion.
It got held up, unfortunately, by the little goobers in front.
Okay, Goblin Royal Giant. Archers are going to tag onto the goblins, and the cannon gets taken down by the Royal Giant, and he's not even at 75% health.
The cannon didn't help at all. The cannon wasn't shooting at all. It was just sitting there as a HP sink. Let's see if the
I feel
Valkyrie
like
can
this
hold it up.
combination was backwards from what you were imagining. Whoa!
There goes the
Yes.
Valkyrie. She did it. She walked away. She distracted, walked away. And the goblins are getting some damage in there. The Hog Rider on the left doing great work.
It's just chaos on both sides.
Where's that fireball? Oh,
Left
and
side tower. Oh, the archers do so much damage.
I would argue that this game is already in Luca's hand because he just needs to fireball twice, just twice.
That's all you need. Just take the elixir disadvantage. Oh, and actually,
That's
that might
it. There's
just
the
be one.
fireball.
Ah! No!
No! 41 health. It's tournament. Oh,
Oh,
the zap
zap.
steals it.
Got it.
Tournament levels. What does a level 9 fireball do? We should know that. We should just know that off the top of our head, I think.
I know the level 8, rather the level 6 fireball it is, because the fireball is a rare card, right? The
Yeah,
level
yeah.
6 fireball is like some 208 damage or so.
I think it's so clearly it's not 270. It's like 230 or something like that. We'll take a look.
260. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
230
crazy.
damage.
It's crazy. Oh my goodness, that was so close. Luca.
Great game.
Luca takes it.
Congratulations, Luca.
He just barely makes it past. All right, let's see here. Oh, there's actually interesting. We have. Actually
Oh, they were playing best 2 out of 3, right?
Yeah, they're playing best together. Actually, we could just take a look at this game.
Yeah, look at game 2 there.
Yeah, we could just. It's right here in front
They
of us.
just
Why
finished
not?
it. Yeah, so let's take a look at
Oh!
this hot off the presses.
The Golem.
Okay, so let's get this right. Luca won.
Yep.
So Luca can no longer play his Hog Zap deck. He must switch.
And he was pretty adept at it.
He was very adept at playing Hog Rider. So let's see how he is at playing a completely different style of deck, right? Golem, the Slowlem, the slow Golem.
Who wants to be friends with him?
Yeah.
He's
Now,
so slow.
what's interesting though is that Nick R is sticking with his, his giant skeleton Royal Giant deck. No reason. He was very close to winning last game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just from looking at the deck list, how is he going to fight a Golem?
And this is a question that we brought up, right? With the introduction of the Royal Giant, a lot of decks are now being tested on how fast can you do damage. And I think a lot of people have been trying to get away with things like skeletons, goblins, as you can see from Nick R's deck. Skeleton, goblin, spear goblins. But guess what? Those cards get destroyed by arrows, get destroyed by fireballs, even get destroyed by bombers.
Yeah, actually, that didn't really occur to me. The bomber in Luca's deck, that's a very rarely seen card that might be actually coming back into favorability because of the popularity of barbarians. Barbarians have really come back into play, as have guards,
Yeah.
the new unit.
Yeah.
Bomber's strong against both of those, and obviously he's going to keep the area around the golem clear. I think the biggest thing that would scare me if I was Luca was be a minion horde, but there's none on the deck. There's no minions or anything
There's no
in
minions.
Nick Ard's deck. Let's see how this goes.
We'll just hop right into it. Let's see what happens. Luca in the advantage versus Nick R. 2.8k trophies versus 2.5, and Luca is actually the one that took the first win. Let's see if Nick R can bring it back. Elixir Collector start, and there is no punish.
Nothing. Oh, he's just letting it happen.
Look at what's in Luca's hand. He's got the bomb tower, but that's going to be a waste.
Yeah,
Elixir
I don't
Collector
do
is a
that.
static, or rather,
He
a
had
static
Spear Goblins coming up
advantage.
next. Maybe just Goblins and Spear Goblins could have done some work. Then again, though, that's 4 Elixir. That's pretty easily countered by 2 or less Elixir. That's not.
Uh-oh.
How's he gonna
Big
stop
bones.
it? I like the back end Goblins along with the bomb tower. I don't believe this giant skeleton's going to ultimately be too threatening, although it looks like it might kill the bomb tower.
Uh-oh. He needs to throw one bomb. Oh, that's the money shot.
Good enough. There we go.
That was the money shot.
Was able to protect the tower, but what are you going to do about that Royal Giant? Here's where
boy.
Bomber, actually for 3 Elixir, Bomber does a significant amount of DPS. He's just very fragile.
Yes, and so Spear Goblins plus Bomber, but look at how many shots the Royal Giant is getting. And the
God, it's
zap.
half the tower.
Goodness. Big boy
Wow.
does work. Goblins make their way across, but with nothing to defend, they get taken down by the archers and the tower. The Bomber, again,
Good enough, though.
Value.
Only going to take maybe 1 damage or so. It doesn't kill the archer, so it's not a true 3 for 3. But if you consider he's only going to take... Oh, no damage, actually. That was a 3 for 3.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. The Goblins, unfortunately.
the counter push, and I really feel like that's the benefit of Luca's deck having the bomb tower and the bombers, is just the counter pushes can be handled so cleanly in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
Bombers and bomb towers are the #1 way, actually splash units in general are the #1 ways generally to get an elixir advantage in this game, because they can be super cost effective.
The for example, like, there's no way to get more out of a musketeer shot. She's going to do the same amount of damage every
Yes.
time. But fireballs have an unlimited amount of damage they can, or elixir they can trade for.
Oh, this is what we were talking about! Look at how
Oh, the
many star
golem
units-
blows up.
Woo! See ya, goblins.
And the
One
musketeer
Spear
comes in
Goblin.
to pick up some of the other stuff. He's got a fireball and an arrows, and he's just choosing not to play them against the relatively soft defenses
I
of
feel
Nick
like he
R.
could have gotten a lot of value if he did play those arrows, but maybe he just wanted to save for his second push because he knows the second push is where he might be able to take the tower down.
Yeah.
The first push, he got it down to about half. If we imagine that same push happening again,
And that was just a single golem. There wasn't
Yeah.
really any backup for it. Oh, giant across the river! So you're saying how many clicks is it? 1, 2, 3. You got to play your buildings at least 4 clicks away, or
Royal
else
Giant.
they will get shot by Royal Giants.
changing the game. Bomb towers that used to be the king of the meta, I feel like are now being crushed by the Royal Giant. Look at how happy he is.
Wow,
just
both of
shooting
them,
away.
both big boys go down, but the
Oh!
giant skeleton clears the path. And I don't know, how does Luca defend now? It seems like he has only been able to get 1 golem going. You certainly can't play a golem against the against a deck that's just spamming
Yeah.
Royal Giants and Giant
Yeah.
Skeletons on you.
And I almost feel like he should have actually just taken the hit while he had a lot of time
Yeah.
to get the
Good time
Golem
now.
up to the tower. And now that he's played the Golem, he only has 5 seconds left. Golem is pretty slow.
Yeah, that's Golem's not going to be able to get there in time. It's unfortunate. I think that maybe, in hindsight, playing the Golem in response to the Giant Skeleton, because it'll distract the Giant Skeleton
Yes.
for a very long period of time. The Golem can withstand the explosion pretty reasonably. That would have maybe stemmed the bleeding of just Giant Skeleton, Royal Giant, Giant Skeleton, Royal
Yeah.
Giant.
Yeah.
That would have been something that kind of hold the bulwark the line a
Yeah.
little bit and build up that big counter push.
It was interesting because the combination that you described, I kind of imagined it as the Giant Skeleton and the Royal Giant. But how it ended up playing out for Nick R was that he just constantly played one and then the other and then one and the other. That essentially it just achieved the same effect.
Yeah, I normally play them like that. I mean, I normally like to play the Giant Skeleton in the very far back behind my King Tower, let it walk up, and then I play the Royal Giant behind it, because the most common and effective answer to Royal Giant is either in Barbarians or Inferno Tower. Inferno Tower is another story, but at least the Barbarians, they surround the Giant Skeleton instead of the Royal Giant, and then when the Giant Skeleton blows up, kills all the Barbarians, leaving the Royal Giant free, and how else are you going to kill that thing?
Yep.
I even
Free
like
to
the
just
ability
pick away.
that the timer, the 3-second timer, buys you that many more Royal Giant shots. 'Cause they don't want to play anything into the explosion.
Yeah, exactly. It's a deterrent in many
Yeah.
ways.
Well, I think we have some live spectating. Think we can?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take
Are
a
they
look
still
at
playing? Luke? Oh, actually, it looks like they're getting ready for Game 3. We could watch Game 3 of that match or jump in on. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's go here.
Check the live spectating. This is a game
Oh,
that's going on
let's
right
throw
now.
confetti. Woo! I vote for blue. You get to vote for red if you want, but oh my god, minion horde! Okay, that's an interesting counter. Now, it's very dangerous to spawn your units on top of a minion horde.
Yeah.
Because minion horde does a ton of damage, and they could almost kill units before.
It's actually the 1 second summon time. Every unit actually has a deploy time of 1 second. So what happens at least, yeah. So what ends up happening is if you play right on top, the minions that are alive already get essentially a free attack in, and when you're playing something as fragile as a minion horde,
Uh-oh, Cannon vs. Hog Rider, tried and true. Hog Rider loses every time. Prince and the Ice Wizard in the back, that's gonna be a pretty good... Oh, he's got double legendaries, I didn't even notice!
oh yeah, the princess is clearing the way for all those little things. Unfortunately, the Ice Wizard does 0.0 damage, so
Yeah.
like I don't expect him to tear that tower down, but the princess can do some work. Unfortunately, how are you gonna counter the minion horde with your princess dead?
Uh-oh.
I don't see any arrows in Muniz' deck.
Yeah, and that's something interesting to know about live spectating is that we don't get to see the cards in hand, and we don't actually get to see what cards they have until they reveal. So Money's Ren actually has not played 2 of his cards. I bet you it's Rocket and Inferno Tower.
Could be. I'm looking at his deck. It looks a lot like the old P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince deck.
Yes.
It's got both legendaries, P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince, including the minion horde.
Yes.
I'm surprised. Maybe it's like an
Hog Rider.
barbarians.
Oh!
Okay.
Barbie.
And the Hog Rider go with it. Oh,
Okay,
what
yep,
a fireball!
Valley Fireball is-
What a fireball from Axel.
You know, Barbarian Hard Rider is a great combo, but
That's how you feel when you fireball barbarians and a Hog Rider.
Minion Horde! It's definitely not arrows. If it was arrows, I feel like arrows would be played
these
there.
minion hordes are just tearing up Mr. Ren.
Oh, by the way, you gotta press your.
Oh yeah,
confetti that
I got confetti everybody. Let's see, it's waiting for it. I'm a believer in blue. Come on, steal a tower here.
Alright.
You got 19 seconds left. Make us proud.
Ah! Dark Prince Hog Rider.
Oh,
Dark
it's a
Prince
good
taking
little
for it.
charge.
It makes it. Oh, the princess in the back too. Oh, the princess.
We're
has
gonna
such
throw the
low attack
confetti.
speed. Oh.
Good defense. Good defense for Axel.
And the cannon, that's, especially effective towards the end of the game. Just throw away elixir inefficient defenses, but all you're doing is buying time.
You know what's interesting that I failed a lot on the first few days of this new patch is I thought Prince would be a very strong answer to Royal Giant. Does a lot of single target damage, you know what I mean? But if you actually look at his DPS for his cost, it's not very high.
Yeah.
He does about, at max level, not I don't know about tournament, but at max level he does about 260 DPS, which is about the equivalent of 2 barbarians.
Yeah.
So it's about half as effective as killing a
For the
Royal
same
Giant,
elixir cost.
and way worse than say like Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is great.
That was something that I really wanted to use as an anti-Royal Giant card, so we'll see.
All right. Hey, guys, just as a side note, before we hop into the next match, why don't we do our first giveaway?
Let's do it!
Why don't we do our first giveaway and Rumham?
Giveaway time. I'm gonna use these the whole time.
All right.
Hooray!
Rumham, why don't you tell the viewers what the first giveaway question is,
Okay.
and then tell them how to answer that. So
So as a
just
quick
exclamation
reminder,
mark.
you're gonna, if you want to enter this raffle, do exclamation mark raffle space and then put your answer. So for the very first giveaway, which of the new legendaries is your favorite and why? So exclamation mark raffle space. Which of the new legendaries is your favorite and why? I don't believe when they have some time to answer. They don't have
Yes.
to. It's not a race. You
not a
can think and give a really good answer. We're gonna find a great answer and make sure that person gets a giveaway of $10, $10 US worth of gems, which will take you. I mean, that'll take you from Arena 4 to Arena 5 for sure.
Yeah.
The questions asked.
Yeah, and keep in mind, guys, that we will pick 3 separate winners, and we have more questions. We have actually 4 more opportunities.
Yes.
When will they happen in the stream? Nobody knows.
Stick around. This whole tournament should last till about, let's say, 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll be on for about another 2.5, 3 hours. Stick around. We're gonna do some more giveaways, and of course, we're gonna crown the 3rd Super Magical Cup champion and award a lot of Super Magical Cup tournament points to, I believe, the top 8 gets points. Yes.
And we actually have possibilities for a very interesting story in this tournament. In the last 2 Super Magical Cups, we had separate first place winners. The first tournament was won by a player named Woody. The second tournament was won by a player named Ryguy. And the big thing about the second tournament is that the winner of the previous tournament actually couldn't make it out, but he is here today. The question is,
Will Woody and Ryguy play?
That's one question. I haven't actually seen the rest of the pools, and then the other question is, are they going to make it out of the pools? Because there's a lot of great players. There's so many players of Clash Royale. There's so many great players, and Super Magical Cup is still growing. You know, people are still kind of discovering it. We may not have yet seen the Terminator.
That's why I really love the tournament point system, is because there's always this question of like, well, who's the best player in the game? Who's the best tournament player? The people at the top, maybe they just bought a bunch of cards and they're maybe not the strongest. We don't really know, right? So what I really loved is like the Helsinki tournament, for example, showed that Jason, a sub 3,000 trophy player, was just completely wrecked everyone. What's great about the Super Magical Cup is that if these people continue to compete week after week and earn these tournament points, they will become a name player all on their own. They're going to say, oh, you know, Rye Guy, he wins every week at the Super Magical Cup. He must be insane. We got to get him to the next major tournament. I really see this Super Magical Cup as a great stepping stone for players who maybe are under 3,000 trophies in real life to show off their skills and get invited to these larger in-person Clash Royale tournaments.
Absolutely, and that's what we're on the journey.
Yes, we're on the journey of seeing this.
Journey. All right, so why don't we go ahead and say let's spectate one more game, and at the end of the game we'll decide who the next who the winner of the giveaway is.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and watch.
Got totally different competitors.
Let's go ahead and don't click the wrong button. All right, we got it.
All right,
we got it. Stanley. Stanley versus Max. All right, I like that second name. It was really easy for me to read.
So 3 letters, can't mix them up.
Let's look at their decks. Oh, Giant Skeleton is really popular from him. I actually, that's a little bit, it's not surprising within the context of the Royal Giant, but it is surprising that it's just seemingly just here.
If you're reading the chat, one of the viewers in chat actually helps do the card meta popularity data analysis.
Oh, yeah. I read that post.
And he's mentioned that Giant Skeleton has seen a huge surge in popularity. He believes that Royal Giant plus Giant Skeleton is the new OP deck, the new powerful combo. But obviously there's no Royal Giant in Stan Lee's deck, just regular old Giant Skeleton tricks. Can we deliver the bomb to the tower?
Old Bodies.
Old Bodies.
On the other side we got Hog, Zap, Prince.
Actually, it looks good. This looks like a really common cycle deck. I mean, so you've seen the Hog cycle decks, right? That are running, they run Hog and then Goblins, Minions, Zap, those sort of things. What's interesting about this is instead of running, say, Mini P.E.K.K.A. or Valkyrie as the other attacker card, he's choosing to go with Prince, which is very similar to Hog Rider in a lot of ways. Yeah. I think how Prince can be used in this deck is similar to Mini P.E.K.K.A., where you use it on defense as a powerful melee attacker that then counterattacks very well. So it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Whew. Back into the game, Max versus Stanley.
I like it, Stanley. Like Stanley, the founder of Marvel.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's Stanley.
Oh, look at their trophy counts. These people are so high in trophy counts.
We got a matchup of legendary players. Let's see how this goes.
This is
still a little under tournament cap though. Notice that epics can be up to level 4, commons level 9, rares level 7, level 1 legendaries. So it'd be interesting to see if the card levels are still kind of coming into effect early as players are still reaching the tournament cap. That is a push right there. What can he play? Minion Horde? It will kill the Prince, but there's nothing you can do about that damage on your tower.
Yep.
That's just got to stay.
Exactly. In many ways, a Hog Zap, you think of a Hog Zap as a very beatdown-esque deck, but this kind of chipping damage is very important to the deck because they will constantly play Hog Rider Goblin, and even if you kind of defend it, they're buying into the fact that, okay, well, you're gonna have to spend all your elixir defending, and I'm still getting slight damage onto your tower every single time.
For such an aggressive deck, it's crazy how many games they win just 1-0, dealing their damage 400 at a time. They're rarely, Hog Zap decks aren't trying to knock your tower down in one big push, right? They're trying to chip it away every little time.
That actually is more in line with the OP deck, Double Prince. Oh!
Yeah, you're right.
Onto the Giant.
Although I don't think we can call it OP anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, that deck feels very fair, very balanced since the update. The new legendaries play well against it. The level 13 commons have gone really far.
That's actually something that I really enjoyed about the balancing that they did, is that P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince is not gone. It's just now there's a lot more stuff surrounding it, and the game is now a little deeper in the meta.
It's one of many decks in the meta game, which I think is really exciting about these updates. I'm super excited to see how people start to use the new legendaries in all sorts of new combinations. All right, we got a really big push coming here. It's vulnerable to a fireball. Arrows. That's some pretty good arrows right there. It hits the Ice Wizard and the Barbarians.
Oh, but he didn't have good cards in hand, and he has to play the Goblin into the Ice Wizard. Now one single Barbarian left, and this was very elixir. Look at the elixir advantage right now for
Stanley. +4.
Oh, okay.
But what's he going to play? Oh, the Barbarians are just too far back. Oh, there they are. They come in a little late. Unfortunately, that Hog Rider did, I mean, what was it, 1,000 damage? Maybe a little less than that.
The cycling not quite there for Stanley, despite the fact that he had the Elixir advantage. And I feel like this is the perfect moment to mention that a lot of people only look at Elixir advantage and use that to judge the benefits of plays. But there's much more to it. Card cycling, what units you have to counter which cards, people are forced to play the hand inefficiently.
That said, that 8 Elixir just came home to roost right there in the form of, it looked like a 14 Elixir push by Stan Lee. He had the Giant Skeleton, the Barbarians, and the Archers. And
Stan Lee actually makes the tower, pushes down the tower. So he's got Giant Skeleton, Ice Wizard, plus Barbarian on defense. The Hog Rider coming through, can it get the swings necessary? The Minion Horde is just wasting their time on the Giant Skeleton.
5 seconds. Wow, what defense by Stan Lee to block that. I mean, great job. I mean, it looked like early on that he was going to lose that tower. He kept taking, 800 damage on the tower, 2 separate pushes, but was able to save up in that Elixir advantage, build it up into one just unstoppable push. I mean, Barbarians, Giant Skeleton, Archers. Even if Max had a full Elixir bar, which I don't think he had at the time, it's really hard to stop 14 Elixir with only 10 Elixir, especially when they're just big, beefy bodies that are coming right towards your tower.
And now we are beginning to understand why something like Freeze Valkyrie is really valuable.
Yes, Freeze Valkyrie would have stopped that right in its tracks.
Freeze Valkyrie.
Freeze has actually seemed to be one of the bigger counters to the new Royal Giant, Giant Skeleton sort of meta. You hold things in place, take a lot of damage. If you freeze the Royal Giant, just simply Goblins can tear those things down, assuming it has no support.
Yeah, the Goblins can be quite strong. So, that game is done, and as promised, we will be closing the raffle and deciding who the winners are going to be. I'm gonna click the button. Now we have 3 winners. And we're gonna figure out who those 3 are. Rumham, would you like to tell us who the first winner is? Read his name and also the message that he's left us.
Pyro0913. Congratulations on winning the first giveaway of this Super Magical Cup. And hey, why don't you go ahead and throw us a follow while you're watching? But let's get with Pyro's answer. Pyro says, and he agrees with me because he's, I'm sure, the smartest person in stream.
Definitely.
Lava Hound. He combos so well with one of my favorite cards, Balloon. He tanks and clears the way for Balloon to destroy everything in his path. I agree with this. I think Lava Hound Balloon is the most secret, underrated, best deck right now that will come out as more people get Lava Hound, level up their balloons, that sort of thing. Let me give you some little Lava Hound balloon tricks. If you play, I wish I had some way to do it. Let's do it with these 2 cards. So you play your Lava Hound first, and he starts to go across the river. If you play the balloon on the outside towards the wall, don't play him towards the inside.
Here's the wall.
Yeah, so there's the wall. What happens is that as they start to move up, people can only play their ranged attackers here by the corner, like by the river and the wall. It's very difficult to actually shoot the balloon because he's in the back guarded by the Lava Hound. But because the balloon moves faster than the Lava Hound, invariably the balloon will move in front, and these back ranged units, they get out of range, and when they go to move and try to chase it, they end up shooting the Lava Hound that is now behind the balloon. So there's this really cool interaction between Lava Hound and Balloon where it's really, really hard for the opposing player to actually target the balloon with ranged attacks before the balloon reaches the tower.
So
Freeze
again,
still works, but
yeah.
But all the other problems.
I mean, just as with the Royal Giant, and actually now it's kind of the air version. The question is, how fast can you kill a balloon
and a Lava Hound?
And with the caveat that you almost have to either make sure you kill it in that moment where it's next to the river, or you wait for it to pass the Lava Hound and make sure you kill it before it gets to the tower.
It's very challenging. I mean, most decks aren't really equipped to deal 5,000 plus air damage, air-only damage in, 10 seconds or less, which is kind of how the thing works.
All right, so Pyro0913, thank you very much for your answer. Rumham giving very great detailed information about your combination, and I'm sure he's super excited about it too.
I don't have a Lava Hound. I want one. I'm like, I actually have the money. I have the gold, and I'm just waiting for it to come up in the shop so I can be like, give it to me.
Buy it all. All right, so make sure you message Super Magical Cup on Twitch and get that information to figure out how you can receive your $10, your bucket of gems. And if Super Magical Cup, if you have not contacted Super Magical Cup by the end of the stream, or Super Magical Cup has not contacted you, make sure that you do that by the end of the stream.
Yeah.
Just so that they can make sure that they get the giveaway to you and all is good. So
we're only human. Don't let us forget. We want to give you your money.
Two more winners. Two more winners. Let's draw another one. Let's draw another one and see. Let's see what he says. So we have Mr. Taco 1801, who is following the Magical Cup.
I mean, he's been waiting for this moment for 215 years.
He has been waiting.
That's his birthday, right?
Long
That's
time.
his birth year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 1801. And his message is he loves the miner because the opponent has to guess where he's going, and that's actually very true. You can kind of see, but he kind of takes a windy path.
Hard. It's like kind of like a goblin barrel where like it's really hard. It's actually hard in the goblin barrel because when you see the goblin barrel in the air, you can learn loosely how the animation correlates to a landing spot.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with miner. You don't really know.
The miner kind of does that.
A lot of times it goes straight and down the middle and then breaks past the river to whichever side it's going to go to, which is even harder to read.
Subterfuge. The miner is. I almost feel like if Clash Royale ever releases skins and aesthetics, they should put like a little robber.
The raccoon mask kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. So Mr. Taco 1801, congratulations. Go ahead and send the message to Super Magical Cup and get the details figured out if they have not contacted you, or if you have not contacted them by the end of the stream. Make sure that you do that, and we can get that sorted out. And the last winner here, why don't you go ahead and take it away, Rumham?
Big Body CC, man, I love Twitch names. Twitch names crack me up every time. Big Body CC, congratulations on winning. His favorite legendary of the new ones is Lava Hound because we needed more air troops, and its ability to summon small creatures with good DPS is quite unique. I do really like that. The Lava Hound is sort of like a Zeppelin. It's this big, defenseless, just balloon, a blimp that comes over to your tower, but when it dies, it deploys a minion horde.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to put minion horde inside something big and tanky and protective to actually get it to a tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you very much to all of you who submitted answers. We have more giveaways coming up, but these are the first 3 winners. Congratulations. Make sure all 3 of the winners, you guys message Super Magical Cup on Twitch to get that information sorted. Let's jump right into war games, Rumham. Let's see. Let's find another game. Let's find another game here. Ooh, how about this
I don't
one?
think we ever saw game 3 of one of those guys. Can we go back up to that? Is that still
Where
around?
do we go for that?
Maybe we missed it.
Wait,
there's I was saying about his last match.
Yeah.
Might have lost it in here somewhere.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is that this a lot of the matches get kind of lost in the
That's
chaos.
fine. We're in group play.
Yeah, we're kind of just seeing what these players have to offer and kind of getting a good view of how they play.
Pull it down a little bit. Yeah. We got some feedback that you can still kind of loosely see the score, so we're gonna block it out a little more. There we go.
I think that's pretty good. I feel like that's pretty good. All right.
Quit trying to see the score.
Stop it.
Quit looking so close.
Just close your eyes.
Yeah.
Nick R versus Doggy Buncher. Ooh. What does that name imply? I'm trying to think about it. Doggy Buncher. Anyways, they're decks. They're
Big.
Actually, before
Dogs
we
are
do
so
that,
cute. You gotta eat them.
let's try to. Okay. Yeah, we're right here. Okay. Hog Zap with the free. Oh my God.
So Nick R advanced from his last matchup.
Yeah.
Nick R was playing against Luca, I believe, in
Yeah.
the last round. And we know that Nick R has a Hog Zap deck and I believe a Golem deck in his combination. So he must have won game 3 with the Golem deck versus whichever was Nick R's other deck. Or Luca's other deck, I'm sorry. So Nick R's got his Hog Zap. That seems to be his preferred game 1 deck. Doggy Muncher has also kind of a Hog Cycle deck, but much more defensive and controlling. He has an Elixir Collector, 2 defensive towers, not nearly as many cheap troops. It looks like Doggy Muncher is going to sit back and defend a lot more, counter with buildings, and wait for his opponent to overcommit, and then really go in with the Hog Fireball at that point and try to do an outsized amount of damage for the cost.
Yeah. Let's see how that plays out. Let's go ahead and see what happens between these 2 players. Doggy Muncher 3040 versus Nick R 2809.
I'll do that next time.
Yep, got it.
Cool. All right, so Nick R opens with his pretty aggressive the Hog Zap play. Now, Inferno Tower by itself will kill a Hog Rider, and you can see even against the Zap it did it. Shrewd players use Zap in order to retarget. To make the Inferno Tower retarget, basically. The Inferno Tower starts off doing a very small amount of damage and does increasingly larger amounts. If you use Zap, it causes it to go back down to its original damage amount. So I could see that as a pretty good way for Nick R to overcome the Inferno Tower defense, but we'll see.
All right, cheap cards being sent across the river, and they get cleaned up pretty quick. Hog Rider plus Minion. The cannon is a good response, but I think he needs to play. Oh, no!
Oh, the Spear Goblins, no! On the plus side, as soon as you see a Fireball, great time to play your Minion Horde.
Yep. He still has arrows, so he's going to be pretty safe. And that actually came out to be a relatively even trade. It doesn't. Okay.
Huge disadvantage there. If you can tell, Doggy Muncher is level 9 to Nick R's level 8 Minion Horde. Equal level minions take 3 hits to die to a tower, but lower levels only take 2. So Nick R's minions are not going to be very strong until they get up to level 9 against a level 9 opponent.
Absolutely.
Really important for players to be at the new tournament cap if they want to really maximize the power of their cards.
2 swings from the Hog onto the tower, plus a zap and the freeze committed. And now the counter push is what Nick R has to deal with, and the Hog Rider walks right up to the tower. There was no cannon in
The
play.
minions clearing out the goblins slowly but surely. Oh no.
Oh,
Man. Well, that's okay. Nick R's coming back with the Goblin Skeleton play, but these buildings, just this parade of multiple buildings, is really making it hard for Nick R to get an opening.
Yeah, the fact that he's so reliant on the Hog Rider, he has no tanky units, and so it's either you play the Hog Rider alone to try to clear away the cannons, and then what? You have to play your very fragile units and cause them to walk across the bridge, taking all that tower damage on the way.
Let's consider that Doggy Muncher also has 2 Elixir Collectors out, which is allowing him to even make some small inefficient trades, and overall it still works out for him because he's generating so much more elixir than his opponent.
Goblins for defense, Spear Goblins and Skeletons.
Great defense by Nick R, though. He was able to hold that off, and actually the Elixir Collector being played in the top left by Doggy Muncher gives the Hog Rider a clear path through the middle to attack, but the zap, the defensive cannon ended up halting that push before it really got started.
I feel like a well-timed freeze before the Hog Rider was put too low would have been ideal in that situation, but I think he just didn't really have the cycle. Inferno Tower wastes its first attack on the... Oh, and a good
Seems
freeze.
like a very inefficient fireball. The Skeleton's actually going to get up and do a little damage if you take a look. Look at that.
Nice.
Getting a couple hundred in there. Nothing to sneeze at.
That's actually pretty good, and the Spear Goblins use that opportunity to make their way across and reduces the tower health down to 630, but right now, what's on Nick R's mind is, okay, he's going to use a freeze, but that's not really going to help. Actually,
I think that was a great freeze, honestly. I mean, I think it was good defense by Nick R, but that freeze did put another 800 damage on the tower. Seems really strong. We're almost, I mean, it's effectively tied here going into overtime. They're only 200 damage apart. Doggy Muncher has a fireball, so really Nick R can't take any damage on his tower.
Yeah, and Doggy Muncher being the defensive player, or having the defensive deck, he might also just start cycling his fireballs.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I don't think he really needs to play the Hog there. Oh, unfortunately, that Inferno Tower... Oh, what a great pull with the cannon over to the left side, pretty much invalidating the Hog Rider as it stands.
And here comes trouble. Hog Rider making its way across, minions guarding it.
Well-timed fireball.
Uh-oh, the minion horde survives. He still has arrows in it.
Wow. And
nice. And
the Hog and
oh!
it gets a shot. Oh, this is so good. Oh, hooray!
Yeah,
Oh, great play by Nick R.
He's on a lifeline. This needs to work out for Nick R.
Oh, that pull. Oh, wait, this is
Cycle fast.
Throw the fireball.
Oh my god!
Oh!
No!
Nick R steals it. Lower level player in overtime with us. Oh my goodness!
No.
Wow! 2 thumbs up for Nick R. Great game 1.
Oh my god!
That is incredible. Great time, because we even mentioned it. We were saying maybe Doggy Muncher should just be cycling fireballs and not even bothering with Hog Riders. Like, why even play the Hog Rider at this point? You
Just
only
cycle and play
need 2 fireballs. Yeah, and you have 3 towers. So interesting note. It's unfortunate because even though Doggy Muncher knows that now and can play better in game 2, Nick R can't play his Hog deck anymore.
Yeah.
He is one with the Hog deck, so he must play his other deck,
Yeah.
which, unbeknownst to Doggy Muncher, is a Golem deck that he has an Inferno Tower for.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Doggy Muncher switches decks or stays on the same deck.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and see. I think this is their no.
Game 2. Game 2 or 3, it's hard to say. Let's see, can we scroll up a little bit and see if maybe...
Yeah. Yep.
So that's the game we just watched.
Yes. So
they are at game 2. This is game 2 of the Nick R Doggy Muncher matchup.
curious.
Nick R's getting a lot of screen time, buddy.
All right. Okay, so you guys have said that this is so we're not even
make it a
gonna
little
go
bigger.
into the match. We're just gonna make this way bigger. Just gonna make this way bigger. Actually, let's go back to this one just to make sure. So this is the old match, so we don't spoil it.
Yeah.
Right. This is the old match, and this should for sure cover the numbers.
Take it down a little bit. Cool. There we go.
This should for sure. I mean, I actually wondered how you guys were seeing the results before. because I feel like it was.
I think it was the bottom of the numbers. It was like you could see the drop shadow of the 0 and the 1 and things like that, and kind of put it together from there.
All right, so this should be good enough for sure.
I can't tell who. I'm not even looking at the screen. I'm covering my eyes from the other screen because I like to be
Yeah,
surprised.
no idea. All right, so Nick R, his next deck, Royal Giant, Skeleton. The Inferno Tower is going to do pretty good. The Inferno Tower is going to do pretty well, but the big thing to note is the Giant Skeleton is only level 2.
We were totally wrong. Luca had the golem deck.
Yeah,
Nick R had,
Luca-
Nick R had the
Luca was the
Giant
one with the
Skeleton
goblins. All right, so let's go ahead and see how this match plays out. This one right here. Doggy Muncher versus Nick R.
I'm really excited about the live spectating ability. We believe that the top 8 of this tournament is going to be, we're going to do live spectating for all the matches.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
unfortunately, we won't be able to do deck previews for those moments, but we will get to watch the games as they play and throw out confetti.
Yeah. Yay!
So Nick R, one game one, comes out with the really far back played Giant Skeleton, which I really like. That gives him a chance to follow it up with cheap units to help clear out any sort of distractions that would come in front of the Giant Skeleton.
Ooh, the zap is going to be super effective, though. Now, one of the things about having so many cheap cards that's great for Nick R is that it's actually pretty good to rush an Inferno Tower with a bunch of cheap cards. The problem is, in combination with a zap or a fireball, those cheap cards are going to get eliminated pretty quickly. So this is the problem that Nick R has to wrestle with. How is he going to actually get up onto his opponent's tower when he's relying on so many big bodies? Royal Giant is pretty good assisted. You know, he can take down the Inferno Tower from range. His TTT is pretty short, so.
Let's see if the zap. Oh, zap
okay,
does hold him up right there. Let's see. It looks like if I had to bet, Nick R's really thirsty to get out the Giant Skeleton Royal Giant combo, but he just doesn't quite have the elixir collectors out. It's not double elixir time.
Here he is.
I've only seen him play the combo together though
Uh-oh.
once. Uh-oh. Is the Inferno Tower close enough? It isn't. No, it is. But the Royal Giant got several shots off first before the Royal Giant really heated up, and that minimized the amount of damage that the Royal Giant actually took.
3 hits. The
Not
Royal
bad.
Giant got 3 hits. Not bad.
Let's see if these goblins can get a little shiv in.
Ah!
Just
Got
one little
one.
knife. Ah! Take that.
The knife is still stuck in the tower. I bet.
Yeah. They're goblins though, so they're pretty small. They're just little 80 damage shivs. So we have 2 elixir collectors for Doggy Muncher now. Definitely ahead in elixir, just like he was in the first game.
All right. Skeleton.
Giants coming. All right.
And the minions have been giving him a lot of problems since he's been using the archers to defend against the hog. But now he has it all lined up. Oh, and here we go.
Now he knows the combo. Look at that, shooting the cannon from across the river. That's great. Unfortunately, it looks like the Giant Skeleton's still gonna get caught up. I don't know if we needed that zap there because
The bomb was
of the bomb, right?
Reset out the combo. And the
Oh, and he's gonna regret not having that zap now because he could zap the tower. Unfortunate.
Okay, the Brawl Giant takes it down, and he actually has archers in
Little bit,
front.
decent amount of health left. Oh, another elixir collect. Another Inferno. Now here's what I think you do. I think you just leave that Inferno Tower.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it sit there and let it time out. It only has a 40-second lifespan. It's already taken some damage, so it's
Yep.
going to be maybe only around for another 30 or
Giant
so
Skeleton.
seconds.
Oh, he actually wants to fight.
That's
Which-
true.
Okay,
You can't knock it
fine.
down. Actually, it's really good in the sense that Doggy Muncher just played an elixir collector, so he has less elixir than he might normally have on hand. We
This
have
could
the
be bad.
combo. We're not using zap yet. I think he's going to wait to zap the Inferno Tower, hopefully.
No, he already uses zap on the minions. Skeleton leaves the bomb next to the cannon, but it's not going to do very much. And another
Double Royal
Uh-oh.
Giant.
This
Uh-oh.
actually gets really bad. This is going to get really bad very quickly for Doggy
do you
Muncher. Look
deal-
at the damage!
How do you kill 6,000 health worth of Royal Giants?
He's just going to keep ticking. It's
No,
overtime.
can't do it. That's the downside. Those guys. Oh, one more. That's it.
Oh.
Oh, Nick R's takes it 2-0. Incredible. Yeah, you're right. Like, especially in overtime, those double Royal Giants, what can you do about that?
Yeah.
All those goblins and skeletons do have a very high DPS for their elixir cost, but if you only have 2 to 3 cards like that in the deck, it's actually hard for you to generate a large, gross amount of DPS, right? You'd be like, oh, well, for the cost, these are really efficient, but if they're getting zapped out, if they're getting killed by support units,
Yeah.
you never actually maximize a lot of the damage
Yeah.
they could be doing.
Because the uptime, as you could call it, the uptime of these cards are not very high. They live
Right.
and die on the battlefield in just an instant, right? And so the fact that the Royal Giant maintained means that he's actually he's gotten use out of that Royal Giant. I mean, that Royal Giant started out, killed the Inferno Tower, then killed the cannon, then killed another Inferno Tower, and then he went on to the Crown Tower.
Yeah. And
by
Royal
the time the
Giant
second-
inherited 10 elixir worth of kills like before even shooting the tower. It's unreal.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Oh, Zap does not reset the Inferno?
I think it retargets maybe. If it retargets, it'll
but
reset.
But it doesn't. Okay, that's good to
But
know.
if it's on the same target, then it'll continue its charge. I think that's how it works. But I think because the Inferno Tower does it just by the target that it's on, I feel.
Definitely does retarget. I know Zap does that.
Yeah, it'll retarget. And I think if it retargets, it will reset the charge. But if it,
Got it.
if you just zap it and it still continues on the same target, I
makes
think
sense.
it'll continue the charge.
Well, thankfully, Royal Giant stands so far away that if you zap the Inferno Tower, hopefully there's something closer for it to focus on.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. So as I understand,
Let's try to watch some of these folks earlier rounds.
all right. Let's see.
Nick R has gotten plenty of screen time.
Ooh, human emo? Oh, let's watch this one. All right.
Well, this would be a cool match.
Let's
Ooh, I like these cards. What do you think?
All right, so Giant Mini P.E.K.K.A. is Giant Mini P.E.K.K.A. Wizard is actually like part of my deck. Right
Okay.
now. The only thing is the Dark Prince for me is a Valkyrie, and I assume he puts the Dark Prince in there because he wants aggressive and he still wants to splash. Valkyrie is a
Might also be his
defensive
only level
oriented.
4 epic or something like that
Yeah,
too. Like you know, if
maybe.
you play your good cards if you can help it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited actually to see Raintown's deck because Miners is the first experience. This is the first time we've seen Miner in this tournament, and also the first appearance of Furnace, and really Fire Spirits at all. We haven't seen Fire Spirits in any of these games earlier.
Yeah.
So I really like the combination of Furnace and Royal Giant because the steady stream of Fire Spirits naturally counters your inclination to play skeletons, goblins, those kind of things in front of the Royal Giant. He also has the trick of Royal Giant and then playing the Miner to go deal damage to the tower if he wants to backdoor that way. Obviously, Wizard and Ice Wizard are going to be great at covering the Royal Giant. Should be a really cool deck. At the same time, though, Mini P.E.K.K.A. and minions are going to be great against the Royal Giants, against the Barbarians, against the ranged attackers of Raintown's deck. It's going to be real interesting.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at how this match plays out. Prophetic versus Raintown. Raintown is actually a repeat participant too.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty well. I don't think he's been able to make it to the top 8, or maybe he did once.
Okay.
But
Do we have
he's
the
been doing
leaderboard
well.
to show some point during the stream?
We do have the leaderboard, but I think we can say the points, but we don't have a graphic for it to show on stream. You can actually find the leaderboard on the website www.supermagicpub.com/leaderboard. If you go to that URL, hopefully Super Magic Pub can throw that
Miner.
into the channel.
First experience of the Miner. He jumped in, killed about one Spear Goblin, tanked a little bit, and then kept attacking. Only did a few hundred damage, but at the same time, for only 3, what a pretty good value.
And he paved the way for the Ice Wizard.
Oh, Dark Prince did a little jig there for a second. I don't know if you saw that. He kind of got distracted between the Furnace. Great arrows to finish off the Low Health Wizard and the Furnace. Low Health Wizard is the most dangerous card in the game.
Yeah.
All they have to do is put a tank in front of it, and suddenly that wizard is still doing maximum damage.
Here
Wow, what a great mini P.E.K.K.A.
Royal Giant, but it's getting slowed up by the Ice Wizard. And look at how much less effective it is.
Surprised there's not a Zap. I'm surprised that Raintown didn't play Zap on both the minions and to distract the mini P.E.K.K.A. to get the few more shots off the Royal Giant.
Oh, and
He knows the
actually,
deck better than I do.
it looks like Raintown is actually very content with just building up a huge elixir advantage. But what is his response? Oh my God! What is happening? He actually didn't play anything for that.
Uh-oh, do we have a disconnect? I certainly hope not. He's sitting there at 10, he's leaking elixir. Oh no.
Oh, I think
We might have had a disconnect.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
watch it, that
boo.
game. No!
Boo, 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 boo. Well,
Look how satisfying that is. The mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh my goodness.
the mini P.E.K.K.A. is fun to watch just chop down a tower. Oh, poor disconnect.
I really like the deep sounds they added in for the mini P.E.K.K.A. too. It sounds much more mini.
Oh.
and then the P.E.K.K.A. of course is the big mother version. Also, did you notice that when there's the Ice Wizard, and then also when you use Rage, when they get slowed down, their voices get lower, and when they get sped up, their voices get higher.
I actually, one time I won a game with a frozen, or not frozen, like an Ice Wizard mini P.E.K.K.A. and he went, like swung, and it was incredible.
All right, sorry about that, guys. We'll find a game that is hopefully a something. Let's see. We'll find a game that is a something. Actually, let's see. Let's
This could be a cool one.
Let's take a look at this one. Skygrid versus Proxy. We've got Giant, Musketeer, Spear God, Valkyrie, Balloon.
I think Balloon's the key one. Giant and Balloon are a great combo because the Giant is so big that everything just wants to aggro it. And if you play the Balloon a little behind the Giant, it takes a while, kind of like with Lava Hound, for the Balloon to actually really expose itself in a way that it can be damaged. It's a really good way to reliably deliver a Balloon to a tower, with the downside being, well, it's 10 elixir that doesn't ever kill another troop. So you have to be able to back it up in a good way, but if you ever need to steal a tower, I really like Giant Balloon as a strategy.
The only things that Proxy has to hit air is minions, Fireball, and Zap. Fireball and zapping a Balloon is not, it's not efficient. I mean, zapping in order to save yourself.
Yeah.
But fireballing it is really not what
That's
you
a
want to be
good point. How does this deck stop a Balloon? Like maybe the cannon for a distraction, you can pull it towards the center.
doing. But then you have the Giant. If he plays the Giant and the Musketeer and then saves Elixir and then plays the Balloon,
Yeah.
what are you're in for? I'm actually. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
The always intricate starting position. Who will open with what?
It's got Giant Hubbard. Oh,
Just going right for it, just hoping you don't have an answer right away.
and it does seem like that's the case. He's gonna arrow out the minions.
The Valkyrie, yeah, good tanking, but it's definitely taken a lot of damage in the meantime.
Yeah.
But however, that's quite a counter push. I mean, that's a 10 elixir counter push. The Fireball does kill the Musketeer, but you know, Valkyrie's gonna get up there and chop away at a little bit of damage.
Yep, and let's just look at how much health he clips off the Crown Tower. Right, so he's actually done more damage than the Royal Giant.
Yeah.
On that counter push. Something to think about. That was the trade. And you know, it was interesting to me that he fireballed
Has
the
more elixir
Musketeer.
too.
It's interesting to me that he fireballed the Musketeer rather than the Spear Goblins and the Valkyrie. Because if the Valkyrie was taken down, then he could have just played the Goblins for the Musketeer. Right? But Giant Balloon.
Those minions, just those 3 minions are going to be enough to tear down the Balloon. It's interesting that I think what Skygrid's going to have to do is only set up these pushes when he has arrows in hand. Like, have the arrows ready to go for those 3 minions.
And then maybe even play the Giant in the back or further back so he has the elixir to play that combination.
Yeah, playing 10 elixir by the river leaves you very, very vulnerable to counter pushes on the other lane. Great timing on that cannon, by the way. Unfortunately, the Goblins were able to get right up in there and tear the cannon down to minimize the amount that it could tank.
Good answer with the Valkyrie, but again, the Royal Giant takes the damage away. And one thing to note is that even though the Valkyrie did end up getting a lot of damage, this time it didn't. The big problem is Proxy is doing the damage first. If you ever go into overtime, he's going to be the first one to take the tower if you just keep on this pattern.
That's true. You definitely got to get off. He's got to shake up the lines of play a little bit. Like, try to play the cards in a different sequence to get ahead in some way.
Spear Goblins, and that's
just fine to take the damage there. Just take the 200 damage.
And that's one of the things about spending tower health. Like at this point, it's actually kind of scary for Skygrid to just take some tower damage in order to gain an elixir advantage, just because his tower is already so far behind. All right.
I don't like that naked balloon play. He knows he's got minions. Like the arrows, I feel like the arrows should have almost been in the way.
Yeah.
And especially given that he'd already played, he was sitting back waiting on defense and played the Giant, and that really gave Proxy an opening to get his Royal Giant down. This has actually been great play by by Proxy though, reacting to what Skygrid's doing and setting up these very opportunistic attacks. Like I don't feel that Proxy's deck would be good at just blindly pushing into Skygrid's defenses. I mean, Cannon,
we
Valkyrie,
saw what
Musketeer
happened
is
when
really
he just
good.
in the opener. We saw what happened when he just tried to play the Royal Giant straight up. He actually lost more health on his own tower, but since then he's kind of found footing in the match and has been playing his cards really efficiently. Oh,
he's playing the player very well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's reading Proxy's, he's reading Skygrid's moves and really trying to punish him for it. Great, 1 second left, Fireball for the steal. That's crazy because in the match preview, we were asking ourselves, how will Proxy ever deal with a balloon in his deck? And it turns out just take the fight to Skygrid.
yeah, and it's interesting to think about, you know, if you use something like a Musketeer or Spear Goblins or Archers to defend a balloon, they do pretty good damage, but the balloon just has a straight path towards your tower. If you use minions, like what we saw in that game, the balloon actually hits the minions and has to go around.
Yeah, it gets caught up, and that's given how the balloon is balanced to either make it or, like, usually the balloon makes it, drops 1 bomb, dies right after, or dies just in front of the tower, unfortunately, right? Yeah. So any little bit of distraction, throwing it off its path, pulling it to the side, anything like that, can be the difference between getting a bomb drop and not.
All right. let's do our second giveaway. We have lots of gems to give away, so we need to get started on that. Rumham, why don't you read to them what the second giveaway's question is going to be? So I'm going to go ahead and open the next raffle and make sure you answer the question, because if you don't answer, we can't take
Can't do it. Can't give it to you.
You
I
gotta-
want to give you
you
money,
gotta
but you got to answer the question. All right. So the second giveaway, and remember, once you get the question, it's not a race. There's no speed. Take your time and think about it. You got a few minutes. ! Raffle space your message. What new deck are you playing since the patch? You don't have to give us the full deck list, but at least give us like 4 cards, like the main. What is the main cards in the deck? What's new deck are you playing since the patch? The raffle's open. Feel free to submit your answers. We'll close it in a few minutes.
All right. So, while that's going on, while we find the next match, why don't you talk a little bit about your new favorite deck that you're playing?
I'll admit I'm on the giant skeleton Royal
Yeah.
Giant train for a little bit, but another deck that I've been really a big huge fan of, and I'm still working on the exact deck list. It's not quite there yet. Is Goblin Hut and Furnace. So what's interesting is that I felt the worst card in spawner decks was actually the Barbarian Hut, because spending 7 elixir would leave you very vulnerable, very open. I really liked casting Goblin Hut, but I felt like I didn't want to cast, Goblin Hut Mirror or anything.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of a single building that just slowly chipped away damage. Well, Furnace works the same way as Goblin Hut in the sense that those little strings of units eventually do get there, deal damage.
Yeah.
That if you can build a deck that gets Furnace and Goblin Hut at the same lane at the same time, it quickly starts to grind down that tower. They can't ignore it. And I really like that version of spawner deck. I'm just trying to figure out what like big tanky unit do I need to like push through the final bits of damage. It might be Royal Giant, but I've actually been having a lot of success with just Valkyrie and just Big Giant, just like normal regular
Yeah.
old giant.
I'm a very big fan of Valkyrie Big Giant. Valkyrie Big Giant actually is kind of my new deck. Before, everybody was playing the Jason deck. I was kind of being a hipster. I was like, I'm not going to play the Jason. I'm not playing Giant. No way.
Yeah.
And then the new patch came. I was like, okay, maybe I should play Giant. So I started playing Giant and Valkyrie, and I kind of use those as the Valkyrie kind of like the pseudo tank, and then the Giant kind of as like the main tank, right? And
I definitely struggle because I'm like you. Like I'm if like, if I'm gonna play Giant, maybe I'll just play Skeleton Giant, or maybe I'll just play
some other that's not
P.E.K.K.A. or whatever. Yeah, but it's a lot to be said for costing only 5 elixir and having more hit points per elixir cost than any other thing in the game.
Yeah.
If you ever need a tank, Giant's the guy to do.
All right. Manufan versus Human Aimbot. We've got. Oh, interesting. He's actually done the Royal Giant mini P.E.K.K.A. combo, and then he's got double legendaries, which is always solid. Ice Wizard Princess I feel like Ice Wizard and Princess are those kinds of cards that kind of apply themselves. So here's something interesting to note, right? When we think about the new legendaries, like you think about Sparky, right? He's a very special card. He's kind of one of those cards that you really want to build your deck around.
Yeah, very build around me card.
And then you think about Miner, and Miner is kind of, he's kind of a niche card. Subterfuge, like kind of a similar thing. Like if you think about Miner,
he's kind of built around me though, because he enables very specific strategies that no other card could really do. So it is sort of like you have to build a deck that really needs Miner's unique effect.
And then we think about Lava Hound too, right? And when you think about Lava Hound, you start thinking about like Lava Hound Balloon, right? You start thinking about, but then the old legendaries, Ice Wizard and Princess. I almost feel like with almost every deck, you just throw in one of them and you're like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some interesting situations. Like, for example, if you have a deck that has Spear Goblins, Archers, or Musketeer, it's kind of reasonable just to put Ice Wizard in those spots and see how it goes. You might find it to be an upgrade. There are definitely situations where I would rather have a common or rare card instead of, say, Ice Wizard. Princess, to me, is really interesting because she has a really unique effect that most decks would want, right? Like, they play defensive towers on their side. I wish I could shoot them from my side with a cheap card. Like, Princess is perfect for that.
Yeah.
The downside about Princess to me, though, is that she is a huge bait for arrows. And if you don't have any other card in your deck that wants to be arrows, just putting a Princess in is maybe not the best thing. But if you have a deck where you have Minion Horde and Minions and Skeleton Army and Princess, all these cards, Goblin Bear, all these cards that want to be arrowed, then suddenly Princess becomes incredible because if they arrow something else, she gets like infinite damage, right?
Yeah.
Just keep shooting.
All the way until you cycle.
Yeah.
All right, and Human Aimbot on the other side is doing, interestingly enough, Hog Rider, Baby Dragon, Prince. I don't know if I've ever really seen this combo in action.
I actually have. This deck is a relatively popular TV Royale deck, but it usually runs Mirror. So this deck, there's actually been a deck going around on TV Royale. I think Gaming with Molt started playing it originally. I could be, I'm not a deck originator person. I'm not sure who made it originally, but it was definitely Prince, Baby Dragon, Elixir Collector, Mirror, and a few other things. So it's possible that he's playing that style of deck and just simply doesn't have a high enough level Mirror, and so opted to take out the Mirror for, another card.
All right, let's see how these two decks play out. Let me just make sure that the game didn't slide out from under us.
I think it was that one, right?
Yeah, it's this one right here. All right. Human Aimbot versus Manufan. Oh my god!
Manufan. Woo! Gotta show me how to play, buddy. You got almost as many trophies as I do.
Oh my goodness. I wonder what his...
Human, but then again, they're both legendaries,
Yeah.
And the difference between these two might be smaller than you
Yeah,
think.
and we're in the friendly battles cap, so everybody's
That's
toned
true.
down to level 9, level 1. 9, what is it, 9?
9741. Yeah. And great Ice Wizard there. Now, interesting enough there, like Ice Wizard, for example, wasn't going to do enough damage fast enough to realistically kill that minion horde, so he had to throw his arrows. And so that kind of is a knock against Ice Wizard as a support unit. Like, if you're an AoE attacker and you can't even kill the things, maybe a normal wizard would have been stronger there.
Yeah, and almost, in that sense, Ice Wizard is one of those units that I feel like gains a lot of value against something like a P.E.K.K.A. or something like...
Great defensive card.
Yeah.
I mean, Ice Wizard is one of the gnarliest defense. Ice Wizard plus cannon stops everything.
Yeah.
But on offense, Ice Wizard's pretty unimpressive. Oh, great placement
Nice,
of those goblins to block the charge. You just saved hundreds of damage on your tower.
Yeah. Super important that happened, and that's why he's at 3.9k trophies.
Yeah, he didn't get there overnight.
I
didn't get there on accident.
I nearly hit my knee on the table because I was going to have a knee-jerk reaction, but
Still had to use arrows again. That's interesting too, because the Ice Wizard farther back would have been able to counter that minion horde. So for example, like Ice Wizard by the tower would have been fine, but since most of those minions weren't getting attacked by the tower, they survived a pretty high health total.
Interesting. Now, I feel like that Royal Giant placement is Manufan saying, like, okay, I'm just going to spend this elixir just to get that damage on you.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you're going to defeat it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw it out.
I'm really nervous about Manufan's Princess placement because, as you can see, the
Yeah.
Baby Dragon splash damage, depending on where you're standing, can hit you sitting next to a tower. I wish he would play it maybe a few clicks further inside, so that way he wasn't risking the chance of getting 2-for-1 by the Baby Dragon attacks.
Prince finding outside the tower range, and Spear Goblins to assist. The Prince is going to go for the charge.
Nope.
Ooh.
Too much damage out of that Minion Horde. The
Minion
arrows
Horde
take
is
care
so
of
good.
it, but that's why Minion Horde's so great on defense. Even Jason, the inventor of the Jason deck, he was saying that he preferred to play Minion Horde over Minions simply because even if they do arrow it, it gets in so much damage before the arrows arrive that it still functions as a great 5 elixir defensive spell.
The deed is done.
The deed, yep. He's got his arrows ready. You can see Mainfan's got it cocked and loaded, ready to go. There it is, fire.
P.E.K.K.A.
Take fire. Let loose the hounds of war.
Oh, wow.
With exactly 30 seconds left.
And this is actually really a testament to Manufan's strategy of like, okay, I'm going to use this Royal Giant card purely as a way to chip down your tower. I'm not even really going to think about supporting it with something like a Giant Skeleton or Goblins or anything. I'm just going to throw it down there. You're going to build up a counter push, but I'm confident in my defense. He's got Cannon, he's got Ice Wizard, he's got Minion Horde, he's got so many great defensive cards, and he's just doing the same thing on the other side. Look at that.
It's a huge testament to his defense that he was able to throw, 18 elixir worth of Royal Giants at the opponent's towers and then able to defend against all that extra, all the elixir that would be coming back in his way.
Absolutely. So Manufan takes the first one. I think we can hop right into the second game here. And let's take a look at what the new deck that Manufan will be playing is. It's going to be, Ice Wizard Princess again, Royal Giant again, and Mini P.E.K.K.A. So those are the cards that he kept the same. Instead, now he has an Inferno Tower, Zap Skeletons, and Minions. Very
Interesting. So Manufan is the first person I've seen in the Super Magical Cup really trying to do... Actually, it looks like so is Human Aim... Oh, no, Human Aimbots can stay on the same deck as he lost. So Manufan's actually taking advantage of the rules here. You say... you have to switch at least 4 cards in your deck. So what Manufan seemed to have done here is I got my strategy. It's Mini P.E.K.K.A, Royal Giant, double legendaries, and he's willing to swap out Goblins and Spear Goblins for other cheap units and try to keep the strategy the same so you can effectively play the same deck the entire way through the tournament.
Arrows become Zap, Cannon becomes Inferno Tower, Goblins become Skeletons, Spear Goblins becomes Minions.
Might even be keeping almost the exact same elixir cost. You know what I mean? It's like he even where he reduced an elixir cost, he added on the next card. So it's almost the exact same deck flow. It'll be very unfortunate if he comes up against a guy who has a deck that can counter those 4 cards just naturally. But until then, let's see how he does.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and take a look.
hopefully human aimbot doesn't get put on tilt. Like, hopefully he doesn't see the same cards and think like, oh, he's playing the same deck and start to play differently, right? I want...
Oh, he's mad. Oh, no. The angry
Angry
He's on
King.
tilt.
Angry King is my least used emote.
Yes.
I'm a thumbs upper. Her. That's me. Yeah.
I'm actually a crying face, and usually it's when they're angry or when they cry, I cry too.
Okay, you have those mirror neurons.
Yeah,
You really just, yeah.
the sympathetic ones.
Yeah. Now see how much damage this Inferno Tower does. Oh, unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to target the print. It does a little bit, actually.
Uh-oh.
Wow!
Ooh.
And with the Ice Wizard,
Just before the charge.
just before the charge, too. Looks like the Mini P.E.K.K.A. took the charge, actually.
The mini P.E.K.K.A. didn't actually take the double damage. It was right before the charge happened.
Oh, I get you. So he's right. He's still at walking speed.
Yeah. Oh!
Yeah, I don't see that Hog Rider going anywhere anytime soon. This is the world's slowest duel, the Baby Dragon versus Ice Wizard. Like, neither of these cards actually do damage. So
Uh-oh. Princess gets a second shot on them. Oh my god!
Wow.
That's, whenever you see the Princess attacks so slow and people are so eager to counter it that you don't actually see it splash like that very often, but when it does happen, it feels so right.
She actually does about 200 some odd damage. Maybe not at level 1. She does around 200-ish damage, though, so it's a pretty significant hit when it lands. It just takes her about 2 to 3 seconds to, charge up her bow.
And most of the time against Minion Horde, it takes 2 swings. But if you're up against things like Goblins, Spear Goblins, Skeletons, oh my god, does it feel satisfying when you see the volley of arrows come down and they just all disappear.
And that's what and the Ice Wizard functioned as your Spear Goblins in that scenario.
Yeah.
Ice Wizard's already done a little bit of chip damage from his splash to those minions, so that first hit of the Princess just wrecked. So it's interesting, the same line of play happened again. This is a really interesting thing in tournament play, where people basically determine, like, do I want to keep with the strategy or switch it up?
Okay, take a look at that. Level 9 Goblins, Princess takes 2 shots too.
That's good to know.
Good to know. Baby Dragon? Baby Dragon? Oh!
Oh, survives. Oh, yeah, it takes more than... Baby Dragon actually doesn't do that much damage at all.
Yeah.
It's very much more of a tank and a utility card than it is a pure damage dealer.
It's kind of like I would almost call it a mini Lava Hound. It's because it's super tanky, it doesn't do too much damage, but it's kind of like the middle ground. Lava Hound is expensive and really is tanky.
Great on defense against things like Barbs, but yeah, it's not... Okay, so how are we going to counter this Hog Rider? Is he just going to accept the damage and try to steal the tower? That Elixir Collector's going down really fast, but at what cost?
But at what cost? Oh, Minion Horde! But the Royal Shot doesn't care.
Arrows.
One more shot. Oh,
And that arrows does get in. So that Mini P.E.K.K.A., look at Mini P.E.K.K.A. just almost 2 to 3 hit the Hog Rider
gets
keeping it
nothing.
away. Wow, great defense by Manufan again. Like, barely took any damage this game.
And I feel like that's really the mark of a great player in Clash Royale is just how well they play on defense, because then that enables them to play aggressive offense and then know that they have the card cycle right, they have their elixir control right, they know how to efficiently trade. And I
Once
feel
you
like
see an opponent's cards, if you can accurately judge how much elixir you need to defend, like, okay, it's a Hog Cycle deck. I know I can defend this with like 6 elixir.
Yeah.
Well, that gives you the opportunity to play 4, 5, 6 elixir cards on offense, and then just huddle back with the rest of your elixir and try to play it out.
all right, guys. So I'm gonna close the raffle, and we're gonna announce the winners to the next raffle. Now, if you guys forgot, the new question is, what is your new deck you are playing since the patch? And you don't have to tell us every single card of it. You just have to give us the overview.
Take it away, Rainy. I'm gonna get some more water.
All right.
And it's water.
It is
It is
indeed
water. Get you some
water.
more water too. Go.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw the winner here, and we're not gonna have repeat winners. And I'm gonna announce this winner in chat. So our first winner is the Joshanils. The Joshanils says same old thing, so he's actually not using a new deck, and that's okay. Not everybody's gonna change up their deck. But the Joshanils says same old thing: Rocket, Prince, Giant, Barb, Minion, Gobs, Archies, and Arrows. It can almost deal with everything, though that is also its weakness. So, Jack of all trades, master of none. That is kind of the description Joshanils has for his deck. Interesting that he has a rocket there. I really think the rocket can be pretty valuable sometimes, because at the end of the game when tower healths are just low and you know that overtime is hitting, you just spend that elixir, use that rocket, take down the tower, and win the game off of that, as opposed to a game that may have ended up in a draw because you didn't have enough time. And Robham just rejoining us. I was just talking about how sometimes having a rocket in your deck and not even necessarily playing a rocket cycle, which is this deck that Joshanils has, can be really nice in ladder, just because you only have that 1 minute of overtime. Sometimes a game that could have ended up in a draw and you don't have the time to actually make a unit push across.
Yeah.
The tower health might be low enough for you to rocket it down and take the
There's
win.
a huge surprise factor to it as well. Like, for example, if in the first 30 seconds of a game, somebody plays Elixir Collector and then you rocket it. You do get a good value trade early in the game, but they also know to never play into rocket, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you play it in your deck and don't have an immediate use case for it, sometimes you find in the last like minute or 30 seconds of the game, you just get some insane value. Like they play Barbarians back by their King Tower. It walks by the tower. You get to rocket the Barbarians and the tower. And that just stops their defense and so good. Like, I think we've all lost a game to a surprise rocket that we didn't know the opponent had in the last you know,
yeah.
of the game.
He's like, oh god, and they had the rocket.
And, oh, you had rocket this whole time. Yeah,
you would just keep that from me. All right, Josh Dillons, make sure you message Super Magical Cup. Let's find the next winner. The next winner is Doa Duck, and why don't you go ahead and read the message they have for us from Ham?
I believe it's Do a Duck.
Do a duck.
Do a duck. We've all done the duck before. Okay. So I started trying a Rage 3 Musketeer deck on the patch to farm my crown chest, but ended up using Giant for the tank. 3 Musketeers for the burst, Witch for the spawning, works well with Rage. Rage is the core combo deck. Awesome. So yeah, I really actually like Rage with big tanky cards like P.E.K.K.A. and Giant because they attack slow and they move slow. So when you give this huge percentage buff to their speed, it's really noticeable. Like you see the P.E.K.K.A. just go, start swagging really fast. Same thing with Giant.
Yeah.
Rage also makes spawners like Witch, spawn faster, and Witch happens to go really well with P.E.K.K.A.s and Giants and other big slow units that want to avoid being swarmed around them. So I like that combo. 3 Musketeer with Rage is silly. Have you ever seen a tower go down that fast? Like,
the reason why I started playing double spells in my deck was because of the existence of 3 Musketeers.
you had to like zap Fireball.
Yeah. Zap Fireball, or there's some combination of that.
Totally.
I give this deck 2 thumbs up.
Her.
Rage is one of those cards where I wish more people just like were okay with losing and using because it's just seeing something like skeletons. Like I just want to see somebody take down a tower, and this is never gonna happen, I don't think, in a real game. But if you imagine a situation where they use skeletons and then use freeze on the tower and rage the skeletons, I just want to see how effective that is. Even if it doesn't kill the tower, I just want to see
do that in a friendly match. We can do some research. I like 3 Musketeers. I like splitting them. Splitting 3 Musketeers is one of my favorite things. Just having 2 go down one lane and 1 down the other. And you just stare at your opponent like
3 Musketeers
what are you doing?
is very elixir efficient because they're not weaker than a Musketeer. They're just straight up a Musketeer. So you're getting 12 elixir for 9.
Yeah. That's what, I mean, even when that card cost 10, when it first came out, we can go back and find my stream. I said, like, this is a good card. Like, because people go, oh, you can Fireball. Well, okay, first off, Fireball doesn't kill equal level Musketeers. And even if they do, let's say they don't. Like, if they don't, so in every other scenario, other than they have lightning in their hand at that exact moment, you get at least a 2 elixir advantage when it costs 10, and now it's a 3 elixir advantage when it costs 9. That's a powerful card. I mean, Elixir Collector is one of the most powerful cards in the game because unanswered, it is always an elixir advantage. So the idea of getting a discount on units is
great.
Great. I mean, Minion Horde is one of the best cards in the game too. Same deal.
Yeah.
You get 1 extra minion for free.
Yep. All right, do a duck. Make sure you message Super Magical Cup.
Do a duck and then message us for your money.
Message us and get your bucket of gems. Next winner, last winner for this question is going to be Big Tiger 67. Big Tiger 67, and his message is simply just his deck. His deck is Witch, Giant, Mini P.E.K.K.A. and $1 skeleton.
$1 skeletons. Hugh, I like it. I like you, Big Tiger. So congratulations on winning the raffle. Kind of same thing, right? Like Witch goes well with Mini P.E.K.K.A., Giant goes well with Mini. And those 3 cards all sort of synergize very well with each other. Yeah. If, for example, that was like, I don't know, Knight or Valkyrie instead of Mini P.E.K.K.A., I don't know if they would go together as well. So that's a cool deck.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, and see if we can move on with the tournament here. And
actually, why don't we go to? Is this game 1 of this round? We've seen some of these people in earlier matches.
Yeah, this is a good point. But
I don't know if it's game 1 or not.
You see here.
That's from a while ago.
All right. Max versus Manufan, and we have seen them play before. Max, actually, I don't think we got to see his other deck because we only saw one game out of his. But interesting that he has Poison and Zap. Now, Poison is a card that I think is really, really good, but kind of hard to imagine how you would use it outside of the obvious like spawner decks. With a Hog deck, I mean, he has cannon, that's defensive. He has Valkyrie, that's pretty defensive too. But a hog deck speaks to me aggression. How do you use poison well aggressively?
I really like poison as, I mean, so he's replacing either fireball or freeze. I think normally that slot would be fireball, freeze. So it's interesting, poison is sort of like a pre-fireball because you lay it down, instead of having to predict exactly when the troops are going to hit and try to time it, you just lay it down up front. It sort of works like a zap in that it's going to kill small units pretty quickly within like maybe 2 ticks of its life. Slows down tower attacks. It also has a very wide radius, a wider one than fireball, so it allows you to lay it in a way that you get the tower and the cannon they play, plus any units they might play on top. Like on defense, it works kind of the same as fireball. You play it on the bridge, you'll kill barbarians, minion hordes, those sort of things. So it functions defensively very similarly, while giving you this chance to say, you counter with a Valkyrie, right? They play some stuff. You use Valkyrie on defense. Then you play Hog and Poison on the counterattack, and suddenly it's like, oh no, if I play a cannon, it attacks slowly and gets burnt down. My tower's attacking slower than it normally would, and I can't play any of my cheap units to get in the way of these cards.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Poison is a strong card for that reason.
Poison, I changed my mind on Poison at the Helsinki tournament, actually. I watched a lot of Finnish players, local Finnish players, using Poison super effectively. A lot of games were decided on it, especially in the tournament cap where you go for 3 minutes. What Poison does is it kind of prevents the opponent from being able to play their cards way, way back by their king tower, because you can always poison the tower and the units as they walk by, and with an extra 3 minutes of overtime, you build towards this inevitable win.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Let's see how Max utilizes that against Manufan. I believe this is the game. Oh!
No, we had match preview up, I think.
No. This was the game, but I clicked the one above it.
Oh, got it.
Sorry. Okay, into the game. Manufan versus Max, and Manufan was this play that impressed me. I think his defensive play was very indicative of his trophy count. You know, sometimes the trophy ratings is quite large, and it is very impossible to overcome this trophy difference.
Here's a great example right here. Manufan plays his princess far back so it doesn't walk up too far, but is able to sit back far enough to kill both the spear goblins and the archers. I mean, even though that's a very small play right there, you're looking at 3 elixir to 4 elixir.
Yep.
Or 4 elixir to 5 elixir. But look how good the poison was. It held up, it did a little bit of damage to the mini pack, and not a ton, but it did kill the princess. So effectively, you spent 4 on poison, killed a 3 elixir princess, and did a little bit of chip damage on other stuff.
Chip damage on the tower. Royal Giant pushes through. It gets the tower down to 1.7k. 1 stab, and this is the game Manufan likes to play. He plays the Royal Giant, and any damage on a tower he's gonna take, and he's just gonna slowly do it again and again and again. And 3 minutes of overtime. Handling that, your tower is going to fall eventually.
I'm surprised he doesn't play an Elixir Collector in this deck, because it seems like it's wow, so another great poison here. It's going to kill the princess and the minion hordes that are swimming by. I mean, that's 6 Elixir plus chip damage for 4. If you can just keep doing that, you're in great shape.
Alright, now defensive play for Manufan as he's lost his aggressive push.
I don't know if I like that zap on the skeletons. It seemed like it's 2 elixir to kill 1, do a little bit of chip damage to the tower, but it's not. You already knew that hog wasn't going to get there, right? I feel like that was a little bit of overcommitment to the push. I bet he wish he had that 2 elixir now.
Ice Wizard ambling his way across. And the Royal Giant, so fast, time to tower.
Poison's actually great against these Royal Giant pushes too, because it all clumps up right behind the Royal Giant. That poison can might come in and be pretty effective.
He's got Zap on hand, poison is 2 elixir away. Valkyrie is doing a lot of work, tanking very well, but the Royal Giant did so much damage to the tower again. He's about 1k health behind in terms of tower health, and finally he gets across with Valkyrie Archer, but the Princess on his side just barely alive, but still alive.
Yeah, again with the Zap, I wasn't a huge. I mean, it's funny because it seems like, the Elixir's pretty tight, but I just feel like these Zaps are not where Max wants to be. Like, he zapped the Princess, why not poison it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just go ahead and commit to the poison.
Because it's not going to die, you have to kill it with something else anyhow.
And this is interesting, the Royal Giant actually got held up by the cannon, so the units behind the skeleton and Minipeka actually ran to the death.
Oh, the poison misses, it's not hitting the Princess.
Oh no! And the poison is probably going to fade before the Royal Giant goes down. Inferno Tower is the response to the Hog Rider. Oh my goodness, and that Princess did so much work before falling.
Yeah. That's the thing about Princess is that it's the only card in the game that just deals infinite damage if left unanswered, because it never walks into tower range.
Play the cannon!
Unfortunately, it looks like Manufan's going to take this one.
Yeah, the cannon won't hold long enough. And
he's 2 shots. Wow, Manufan early favorite maybe in this tournament. We have an almost
Yeah.
4,000 trophy player who seems very impressive with his Royal Giant play.
Yeah, I really like the way that he's utilizing his Royal Giant in the sense that he's just really, really okay. And I think that's also another thing about players who really understand how to gain Elixir advantage and how to play the game in like
Yeah.
a calm manner. He's just okay with taking the small victories.
Yeah.
You know? And it's that kind of thing that we were talking about with Hog Rider. Like, most of the time, Hog Rider decks is actually a lot about the small victories. It's not about, like, pushing through their defenses and, like, crushing their tower in one go.
You're right.
It's
That's
about taking the
that
chunk.
was very much like the P.E.K.K.A. double Prince deck you were
Yeah.
saying earlier. You know, you'd play the P.E.K.K.A. behind the King Tower, and when it got to the river, you support it with another 9 elixir worth of princes, and
Yeah.
that 16 elixir like super push would
Yeah.
knock down all the towers.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like the Hog Zap decks, they're only trying to commit like 6 at a time, which is really what Manu Fan's doing, right?
Yeah.
Just 6 on a Royal Giant.
Yeah.
However much it does, I'll try to nick
Yeah.
you down 1-0 in overtime.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Manufan. So Manufan versus Max it was. He took the first one there.
It looks like that was actually game 2.
And that was game 2. Well, let's find game 1. Let's find game 1. Oh, actually,
Well, Manu
let's
Fan
see.
wins that one as well because since that was game 2, that was the end of the,
Yeah.
that was the end of the
yeah.
set.
Well, actually,
Let's grab someone else. What about?
wait, no. We did watch the first game.
No, that was game 2.
Oh yeah, that was.
Yeah, we ended up watching.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
ended up watching game 2. That's
Oh,
good. There's a bunch
yeah,
of people in the
it's
group
fine.
play. Let's keep jumping around.
Yeah, let's try.
Is this the one that we? I can't remember if we watched that one or not. No.
No, I don't think we've ever seen a Skeleton Army game.
No, we have not.
We have not seen a Skeleton Army game.
So this is, I believe, game 3 of Raintown and Mr. Fruitus match. I could be wrong. We could take a look back at their screen, but I think this is game 3, or let's take a look. So there's game 2. Are they playing another one?
That's game. So that would be game 2 between them. So the first game should be here. Oh,
Nope. All right, cool. Let's watch game
Yeah.
1 then if they're set. I feel like we looked at this earlier though, right? Because we saw the miner. We talked about the miner and the furnace. So this must be Raintown advanced to the next round.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's what it was.
Cool. Skeleton Army. That's a new one.
Skeleton Army, actually, I've heard from a friend of mine that it's actually been becoming more and more popular. Skeleton Army, I think, was one of those cards that was kind of not really appreciated just because Valkyrie was in such high usage and, you know, Zap and arrows existed almost in every
Yeah.
deck. And it's kind of that thing you were talking about, right? Unless you're really going ham with it, like Princess Minion Horde Skeleton Army.
Sure,
it's
sure.
kinda like,
I'm gonna have to see it, man. I'll admit I'm still kind of a Skeleton Army hater. I just feel that I really like swarm decks. Like I love Goblin Barrel, Minion Horde. I like playing a lot of swarmy cards that force players to use their arrows. My problem with Skeleton Army is I feel like it's naturally countered by a lot of things, like Ice Wizard, Valkyrie. Those are not like, ooh, I'm playing an anti-swarm deck,
Yeah,
right? Those
yeah.
are just cards that exist in a lot of people's standard decks. So I'd be really impressed to see how Skeleton Army interacts in this matchup. And of course, I want to see more Miner and Furnace play.
yeah. So let's go ahead and jump right into the game. That's the wrong one. Right here. Mr. Frydunoth. Frydunoth? Versus Raintown. Hooray!
Hooray!
Oh my god. we have the hooray. Giant. Okay, Fredis is the opener.
So he's putting the Furnace in the middle to distract hogs and things like that if they come by.
And the,
Mr. Furnace is very happy with that. Or happy with the Furnace play.
Yeah. And the great thing about the Furnace is that it's so immediate, the Fire Spirit damage. It's not like a
Look at that.
Spear Goblin where they take swings. The Fire Spirit just does.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, so we got the first Miner of the match going and hitting that Musketeer. Looks like it doesn't do enough to kill it, though.
Interesting that he decided to put it... I guess he really wanted to make sure that it got on the Musketeer, because I was almost thinking the fact that it was behind the bridge meant that it started getting hit by the tower.
Yeah.
Ice Wizard versus Ice Wizard, but actually this is in the advantage of Frydunoth because he was both hitting the tower and the other Ice.
And not to mention, like, the Furnace, you know, didn't do a ton of damage to the right tower. Actually, they're about even, so I don't want to be that bad about it. But it obviously lost a lot of hit points to the Giant, which cut short its time.
The big question right here for Raintown is, okay, he's got damage done to both towers. Is that going to come to play later in the game? Because there are situations where it doesn't involve necessarily committing to killing one tower, but the fact that these two towers are a bit lower on health, he needs to make some... He either needs to be okay with that being wasted damage or have some way to make it relevant.
I don't really like the Furnace it played into the Giant because Fire Spirits aren't really good against
high
health, slow units. So it's like the parade of fire spirits running into it would not be great. This miner, though, is a great play. The miner comes in, the low health wizard is crossing the bridge. Wizards do not generally do well against towers, so I like the miner sort of appeared as a sudden tank. Great defense by Mr. Friedenath to hold it off with the knight and the ice wizard, but that was a great play by Raintown that, if pulled off, would have represented 1,000 or more damage.
And that's one of the benefits of the miner is that he's 3 costs, but he's essentially kind of like a mini knight in that sense. He's got that tankiness down for him. And he does
Snap on the skeleton army. Oh, wow. Once again, though, like, I question the furnace play. I feel like that Raintown is putting himself further and further behind with that. Oh, here comes the miner. Oh, the miner even gets hit by the fireball. What a bummer.
You would almost even imagine if you put the furnace behind and kind of relied on using his miner, his barbarians, plus the ice wizard to defend, that furnace would constantly be getting more and more value as it stays alive.
I think actually the opening interaction was better where the furnace was I mean, it was a coincidence that the furnace was going the opposite direction of the giant, but I think at this point you just want to save the furnace until the giant's played and then go the other way with it.
Yeah.
When the towers are so close enough in damage, I don't think it's like significant particularly that which way you attack. But here comes a royal giant. He's been holding it the whole game.
And the furnace is going to pump out 2 more fire spirits. This could hurt really bad if the skeleton army gets played. The furnace.
Zap, where's the zap? There's the zap to clear it out.
So
the miner, though, I believe the miner actually was tanking the tower. It wasn't that he played it a little soon, and the fire spirit, or I'm sorry, the miner was the one taking the tower shots.
Oh my goodness.
Double musketeer, that's bad news.
Double musketeer, double knight, plus a giant in front, and the positioning is good in this push.
Yeah, great positioning on the push. Not a great fireball there, but honestly, this is such an unbelievable...
Oh no, the miner gets lost in the sea of skeletons.
Immediately closed over. Wow, Mr. Friedenath, great play.
I like the way he just started. He
built up pushes. Those are A+ pushes right there.
He played good defense, and that's the idea of the musketeer, right? Okay, so you need to think about archers as opposed to goblins, or spear goblins as opposed to minions as opposed to musketeer, right? And the musketeer is one of those cards that's great by putting them behind the tower or maybe even to the side, and then converting that musketeer from defense to offense, and that's exactly what happened for Friedenath.
Yeah, it was the musketeer played all the way in the back shooting a miner, and then by the time the musketeer killed the miner and then began to walk back, Mr. Friedenath had cycled through his cards and was able to play a second musketeer, and hey, that's 2/3 of a 3 musketeer.
Yep.
That's a good squad.
Yep, that's 2/3 of a 3 musketeer. Where's the third one? I don't know, probably taking a nap.
Coming up.
Probably taking a nap. All right.
Sleeping.
All right, guys. We have now actually played all the games outside of the group, so
awesome. So there's 2 people from each of the 4 clans have advanced.
Yeah, 2 people from each of the 4 clans, and we will be playing out the round of 8 bracket now. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna join the channel Super Magical Cup, or rather the clan Super Magical Cup, and go ahead and live spectate those games. So
I'm excited for the live spectating part.
Yeah, I love throwing the confetti. That's just something that I really like. We're gonna request join.
We are in.
And what we're gonna do is have a short intermission to get us ready for the next stage of the tournament. Thank you guys for watching and staying tuned. So before we go on break, we're gonna do one more giveaway, and when we come back, we're gonna announce the answers for that giveaway and get started with a round of 8. And so the next giveaway question, let me go ahead and prepare the raffle here. And remember, the raffle is open, but don't answer until you know what you want to answer the question to, right? Because we need you to answer these questions correctly. That's just how you participate in it. So this next giveaway, !raffle space your answer to the question, and the question is as follows: what do you think is currently the most valuable card in the meta, and why? So is it the princess? Is it the princess because it just has so many situations where it's applicable, or is it something like Hog Rider, Mortar, Rocket?
I think barbarians are really they counter so many things that they themselves almost become something you have to deal with. I think Elixir Collector could be really strong. I mean, Elixir Collector is in a lot of ways like the defining card for so many decks.
Yeah.
So many archetypes rely on Elixir Collector.
And a lot of people, I think, don't realize just because it's such a passive card, but once you start looking at all the decks that are being played, you see, oh my god, there's Elixir Collector in every one of them.
It's weird how Elixir Collector in a lot of ways lets you play a 7-card deck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a card. It costs Elixir to play, but because it makes its costs back, it lets you, once you get them going, it lets you cycle pretty quickly, and it allows you to really emphasize the other 7 cards in your deck, and that's what makes it kind of a sneaky all-star.
Yeah. All right, so exclamation mark raffle. Answer that question. We're going to go to a slight intermission, and when we're back, we're going to announce the winners of the raffle and get started on the round of 8. And it's going to be great, guys. So be right back just a moment. Go ahead and take a look at some of these videos that we've prepared for you.
Hey Clashers, Rumham here with another tip series in between your games. Prince is one of the first epics that a new player encounters, and it's really important to know how to counter them. The most important thing to know about a Prince is that once he starts charging, he's going to deal double damage to the first thing he hits to stop the charge. So what you really don't want to do is let a Prince hit your tower, because he's going to tear it down really fast. The best way to deal with a Prince is to use cheap small units to swarm it, surround it, tear it down, and kill it before he ever gets to your tower. An important thing to avoid is to not play any low hit point single body units in front of it, like say a musketeer, because they're just going to get run over within the charge or 2 hits and be barely more than a speed bump against the Prince's charge to your tower. Air is really good against the Prince because he only attacks ground units, but watch out because small units like minions may not kill him before he reaches the tower. The Prince will charge the first ground unit in his sight, so you can distract him towards the middle with buildings that allow both powers to attack him and kill him before he gets there. And that's been your tip series on the Prince. See you in the arena. Hey gang, Rumham here with another troop tip series. The Golem is the biggest, toughest unit in tournament play. Boasting almost 4,000 hit points, it's gonna come right for your tower. The Golem only attacks buildings and not troops, so you would counter it the same way that you would counter, say, a giant. You want to swarm it with cheap units, but watch out because every time the Golem explodes, he's gonna kill a lot of those cheap units around it. The best way to counter Golem is with either high hit point or shield bearing melee units like barbarians and guards, because not only can they attack, but they can survive the explosions after and kill the Golemites. Now the Golem has a lot of hit points, so you definitely don't want to use spells, splash damage. You need high damage single target attackers. Musketeer, Prince, Mini P.E.K.K.A, those sort of things can deal a ton of damage to a Golem before the Golem really does a lot to your towers. Like Giant, Golems will only attack buildings, so you can use buildings to your advantage to lure them across the middle of the field where both towers attack. Thanks for watching. That's been another Troop Tip series. I'll see you in the arena.
All right, everybody, and we're back. Hopefully you enjoyed those videos. Rumham very kindly gave us some tips about how to play at the very basic level, at the very beginning level, against some of these cards that you may encounter, such as the Prince and the Golem. And we've actually seen some of that today. We've seen, you know, goblins versus the Prince. We've seen the Golem exploding and taking down the goblins. So it's been pretty cool.
These are actually really fun to make, and we're gonna try to make more of them. If you'd like to see short little tip series, let us know just by direct messaging us, whatever, mention in chat what you'd like to see. Because each week we're gonna do the Super Magical Cup, and each week we'll make more and more of these little intermission videos.
Absolutely. So one of the other things that we have to do before we get on to the round of 8 is finish out the giveaway. So I'm going to go ahead and close the raffle now. We're going to close the raffle, and remember, guys, we still have more giveaways to come. We have 2 more giveaways to do to the end of the stream, so if you miss this one, that's okay. You have more opportunities. So closing the raffle now, and we're going to find the 3 winners to get buckets of gems. All right, so let's draw the first one. Let's draw the first one here. Let's see. He's Domingo SLP. I'm gonna go ahead and announce the winner in chat. Domingo SLP says, he likes the Hog Rider. He thinks the Hog Rider is the most valuable card. Quick and does a great amount of damage for 4 elixir, and it's kind of hard to argue with that. You see a Hog Rider a lot.
Hog Rider, especially before the patch, was easily far and away the most common beatdown archetype. I really like the introduction of Royal Giant has at least split that decision into like, okay, Hog Rider or Royal Giant and or some other cards.
Yeah.
But I think it's pretty hard to argue with. I mean, every deck that you build has to answer, how do I deal with Hog plus Goblins plus Zap? Like, you have, if you don't have an answer, if you don't have an answer for that, your deck is going to be in trouble really quick. Hey, Domingo, throw us a follow. Thanks for the answer, and enjoy your bucket of gems.
All right, thumbs up for you. We'll draw in the next one. Max Rising. Here's the thumbs up for you. Max Rising.
The other one.
Max Rising says Royal Giant because it's so hard to place the fences just right to distract it. And I think this is the bit of the talk of the town, right? The Royal Giant was always laughed at. Everybody made fun of the Royal Giant, the poor guy sitting in the corner crying. And then
it was the worst card. I mean, it was by what people said, it was the worst card in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now just as simple as the range increase now has made it a very, very popular card and very effective as we've seen.
It gave it a really unique use case, because the problem before was that you could just play Bomb Tower in front of you, could just play your defenses and just sit behind them, but now people are a little hesitant to just sit behind a bunch of defenses because a single Royal Giant outranges all of them. Mm-hmm. So you just sit there and you go, I'll play a Bomb Tower and it'll last for 60 seconds and who cares? Well, now a Royal Giant cares, and he'll just knock it down outside of the range of your towers and really make that a bad trade for you.
Yep. All right, so
Max Rising, throw us a follow.
Absolutely.
Quit being shy.
And make sure to message Super Magical Cup to figure out the details. All right, the last winner for this giveaway question. The last winner is going to be Potions Royale.
And I believe Potions is actually in the top 8 that we're about to reveal. If it's the same Potions, congratulations on both making the top 8 Potions and winning the giveaway. Why don't you go throw us a follow because it's been so good. These non-followers winning raffles. All right. I think the most valuable card currently in the meta is Royal Giant because it outranges all defenses beside the tower and does a large amount of damage. Pretty hard. I mean, at least the matches we've watched so far in the tournament, pretty hard to argue with. I wonder how many players in the top 8 are playing, out of the 8 players, so 16 decks, I wonder how many Royal Giants are actually in those top 16 decks.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting question to answer. In our first tournament, we saw a lot of Mortars. In our second tournament, we saw a lot of defensive structures. Yeah. Maybe our third tournament is a lot of Royal Giants.
Big cannons. People just like big metal firing.
Big. That is what catches their attention. All right, so guys, make sure you message Super Magical Cup and make sure you get that information sorted out so that we can go ahead and send you buckets of gems. So, without further ado, let's get into the round of 8. And the first thing we can do, is look at the bracket. Woohoo! We finally made it, and these are the players that are starting to get. Now, all these players, by the way, are going to be awarded points. So, we can go ahead and talk about, in a simple manner, what our points distribution is. So, what it is if you get first place, you get awarded 1,000 super magical points to get yourself ranked up and figure out where you place on the leaderboards. And again, if you guys don't know where to find that, go to www.supermagicalcup.com/leaderboard. And you can figure out who are the top placers.
What's really interesting is looking at the top. We're going to make a graphic for future tournaments to show the leaderboard week after week. But just right now looking at it, a few things are really interesting. For example, Raintown, who we watched some videos of and didn't quite make it to the top 8 this time, is in 7th place overall. He scored 3rd or 4th on a past tournament. So Raintown, who we saw earlier, is a regular and a threat to make the top 8 in future weeks. When we show the top 8, it's actually live right now, I believe. Woody down in the 4th set playing Mr. Frudinoff. It was actually, I believe he won the first tournament, right?
Yeah.
So Woody now is in first place on the overall leaderboard. Even if he loses in this first round, he'll be in first place with 1,100 points. 1,000 for his first place finish and 100 for his top 8 finish.
Yeah, at the very least. So that's also interesting to mention. First place is 1,000, second place is 500, third, fourth is 250 each, and 5th through 8th is 100 each. So those are the super magical points that you can get to get yourself ranked on the leaderboards. If you guys want to test your might against these players, come out to these Super Magical Cup tournaments and make sure that you put your point value up there. We show much more than just the top 8 on the leaderboard, by the way. We're going to try to show as many people as we can. Anybody who earns points really is going to be put on this leaderboard. So hopefully we get it fleshed out and we start seeing some more storylines. And as Rumham mentioned, there are already some repeat contenders, and we've seen a few matches and we have a few favorites in our mind in terms of players that we see did really well today.
Yeah.
Let's see how it plays out in this top 8 bracket. Let's go ahead and figure out how we can play this first match here.
All right, so the first match is going to be Malsadade versus Mazarath. Malkady versus Mazarath. Really excited for this match. We haven't seen either of these players yet because we were only spectating in one of the 4 clans that had the match. We go straight to live spectating. Very excited. I'm excited because now we don't know what's in their decks or in their hand.
Okay, Repham, the mouse is in your control.
All
you
right.
you
I'm gonna
pick
confetti
whichever
man.
you pick whichever confetti you want.
I'm going to see.
Oh, okay. I
Let's see who plays
actually
the
already
defense.
like blue. I
You like blue? You like the hog? I think that was a pretty good defense right there for both players. I'm going to give red the confetti for the good defense against the hog.
the red confetti. Oh, minion horde against just the goblins. And
See if
I like.
the zap. Oh, another great defensive play with
Nice.
Mazarath. Seems like Mazarath is trying to cycle through very cheap cards. We saw a cannon. We saw cannon, princess, elixir collector, zap now. So I expect another elixir collector to come out very soon. It's a very cheap cycle to go through those cards. It's
Elixir
sitting in his
Collector?
hand, and there it is.
And this is the strength of Elixir Collector plus cheap, efficient defense, is that now he's at 2 Elixir Collectors, and he's going to Minion Horde. Oh, the Mini P.E.K.K.A gets a swing, and that's huge
Two
damage.
swings, in fact. Wow. Does the princess get the one shot off? Doesn't survive.
All right.
But
so
from
that's the
here on
cost.
out- That's the
of
cost.
2 Elixir Collectors.
I mean, down 1,000 hit points, but at this point, Mazarath has a huge elixir. You can see it already. He's up by 3-4 elixir. Let's make sure that Mazarath doesn't waste this
Barbie's
advantage.
in the back. He's starting a big push.
Big push coming up. It doesn't seem that
What is his last card?
Malkade has a fireball, so how are you going to punish this huge,
Hog-
beefy push?
So Hog is his win condition. Some form of Hog cycle. He's got Barbarians pushing across, and the timing was a little weird, and I feel like that elixir advantage that he's built up for himself ended up just getting dumped into nothing.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate setup. Now, here's an interesting part where Malkade actually struggles that he only has Zap, and while Zap is great on offense, not really good on defense
Yeah.
against that Minion Horde. It's not doing much.
Yeah, Minion
Oh,
Horde
and
covers
late
for the
pull.
Hog Rider.
Great move.
And the Hog Rider gets pulled up to the cannon and is going to get 1 swing.
That single minion, it does count, though. Look at that single minion getting a few attacks in there.
Goodness.
Let's get a big, let's actually throw some confetti for blue for holding off that incredible push. Really, the game's actually about even though Mazarath has the elixir advantage with the more collectors.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is anyone's game so far.
Yeah. Malkade is playing very well around the Elixir Collectors. Minion Horde is desperately being used for defense, and this time it actually doesn't get zapped.
I'll get zapped right about here-ish.
Ooh,
He wants to get
Minion
the
Horde's
hog in
coming
as well. You can see the hog hiding in there.
That's pretty good value, but the hog is actually being defended up. Oh my god, that timing on the zap was actually, that had to
Very
be a fire.
That was a pre-fire. It was a total coincidence that he got him in there. That's great. I mean, great play for Mazarath. Got a little bit more
And-
damage in there.
You have to notice that Mazarath was actually the one that started about 1k health down from the tower, and now he's actually pulled the game back, and he has 732 on his opponent's
Leaking
tower.
elixir now, though. I wish he would play something. I'm nervous about any time I see anyone wasting elixir in overtime.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Oh my goodness!
Oh, hooray!
I
for the
can't
confetti.
believe I thought it was amazing that he pre-zapped, but then the pre-arrows came in, and oh my goodness! That
But
was
then
a
again,
big
look at these
opener.
goblins. They just were able to pull that zap off. Oh, the arrows
Uh-oh.
there doesn't hit the tower.
Okay, the Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to push through the princess. Hog Rider behind the Mini P.E.K.K.A. He makes his
All
way
right, so it's-
around.
Oh, the cannon
nice.
blocks. Cannon will stop this push right there.
Very good.
Wow, we are 15 seconds into overtime, and this game is 2 fireballs away from being over.
Uh-oh, Cannon gets committed before the Hog Rider exists. And so this could, I mean,
you're
I feel
right,
like
they could throw the
Malkade needs to
cycle off.
cycle. He needs to cycle really quick right now because that Hog Rider is going to go straight through, and 424 health is not a lot.
And he's got the princess out there to start chipping it away. He's clearly setting up for a hog play. He's going to counter this Mini P.E.K.K.A Goblins push with, oh yeah, he's going to counter it.
The arrows,
Oh,
the
the-
arrows were not good.
They didn't hit all the minions.
Oh no!
Wow, so here comes the hog, right? Because
The
there's
Hog,
no cannon, unless
but
cannon's back in his hand.
Cannon should be cycled. He's played at least 2 cards, and he had 2 cards before.
You're right.
And he's missed his opportunity, and here finally is a Hog Rider, and he's going to be sorely disappointed
Oh,
with
it runs away from Mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh, the
Oh,
cannon
my
gets
goodness.
it. Woo, this is like a cannon save on both sides. Both players are playing these last-minute cannons that are really determining whether or not these pushes are successful.
Uh-oh. Now this time it's Mathras that commits the cannon before the Hog Rider exists. And finally he puts the Hog Rider down. The cannon is leaking a bit of health. Good arrow storm. Oh my
Oh,
god!
that's it! Oh no, the cannon again! Oh, I actually, oh no, there's one hit! Oh my god! wow. I think actually Malkaid has the better strategy.
He
here.
can arrow zap. He can arrow zap and take the tower down.
He's arrowed twice already on princesses, so he's gotten valuable pushes. And this is the all in for Mazarath. This is the game right here.
He needs the arrows. If he can find the time to, okay, he's gonna commit the arrows to the troops. Admirable decision. Cannon's gonna be placed down. That's not gonna work. If you zap.
So now he's
I think
within,
he needs just a
arrow
little
range.
more. Ah,
The princess!
one more shot.
Oh no! Does the goblin
it's
get
out
in? Do
of
they get
arrows.
zapped? No, they pull it off! The spear goblin! 2 minutes into overtime. That was so stressful at the end there. Congratulations to Malkaid.
You know what's funny about that is I actually feel like Mazarath might have triggered his own doom.
Yeah.
He played the princess, and
Yeah.
then Malkaid was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna lose." He played the spear goblins to save his butt, and the spear goblins is actually what ended up defeating Mazarath. So I almost feel like Mazarath was probably more. It would have benefited him more to.
I wasn't watching the elixir count, but in
Yeah.
that dangerous situation, I'm surprised. Like the barbarians came out a little late. I don't know if that's because Mazarath was actually at 0 or if he was just sort of thinking about it. But when you get desperate into overtime like that, it just becomes sometimes like just throw everything out of your hand. Because even
just start doing stuff.
You almost can't afford to hesitate. You know what I mean? Like you almost can't afford to like think about it because 1 second can decide the game.
All right, so we're gonna wait for their second match to be set up. So that was Malkaid versus Mazarath.
Incredible.
And what a close match. So that was quite insane.
And funny thing is, I think that Malkaid actually probably had the inevitable win there in the sense that as long as Mazarath was playing princesses by the tower, the Malkaid can always get a profitable arrows on the tower and the princess. So assuming that even if the pushes kept going back and forth, not really going anywhere, Malkaid only had about 4 arrows in order to pull that off, but was, was able to get it with the spear goblins. But I feel like as long as he could have played expert defense, which is why you saw him arrow the hog and the minions as opposed to arrowing offensively, I think he was going to win that game if given enough time.
I think so too. All right, we have the next match being set up.
And they are playing right now. Let's get in there. Oh wait. Oh no, somebody else grabbed it. Oops. It looks like somebody said, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick.
We're gonna play more videos.
Hey gang, Rumham here with another troop tip series. The Giant is a very big, tough tank unit. It has the most hit points for its elixir cost, but it moves slow and only attacks buildings. First and foremost, because it has so many hit points, don't use your spells on it. You could throw 10 elixir worth of magic on it, and it's barely going to take it to half health, if even. The best way to fight a giant is to surround it with cheap, swarmy units that will deal tons of damage to it, and they won't die themselves because the giant doesn't attack them. Since the giant only attacks buildings, use that to your advantage and draw the giant towards the middle with buildings where both towers can attack it at once. Now be very careful with the giant because low damage splash attacking units like Baby Dragon and Princess can be really good against a lot of units, but won't even bring the giant to half health by the time he reaches the tower. One of the most effective ways to counter it is with high damage swarm units like guards, barbarians, goblins. That's been Rumham with another troop tip series. See you in the arena. Hey Clashers, Rumham here with another tip series. Dark Prince is in a lot of ways the opposite of a prince. It still charges and does double damage, but instead of a single target attack, the Dark Prince attacks everything in front of it and around it while charging. So in a lot of ways, you counter the Dark Prince the opposite the way of a prince. You want to use high hit point, single body units. You don't want to use swarms. If you drop goblins and skeletons in front of a Dark Prince, they're going to get cleaned up real fast. Tough units though, like Valkyrie, or high damage single attackers like Mini P.E.K.K.A, will do a great job at repelling Dark Princes. Like Prince, they will charge the nearest thing to them, so you can use buildings to distract them to the middle. Buildings like Cannon are especially useful at destroying a Dark Prince quickly. The Dark Prince has a unique shield mechanic. The shield is a little bit of hit points that blocks any extra damage done to it, simply knocking off the shield. Don't use your big spells while the shield is up, because all that extra damage will go to waste. That's been another tip series on the Dark Prince. See you in the arena. Hey Clashers, Rumham here with another tip series in between your games. Prince is one of the first epics that a new player encounters, and it's really important to know how to counter them. The most important thing to know about a Prince is that once he starts charging, he's going to deal double damage to the first thing he hits to stop the charge. So what you really don't want to do is let a Prince hit your tower, because he's going to tear it down really fast. The best way to deal with a Prince is to use cheap small units to swarm it, surround it, tear it down, and kill it before he ever gets to your tower. An important thing to avoid is to not play any low hit point single body units in front of it, like say a musketeer, because they're just going to get run over within the charge or 2 hits and be barely more than a speed bump against the Prince's charge to your tower. Air is really good against the Prince because he only attacks ground units, but watch out because small units like minions may not kill him before he reaches the tower. The Prince will charge the first ground unit in his sight, so you can distract him towards the middle with buildings that allow both towers to attack him and kill him before he gets there. And that's been your tip series on the Prince. See you in the arena. Get back here, turn this down. All right, gang, we've gone through our cycle of videos. We're going to make more of these each week, so by all means, let me know which ones you want to see. Whoop. I'm back in the studio. Rainy's decided to take a bathroom break after I took mine. So we're going to get started on Game 2 of Malkaid versus Mazarath very shortly. I'd love to hear in chat, who do you think's going to win? We saw a great play by Malkaid in Game 1. We're about to do Game 2 here very shortly. Very excited. All right, Rainy's rejoining. Rainy, you know, it's interesting. Round 1 might end up being the most important round because it is the round where you either win a super magical chest or nothing.
Or nothing.
Or nothing.
Absolutely. It's the decider of where you get into the money, really.
I mean, once you're in the prize pool, it's just all greed at that point. But this is what these people have been fighting for.
All right, so I believe this is our match, and I guess we could use a match preview.
We could actually do a match preview because this one was we missed it during the intermission, at least the start of it. So here we are. We're going to see Game 2.
All right. Ooh, this is freeze.
Mazarath. Okay, so Malkaid switches. He's still playing a hog deck, but instead of zap and some other things, it's a freeze deck.
Yep. So he's got a hog freeze, and he's got a Tesla tower. Actually, that's interesting. Something that we haven't seen today.
Mazarath playing also a very similar deck. He's got an Elixir Collector cycle deck. It seems like he'll be playing a lot of Elixir Collectors. Let's see if this one goes a little better. Given how close Game 1 is, I'm not. I think I would normally be down on Mazarath for losing Game 1 and then playing a very similar deck as his other deck. But given how close it was, I could have gone either way. I think it's very likely Mazarath wins this game.
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's take a look at how it plays out. And go ahead and watch it. Mazarath versus Malkaid.
Game 2.
Game 2. Malkaid ended up winning the first one. Mazarath has to figure out a way to eke out the win.
They're both thinking Lincoln Elixir here in the early seconds. And once again, that defensive princess is one of Mazarath's trademarks, I would say. Like, I feel like he plays that princess in the far back very often as a response to pushes.
Yeah. And the result is that Malkaid is at an Elixir advantage now. About 1.
Not too bad.
Just about what, and the cannon is going to expire.
Cannon goes out, so they're pretty much back to where we started. No one really took any damage. About maybe 200 or 150 on Mazarath's side, not too bad. I like the investment of the Valkyrie.
Yes.
4 Elixir isn't very much to spend. You're not leaving yourself very open. By playing the Valkyrie back, it allows him to build up this much larger push. Now,
he's leaking.
Mazarath probably had the better response with the Elixir Collector, but let's see how this does.
Ooh, the push!
It's right. So if you didn't know this, fast units placed behind slow units will push the slower unit at a faster speed. So in that case, the Hog Rider, who moves at a fast speed, pushes the Valkyrie, who moves at a medium speed, at fast speed. You can get hog speed Valkyries with that combo. That's incredible.
Which is crazy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got to throw some confetti somewhere.
We're not.
We're not watching a replay. Watching a replay. That's right. I can't throw any confetti.
There's no confetti for us.
Seems like the viewers of the game were very happy with their ability to throw confettis, though. Lots of them around. I'll tell you, I went to the Helsinki tournament. Throwing confetti live is a lot of fun. I can't wait for more live Clash Royale tournaments.
Look at all that confetti.
Oh, that was easily fun. Wow, the Elixir Collector taking huge damage with the freeze! This hog is going to get some damage in there.
And it gets away from the other tower.
So you're right, so he's actually able to attack pretty much unanswered for at least a few shots. Wow, that represented a ton of damage on Mazerath's right tower.
Now, what's interesting is that Mazerath opted to hold his zap on that Hog Rider, on his own Hog Rider when the skeletons were up on it. He could have gotten an extra swing if he had decided to zap the skeletons early, but the skeletons got the damage in and then zapped the Hog Rider, and I think he lost a swing because of that.
Excellent quick arrows by Malkaid, because what happens is even though some of the minions, did get hit by the first shot, notice that the Hog Rider's tanking for them, they're able to, some of them are still alive, like, wow, just a lot of good value there.
Malkaid is playing his Hog Freeze really, really well. The two instances where he's utilized the freeze, even despite the fact that Mazerath had the minion horde there, Malkaid had his units supported, his Hog Rider supported with his own minion horde, and was able to add on the Spear Goblins and take down the minion horde, and the Hog Rider got a lot of swings off.
I really like the forward minion horde too. Like, it's such a great. Oh, one more!
Oh,
with
my
11
goodness.
seconds left, and he has arrows on defense to counter all of that. Now he just has to stop the hog, and
Tesla,
the game will
Tesla,
pretty much be his.
Tesla!
It is. Oh, it does. What a weird pull.
I think it was because the
did.
Tesla goes down.
Oh,
so
I see.
I think
So
it
it started to
started
go
down
down.
and it popped up, and the
Got
Hog
it.
Rider was getting really confused. That was really
You're right.
great.
Malkaid, expert freeze player. I mean, we
Yeah.
didn't see a single bad freeze that entire game. He played
Yeah.
threes three times, and all 3 times represented critical lethal damage to put him past Mazerath.
Absolutely. It's almost every time I watch somebody play Hog Freeze, I always feel like it's kind of like a precision play. Like they're almost like the snipers kind of the Clash Royale meta.
It's
kind
that
of
pre-shot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're lining up the headshot
Yeah.
before it ever
yeah.
you pull the trigger.
And then it's so easy to just have a freeze go so poorly because you freeze and then the Hog Rider's dead and you're sitting there staring at the tower, and then like basically you're building them an elixir advantage, not only because your freeze didn't do anything, but their units are being delayed.
Yeah.
It's in a sense where you play giants and Valkyries and that stuff in the back because they move slow. Well, if you freeze them, then you have even more time to build up a huger push.
Yeah, that's a good
And
point.
it just gets really, really tough to handle the counter push off a freeze.
I'm really excited for our next game. We've got Man U fan versus giveaway winners potions.
So actually, that's a good point.
We've seen a lot of Man U fans games already, and we know that man is an expert Royal Giant player. He's actually running 2 Royal Giant decks.
Yeah, so if we take a look at the bracket here, we know that Malkaid defeated Mazerath, so Mazerath gets awarded 100 points and is out of the tournament, and Malkaid will move on, and he's into the money, and we're actually into the game here between Potions and Manufan, and
Just starting. So Manufan again with the defensive princess, played so far back that it's going to be able to kill the spear goblins without ever really opening itself up to threat.
one spear.
We've got both giant. There's a Royal Giant coming in front. Oh, the mini P.E.K.K.A.'s going to go in front.
Okay, he's playing super aggressive.
Let's see how this push gets defended.
Oh!
Wow,
Nice.
the princess did really well there. The Valkyrie's getting swarmed. Zap does. You know what?
Oh, he saves the princess. He actually saves the
does.
princess, so it's gonna tick away at damage.
Oh, and the oh! You know what? Let's cheer for Potions for holding or killing that
That
princess.
was intense. If the spear goblins didn't make it,
That would have been huge trouble.
It would have been a world of hurt. But the Elixir Collector gets taken down to a very low health, and he's not going to get another pump out of it.
Interesting, and that might be the first time I've seen Manufan play the Royal Giant back a little bit. He tends to
'cause
play it
that
by
was-
the river.
Yeah, that was one
very
of the things that we were
aggressive.
noting. He was okay with just playing the Royal Giant and getting ticking damage. So I don't know what he's identified to cause him to do it this way, but we'll see. Uh-oh.
That's Inferno Tower. It's going to cause some big trouble. Oops.
Zap.
Oh, he's saying oops because he wanted the Inferno Tower to tank. But I think that was still a good play, though, because he destroyed the Royal Giant and still has at least 15, 20 seconds left on that Inferno Tower, which will kill, like, say, the Ice Wizard that we're about to see come across.
Yeah. Interesting. I always wonder how the Ice Wizard interacts with the Inferno Tower.
It slows the heating up. It slows because the attack speed of the Inferno Tower is 0.4 seconds.
Yeah.
So it slows it down to like 0.54 seconds or whatever, which makes it slower to charge up.
Mini P.E.K.K.A. versus Valkyrie.
Oh,
in the front.
Valkyrie versus. Oh, whoa! Here goes the blue.
I didn't see that one coming, and this is the beauty of the Light Spectre Clyde. We don't know what's in their decks.
Will he get the minion horde out?
Oh my God,
Oh,
the
he got the
cannon.
cannon! That'll distract, but I don't think that's really what you want. Princess does not do enough damage.
Oh!
The zap holds it off. We gotta throw a confetti for red there to pull that one off. The minion horde comes down. Arrows takes care of it. Once again, that Ice Wizard's just gonna walk into the Inferno Tower. Oh, I see. The Royal Giant is gonna take the Inferno Tower out before they ever get close.
Yep.
Valkyrie has a pretty slow attack speed. I feel like.
Oh, that's what we were talking
wow.
about. Freeze Valk. But the Valkyrie is not in the prime position. The Valkyrie could have been in a very, very bad position for Manufan, but only taking down the Royal Giant. Still, I feel like Potions is going to be pretty happy about that. Spear Goblins onto the Mini P.E.K.K.A. takes them down, and Ice Wizard Princess is what's left. Double Legendary, double Troubled. Minion Horde onto the Ice Wizard. Going to take down the arrows is a good response. And now we're left with just a lone Ice Wizard once again.
Once again, it feels like the lines of play keep coming down the exact same way each time, where they're putting the Inferno Tower into the Minion Horde and all that kind of thing.
Where's the balloon?
Where is that balloon? You're right. That's the
He
only
might be
damage.
waiting for overtime, and this is the exact moment he would want to do it. Now remember, there's cannon, but he also has freeze on hand.
Ice Wizard, though.
There's a
the
freeze!
Oh, you're right about the freeze. The Minion Horde comes in a little late, and it ignores the zap and is able to push through. Wow, great defense by Manufan.
Didn't even need to use his cannon.
He was surprised the first time, but not that. I like the combination of Royal Giant and Princess because I think he can take down the Inferno Tower before. Wow, never mind, psych.
Wow.
Inferno Tower is such a great natural counter.
Yeah. Inferno Tower is great against big bodies, and I feel like it's also pretty good against medium bodies too. So it's really important to make sure you arrange your push appropriately to make sure that your Royal Giant isn't the first thing targeted.
Yeah.
Because
I
as
like to
long
put
as there's
Barbarians
that
in front.
difference, and the Royal Giant is picking away from range, like this.
Goblins, perfect.
Goblins in front. And he's going to have to spend a zap, but this is not going to work well for the Inferno Tower, because look at how many units are targeting that.
And
Just
the Ice
one more
Wizard's
swing.
slowing it down.
And the Royal Giant survives, and that gives space for the Mini P.E.K.K.A to push across. One swing! He just needs
Seven,
my
zap it! Zap it for the win!
One
There it is.
swing.
Princess takes it down. Manufan takes game one.
And that is
excellent play.
that is exactly what we were talking about.
Wow.
With the arranging your units is super important. The fact that he had the goblins in front and then the Royal Giant. Potions knew that he had to commit the zap to get rid of the goblins before he could play the Inferno Tower. That allowed the back line, the Ice Wizard, the Valkyrie, the Inferno Tower was played, and all three of those units were shooting it. Ice Wizard is slowing it down, helped the Royal Giant survive. The Mini P.E.K.K.A was squeezed through right at the end. Once the Inferno Tower was down, so the Mini P.E.K.K.A didn't actually go for the Inferno Tower. It just went straight to the tower, and that split-second difference was all that the Mini P.E.K.K.A needed to do, 400 damage, I think it was? Taking the tower down from 500-some to 7.
That shows how good Manufan is at evolving lines of play. Like, we saw the same interactions of unit happen each time. Manufan was really only caught off guard once that whole match by the first balloon, and after that never left himself open to balloons while evolving his offense to counter that Inferno Tower that we had seen.
Absolutely.
So can Potions tie it up?
Intense close match.
Very, very well played. Very, it wasn't just a close game, it was a very thoughtful, well-played game, which I really like to see.
Royal Giant now being placed. Okay, and this is kind of what we've seen before, but the Royal Giant's onto the Elixir Collector, and any damage you do, okay, he's zapped. And you see how it retargeted the skeletons, and now it charges back down to 0.
Very good. Now, unfortunately, the Inferno Tower is very good against it, so even though that whole zap thing did work out in that sense, didn't stop the Inferno Tower from killing the Royal Giant. Now, what's interesting is Manufan won, right? We know that he won the game 1, but he has 2 Royal Giant decks, so these 2 decks might look kind of similar.
And he's got the Inferno Tower this time around.
But it is.
Wow. And he just played the Ice Wizard. He doesn't have a structure.
Remember, this deck doesn't have Minion Horde. Minion Horde has been replaced by just regular minions.
Regular minions, and that would have been really important for him. And it actually, it kind of depends, because I think he had enough Elixir to play Minion Horde, and that would have been great, because it would have just ensured that no damage was taken. But that
so Manufan is caught in the same situation he was in game 1, but just much sooner and much worse. Like, he had 1,300 damage left on his tower game 1. Now he has only 800. It's unfortunate that Potions doesn't have a lot of direct damage, because if they was a Fireball deck, for example, he might already have his win condition set up.
Combo is set up. He can actually zap.
Oh, the skeletons! Look, there they go.
And that's so great that he puts the Royal Giant in front and has the skeletons behind, convinces Potions that it's okay to put the Inferno Tower down, but then the skeletons catch up and the zap happens, and then the Royal Giant is free to just continue DPSing down the Inferno Tower, and look at the result of that. Royal Giant gets a good 2 or 3 swings in. Mini P.E.K.K.A is on the way, too.
A subtle interaction happened there was right before the Princess got frozen. She got 1 shot off that killed the Spear Goblins, which weakened the value of Potions freeze, because you didn't have that extra squad of Spear Goblins shooting.
And now we see the great weakness of Zap. Princess alive at 1 health. If you ain't dead, you're going at 100%. It's a big difference.
Oh, infinite damage from these princesses. They are brutal cards. Wow, that 1 minion though did sneak by, and even though it was only 80 damage, that may be the difference at the end.
That may be the difference. Royal Giant being added on, and this time the Inferno Tower is going to tag onto the minions, and this is great for Manufan.
Manufan really knows how to avoid the
full health
#1
Royal Giant onto the tower. Rumham, this could be a huge play for Manufan. I think he might be able to take the tower off of it.
Looks like it to me.
And this is the big question that we were asking. Is your deck able to do enough damage to the Royal Giant in a decent amount of time?
And the answer is, if you just are relying on Valkyrie and Minion Horde, maybe it's not enough. Minion Horde is a little too fragile. Valkyrie doesn't do enough damage. If you notice, Potions deck doesn't really play Barbarians, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Prince, anything kind of like that.
double
Wow.
princess now on the field. And oh my god, look at how much havoc they're wrecking. You want to arrow them, but you can only choose one, or rather even zap. This is becoming such a bad situation for Potions. I don't really see any way he could come back. And that's amazing. I mean,
Great. I mean, excellent play. And also, we have apparently, ManuFan has fans in chat. Clash with hey, yo, congratulations, ManuFan, on winning at least one Super Magical chest and moving on to the top 4. And hey, shout out to Clash with Ash. Clash with Ash, a very popular Clash Royale YouTuber, in chat. He made the top 8 of the Helsinki tournament, the only other major tournament.
And it was
apparently,
fantastic watching him play.
It was great watching him play. And apparently, ManuFan is in the same guild as Clash with Ash. So top quality tournament players must roll together.
And ManuFan was actually one of those players that we really appreciated the strategy that he employed. And I guess it all makes sense. They play hard and they play well.
It's really up to Malcade or maybe someone else later in the tournament to counter these Royal Giant decks.
So
because
remember the
he's running
story that
double.
we had built up. Woody is on the other side of the bracket. So in a sense, we have this if ManuFan is what we may consider the favorite of the top end of the bracket, and Woody is the favorite of the bottom end, they're going to be meeting up in the finals to decide who gets that $200, that 7 Super Magical chests, as opposed to just the 4.
And that's 7 Arena 8 Magical chests?
Yeah.
Legendary ones?
Yeah.
Wow, that's right. That's $200. 7 magical chests. I mean, at Arena 8, of course, if you're at a lower arena, that's even more magical, super magicals. But even at Arena 8, I mean, that's 170 epics.
Yeah, that's
like no joke, 150
and,
epics. I'm sorry, 150 epics.
They increase the chance that you could get legendaries too, and so it could very well be a bunch of legendaries. Hog Rider Minion, and oh my god, Amy just came out the gate swinging. Cannon Elixir Collector, and this is exactly why the Elixir Collector is super strong, because look at how non-existent that damage on the tower is.
Yeah, I mean, he basically got away with it.
Yeah.
You went from 10 Elixir to 5 Elixir, stared down a hog and minions, and was able to survive.
Yep.
Barely taking any damage. That means that Adam is really set up to have a lot more Elixir in the future.
Yep. Valkyrie making its way across. This is a double slow push. Interesting to note, level 5 versus level 6. Just throwing that out there. We'll see how that plays out.
I mean, big shout out to Amy for making the top 8 as a level 7. That's an incredible
that's
accomplishment. I mean, that's an accomplishment in its own right.
Yep. Minions on top. Valkyrie's going to be super tanky. Hog Rider makes his way across to the Inferno. Now we just see a Musketeer ambling its way across on the left side.
Musketeer, if left unanswered, can do a lot of damage. I haven't seen anything in Amy's deck that's like skeletons, goblins, like little cheap cards to distract
there
him.
it is. There's the goblins. Good. 2 for 4, and that's exactly the way you commonly want to handle Musketeer, especially at high health towers. Take that tower damage, get the elixir efficient trade.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I feel like if he was a little faster with the goblins, what could have happened?
Ooh, I like this combo.
Oh, that's normally a really good hog push, but the hog
Oh
decided not to
no!
push.
The Musketeer got played onto the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie actually didn't go for the cannon. But the Musketeer does enough damage, and no tower damage is taken. But that could have been very scary.
Here's the hog push. Look how fast. Oh, the Valkyrie ended up not getting pushed, but it did get the tank. Look at that amazing combination where the Valkyrie getting in the tower range just slightly sooner means that the tower is spending all of its time attacking the very high health Valkyrie, leaving the high damage Hog Rider to push through a lot of damage. Great play by Adam right there.
Adam pushes down the first tower before the 2 times elixir. Now the game can change once the minute mark hits, but it's looking really tough for Amy. I'm not exactly sure how he's going to navigate his way across to push. I mean, he's got slow cards, he's got Valkyrie, he's got Hog Rider as his only speed. I mean, Goblins
Building
is
a
not
big push,
usually...
though.
He's got the slow Valkyrie in the back, but it's going to be tough. We saw how well Adam plays around his cannon. I don't know if Amy is going to have a great answer to push past this Valkyrie cannon Musketeer combination.
I like the fireball in those 2 units. I think the thing that's really going to hurt hurt Amy is how do you get through not just the tower, but the 2 elixir collectors and the cannon. Like, just cycling defensive buildings at this point is a great strategy for Adam. Anything can happen in the last minute. You know, if you consider double elixir, the last minute of the game is the same amount of elixir as the prior 2 minutes, right? So you can definitely make a comeback, but it seems that Adam played this very intelligently by stacking buildings up on his weak side.
Oh goodness, and there's not enough time to 3 crown, but that would have been scary.
That would have been a bit of fun one.
That would have been scary. Oh, look at that. Value Fireball. Did you see that?
That's the fireball we were all hoping for. Taking 12 pumps off of 3 elixirs. Oh, if that ever happened to me on the ladder, I'd lose it. I'd be so happy.
That'd be great. That'd be great. All right. Thanks, everybody, for staying tuned. And we have another giveaway to do before we jump into the next match. So we got to do this pretty quick before the next match starts. But you guys kind of know the drill. ! Raffle space your answer to the question that we're going to give. And we're going to say that question right now. Go ahead and open the raffle. Thank you. Yes, reset the raffle. Okay, so the raffle should be open now. And the question is, out of these 3 styles, which do you think best describes your play style?
Wait, do we ever give away the last one?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Yeah. Out of these 3 styles, which do you think best describes your play style? Beatdown, control, or siege. Why is that? And if you're not really sure what the definitions of those are, I think Rumham can give you a great rundown.
Yeah, so actually these words come from an article that I wrote on Reddit very early in the game's lifespan, where I defined that there's really only 3 decks in Clash Royale. There's beatdown decks that come over to your side of the field and try to beat you up, right? Like this is the double princes, for example, is a very beatdowny sort of thing. They want to come over to your side of the field, knock your towers down, overrun your defenses, and steal a tower. Control decks sit back, play very counter play-ish, like they wait for you to do something and then try to make elixir positive trades on your attacks, and then use that elixir advantage to generate offenses that you can't usually deal with. A good example there might be what we talked about in the last game, playing the musketeer on defense, and then by the time it came back to the opponent, it's almost like a free musketeer to attack, and siege are decks that attack from their side of the board, decks like spawner, mortar, etc. So go ahead and !raffle, let us know if you're a beatdown, siege, or control player, and let's get right into this match. This is game 2.
All right, I'm pretty sure Adam played the Elixir Collector, and this time he got it punished, and the Elixir Collector was actually destroyed. And remember in last game, Amy was able to push through, and actually the Elixir Collector survived. And so that's going to be a key difference here.
Definitely. Adam doesn't get off to that really fast start that he used to generate the tower kill at about 2 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that 70-second Elixir Collector.
But he's on a different deck.
Oh, that's right. Adam has changed his deck.
Pekka, level 3, not level 4.
Where are the princes at? See, Ice Wizard. All right.
Okay. Hog Rider coming in on the right side.
What can stop him? Oh, it is.
Oh, that's not the way you want to play the prince, though.
This is the first. Oh, no! And the goblins are chopping him down. Look at the goblins killing that. Wow, prince.
And one goblin makes good use of 2 stabs, but
Great
problem on the left side for Amy. Pekka, 1 big swing, and maybe a second. Oh my
my
god!
gosh.
3 swings and you're out.
Wow.
Amy loses his first tower. 1:30 into the game. That is
the first
speedy.
instance of the Pekka double prince deck we've seen in this tournament, and an incredible display of why the Pekka just cannot be ignored by anyone. Let's throw the confetti for Adam on that one.
And that's what we were talking about, right? We were talking all day about, hey, Hog Rider is okay with taking chunks of damage off your tower, and Pekka double prince is where you're looking to blow that tower away. And
if he was able to play his prince on the left side, like for example, if he didn't have to sell the farm to defend against this hog push, we could have even seen a 3-crown victory, because once that Pekka double prince deck gets rolling, it's really hard to play stuff in front.
Yep, and now Elixir Advantage, and he's going to spend that Elixir Advantage to play the Pekka. I actually like how he's going down the left side of this, because he can spend his time defending his right side tower. Just make sure that you're defending that well enough, and then on the left side you build this huge push, and by the time the left side makes its way over to the King Tower, you can just quickly place something at the Crown Tower on the right, and then tank both towers on both sides.
I actually don't like the way that he went, though. I actually wish that he would have gone down the right side, partially because the Pekka provides this huge wall that they have to get through if they ever want to attack. A Pekka advancing means you can't play a hog into it because the Pekka will attack it. And most importantly, if you notice where he is on the left, and you might see this now, Amy can play stuff behind the Ice Wizard, which you can't do on the other lane.
Is it going to be a triple crown?
It looks like a 3-crown victory.
It's not to the Spear Goblins.
Oh, but that prince is enough. That's a lot of health on that prince.
I think it's going to be our first 3-crown in the round of 8. Oh my god.
That's a 3-crown victory if I ever saw one. Wow, what a great play by the Pekka double prince deck. Adam, great pushes.
He got the 3-crown, and that is Pekka double prince.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, Pekka double prince.
Incredible.
I don't think the princess existed in that deck.
I didn't see it.
Actually.
It's possible. I mean, I saw the minion horde. A lot of times those decks, they play either both legendaries, or if they don't have both legendaries, they put minion horde in place of the one they don't have. Or it's possible that was just opted to not play a princess, right? Didn't feel like it was good in the deck anymore.
Yeah.
Princess is certainly not good against Royal Giant, which has sort of been the story of the tournament. So that might even be a very smart meta call to not play a low damage ranged unit that can't do anything against Royal Giants.
All right, so I'm going to repeat the giveaway question one more time, and after this next game that we watch, we're going to close the raffle and announce the winners. And remember, guys, we have one more raffle to do, and that'll probably happen at the end of the stream. So after this one, there's one more. So that means that there's 3 winners for the current one and 3 more at the end of the stream. So the question for this raffle is, out of the 3 styles, which do you think best describes your playstyle? Beatdown, control, or siege? Why is that? All right, so go ahead and !raffle space your answer to that question. And after this next game we watch, we'll close out the raffle and announce the winners. And
What are you, Rainey?
I think I'm a beatdown player.
Okay.
I think, I tried to convince myself I was control, but I really think that I'm a fan of beatdown. I think this goes across all decks, the idea of efficiently defending and counter pushing. But at the end of the day, beatdown is where my heart leads me.
I am a very bad beatdown player. I have a really hard... The cards that I have the hardest time controlling and like knowing when they're good, bad, otherwise is the... we're starting Mr. Frudenath, then Woody looks like game one. Starting right now. I'm very bad at cards like Hog Rider, Giant, knowing when to spend the elixir, knowing that I'm never going to get that elixir back, and trying to pull off some combo. I have to play two-way cards like Musketeer, Barbarians, and play very defensively and get counter push. Oh! Mortar! What? Who would have seen this coming? And that Inferno Tower is going to destroy that Giant.
We're back in April. We're back in April.
Wow! And great zap there holds off. The cannon looks like it's just going to shoot that. Didn't get its final shot off. That Musketeer is going to shoot that princess's face right off, unfortunately.
Oh!
Survives!
Uh-oh.
Wow, how much damage is this princess going to do? He's really caught off guard right now. Oh, the bomber.
And you know what deck Woody likes to play, Rumpam? He likes to play Siege.
That's a Siege player through and through. What did Woody play when he won? Did he win the first tournament with the Mortar deck?
He played Mortar,
He won the first tournament with Mortar, and here we are, still with Mortar, dropping it again. Wow.
Cannon Mortar.
Oh, great placement where the cannon's going to be able to shoot the Musketeer and tank. Wow, that's an incredible placement.
And the Mortar is going to get chunked down just a little bit more. One more shot. Oh!
It does hit.
One more shot. Now, remember, the Mortar damage is incredibly nerfed, and he's only actually pushed about 500 damage on that tower there.
At the same time, was that an interesting new placement? I know that they redid the ranges a little bit. That Mortar seemed off a little bit from its normal placement, yet it still hit the tower. I wonder if the Mortar, a skilled Mortar player, might know of some new placement with the range changes. Because look at that, it's a little off. Isn't it supposed to be centered one more?
Yeah, that's true. Usually it's straight down the.
But it looks like it's still able to hit, unless he's actually not hitting the tower and he's just trolling with it kind of thing.
Nope, that's definitely on the tower. Oh, the rocket too. He's going full.
Fireball. I mean, yeah, we're doing full siege right here. Oh, that giant. Oh my God, how is he going to stop this mortar? This is
just
awesome.
taking it away.
Woody showing us that mortar is not dead.
It's back.
It's back.
It's back. Like the vampire. It just cannot be taken down.
It's simply not the easiest deck to play anymore, though. You have to have a skilled, tournament-winning Mortar player like Woody to pull this off.
Yep. And look at him just picking away.
What I like about Woody's playstyle here is that he's not giving Mr. Frudenath a break at all. Even though Mr. Frudenath does have elixir collectors and is like trying to build up this push, he's constantly having to react to the non-stop mortars, princesses, etc. that are coming down on the other side.
Interesting. He actually chose to fireball the opposite tower to take down the elixir collector. He actually finds that valuable enough that he's going to go and chase those elixir collector down.
I'm not a huge fan of that play, but at the same time, Woody probably knows the deck better than I do.
Yeah. We'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, 703 health on the left side tower, and essentially any damage you do to the right side tower is insignificant because as a mortar player, you're not going to go get started working on that right side tower now that you already have left side and 7.
And that's kind of what I don't like about it is that Fireball only takes 4 pumps.
Rocket,
the last rocket! We talked about this earlier! How many rockets were left?
He had it.
The surprise rocket.
The whole time he had rocket. And I actually thought I saw the rocket. I actually thought, that was definitely...
Congratulations on that. Oh my God.
I actually thought I saw the rocket before, but it was the question mark. It was
the fireball that he gets her. So just as a quick follow-up to my last point, I don't really like the fireballing the elixir collector on the empty tower, because fireball only takes 4 pumps off an elixir collector. But that's not really 4 elixir, because an elixir collector makes 2 more pumps than it has. So that was effectively like spending 2 elixir to deal, 300 damage to a tower that you're never going to finish off anyways? But there must have been some value there for him. Great play by Woody. Who would have seen that coming? I wonder what Mr. Frudenath's other deck is, and can it handle a mortar deck?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. But we have a giveaway to close out. So you guys submitted your answers. I'm gonna go ahead and close the raffle now. And we're going to draw our winners. So our first winner will be Matthew P777. And his message is, Beatdown is the best heart hog. He loves the Hog Rider, and the Hog Rider loves to be played in Beatdown decks.
People like riding hogs. What can you say? I mean, it's true. Hog Rider is this incredible card. Some people have been asking for Hog to be nerfed, but I feel like Hog shouldn't be nerfed. It provides a very good angle to the game. It's a high mobility building chasing unit. I like the gameplay that it creates. I like the exciting moments when you see a hog and you're like, oh my god, I gotta get a cannon down, or I gotta get barbarians down, I gotta get something to stop this. I think if the game was all just very slow battle cruiser type cards, it would be far less exciting. Hog Rider adds so much to it.
I especially like the fact that they're now trying to put cards in that kind of like the Royal Giant, that they're kind of, go ahead and perfect. Matthew P777, make sure you message Super Magical Cup. By the way, if you are a raffle winner and you have not gotten a response, make sure you message Super Magical Cup too, right? Yeah. So if you haven't done that by the end of the stream, make sure you do that by the end of the stream. We'll try to chase you down as best we can, but make sure you put your name in there.
We want to give out stuff.
Yeah.
Badly. All right, and number 2?
Number 2. Go ahead and draw number 2.
Mexon 99. Control, definitely. I can't stand the boredom of siege decks. Beatdowns are also okay. Control, though, man likes control decks. I mean, I find control to be the most satisfying because there's the most times in a single game where you go, I got you. Like, you know, you played Barbarians, I played Wizard, I got you. You know what I mean? And I think the number of times I can maximize that feeling of like making a good decision and feeling the reward of it is why I find control decks so rewarding.
Absolutely. So Mexon99, thank you.
Siege decks aren't boring though. Ask Woody. Ask Woody, how exciting was that last game?
The rocket to close it out. All right, Mexon99, make sure you message Super Magical Cup. Let's find our last winner for this. Did you announce the winner in chat? I'm not sure. Anyways, Mexon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't think I did that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did did he win one already? Max Rising? Did you already win one earlier? We're not sure.
We're not sure. We're gonna have to get admin confirmation on that. And
I feel like Max Rising won an earlier one. But I don't remember. Can we Control F there?
Sorry, guys. Oh, it's
Drew. Yeah, Royal Giant because it's so hard to place defenses. The one right there.
Yeah. Sorry.
So Max Rising, you already won a giveaway earlier. Thanks for playing. But I don't know if we can. I think it's a different one each time, right?
We're gonna get a different one. Megiddo Chaos actually is then our winner for this. Megiddo Chaos says control because I usually just defend and counter push, and this is kind of what you're talking about. You defend, counter push. You really build up to this big counter push that they really, I got you. That they really can't do very much about. That's a great answer. Megiddo Chaos, you are the last winner. So make sure you message Super Magical Cup. Sorry to Max Rising.
Maybe we'll change the rules in future weeks and you can win multiple times, but I think, as far as I understood it, the rules were just one.
Yeah.
You can only win one per.
Yeah. All right.
Maximize the number of Clasher winners.
All right. So those are the winners. One more giveaway, guys. One more giveaway yet to be done.
We'll do it in before the finals, maybe?
We'll put out the question before the finals, and then after the finals is done, we'll close it out. So.
And we almost have our final top 4 competitors. So to go back, Malcade, Manufan, and Adam have already secured their spots in the top 4. Mr. Fruitinath and Woody are going to play their game 2 to see who makes it in. Woody, being the only repeat top 8er from past Super Magical Cups, must be the favorite, especially with a 1-0 victory.
Yeah, absolutely. So Malcade, Manufan, and Woody has the advantage. Mr. Fruitinath. Now, I'm actually curious what Woody's second deck is going to be.
Oh. They are playing right now. Let's get in there.
Let's go ahead and watch.
We missed talking about deck. So we are 30 seconds into the match. Wow. Looks like Mr. Fruitinath got caught early on by a Royal Giant. If I had to look, Woody played a Royal Giant early, did a bunch of damage to Mr. Fruitinath before he could defend. It looks like Mr. Fruitinath opened with an Elixir Collector, if I had to guess, and then got punished with the Royal Giant follow-up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that's what we were asking is what the second deck was, and it seems to be some permutation of the Royal Giant. Oh, he actually is okay with this. I mean, the Royal Giant doesn't ever get close enough to the King Tower for it to matter.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a good point. So activating the King Tower as a Royal Giant deck is not a huge problem, really. Yeah. I mean, even the other cards like Ice Wizard and Princess are never really getting that close.
Yeah.
So a little bit of damage. Great fast reaction by Mr. Fruitinath, arrowing after only the first shot. Here comes Skeleton Army!
Oh.
We talked about this earlier and we were saying, but the Zap takes it out. And will the Fireball here take out these Barbarians?
No, he's gonna hold it. He's gonna be okay with it.
Nope.
Just getting one.
Takes out most of them and it doesn't actually hit the Ice Wizard, does it? Maybe a little bit.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I don't think it did.
Okay. Elixir Collector on the side. And I like that choice. Just Ice Wizard doesn't do too much damage. You want to get your Elixir advantage back. Just let the tower damage happen.
But I wouldn't want to count it out. I mean, it did about 200 damage, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
about 10% of a tower's health is nothing to sneeze
Yeah.
at.
You have to kind of think about it is that is your cost for failing the push.
Yeah.
Take that 200. I mean, a lot of people are unwilling to take that 200 damage and they keep playing Elixir inefficient defenses and they put themselves in that cycle of forever just losing tower health.
I'm surprised Woody has been arrowing the elixir collectors in the tower on the right side. It feels like a very not... Like, it just doesn't feel like a very efficient way to spend elixir. He must be cycling for some reason.
Oh my goodness, that is some AoE spell. Oh my god!
Oh, again! Wow! It's hard to see what's going on because there's so many troops coming out.
Actually, the giant makes its way across the tower and gets a good 2 swings. There's third.
That's 2 knights, too. Like, we talk about the two-way cards.
Yeah.
Knights that had defended from prior pushes and then got recast
Yeah.
fresh ones.
And knights are tanky.
Knights are...
There's another one.
Knights are shockingly tanky.
Yep. Ice Wizard's gonna get taken down, but I'm
Okay.
sure he has another one.
Yeah, just to see the arrows comes out. Arrows actually hitting the elixir collector and the tower would have been good value. Looks like he
Yeah.
missed the elixir collector.
Yeah, he wanted to make sure he got the princess. I couldn't see the AoE there, so I'm not sure how dangerous it would have been. But we're now in overtime. And Woody's
Here comes
actually
a royal
down in
giant.
tower health.
But actually, I like the ice wizard here because
Look
the
at
ice
the
wizard
giant pushing
slows
back.
down the royal giant attacks. Like
Yeah.
the actual number of shots that he can pull off.
The movement speed and the attacks are the fact that the giant is pushing the royal giant back, further delaying the time. I mean, the royal giant only got 1 shot, and now you have to deal with the giant pounding on your tower. And this could be Mr. Friedenath coming back. 251 fireball arrows.
Wow.
He has it. He has
That's a
fireball arrows. There's a fireball.
Oh my god, what a counter push. That was the craziest game. I've never seen a game where there were so many like double knights, double musketeers, double ice wizards on the field at the same time. He was defending against these very huge royal giant pushes with a squad of say like musketeer, ice wizard, knight and cycling through his cards in order to play a second squad of those 3 cards on attack. That is incredible.
And now we're in an interesting situation where they went 1-1. So Woody played what I would say is his key defining deck, his siege deck. That's gone. He can't play it. He has to stick with his royal giant deck now. Mr. Friedenath just won with his own giant pushing deck, so now he has to swap, and they're both now playing what I would assume to be their alternate decks. And so we're gonna have to see if Woody can actually pull out a win with this royal giant deck of his, and what is Mr. Friedenath's alternate deck, and if he can best Woody with that.
Let's go right into it. They're just starting off now. I'm really excited because I want to see what Mr. Friedenath's other deck is, obviously. What's interesting is that Woody, being a quintessential Siege player, is really sticking with what he knows. Even though this deck does come over to your side a slight bit, I think I would call a Royal Giant Princess deck a pretty siegey deck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
You're
Royal
looking
Giant's
really
only
to
putting
chip
itself
away.
out there 2 squares more than a mortar, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're really looking to chip away at your opponents. Ooh, the bomber is actually pretty bad against this. Ah, see ya.
Now that the bomber is dead, Woody can play as barbarians comfortably, right?
Yep.
He knows at least that there's not an easy bomber to come kill him.
Yep. Ice Wizard
But there
Barbarian.
is a Valkyrie.
Oh, and this is perfect. The Valkyrie was actually played very far back, so it's not doing any damage to the Royal Giant.
Very
and it has to
distracting.
choose through the Barbarian. And the Ice Wizard is continuing to make its way into the Valkyrie's health pool. Oh my goodness, and the Royal Giant gets zapped up. And he has to spend a lot of elixir to try to defend that push.
That was a lot of elixir that we know is not going to go anywhere because there's going to be a minions played by Woody to kill that bomber. He already
he
used his
might
zap,
just
I
take
think.
that damage.
Or just kill it.
Oh
Oh,
my
even
goodness.
then. So yeah, I mean, after all that, they're about at the same amount of elixir.
And Woody got away with a lot of damage
A
on
lot of damage, 1,000 damage.
Yeah. All right.
What's Mr. Friedenath's play at this point? So they both have their elixir collectors out. Interesting thing to note, Mr. Friedenath only has a level 1 elixir collector. Maybe that's why it was getting arrowed and fireballed, because it has so little hit
You
points
can
that it's
guarantee
taking off
that
a
it.
lot
Yeah,
of
because it was
pumps.
one shot of the elixir. I remember that now. That's actually interesting. And look at how much damage those
Wow.
arrows do.
The miss on the arrows, though, I'd call that a misplay by Mr. Friedenath. Hitting an elixir collector with arrows is worth 2 pumps off of it, which brings the elixir collector down from 5 to 5. If you can kill a princess and hit a tower and get the elixir collector, that makes it a very valuable arrow.
Oh goodness, barbarians and minions onto that giant didn't get any job, any work done.
And the Valkyrie is actually a little too far up. Those barbarians are not getting hit by the tower.
Yep.
Very good counterplay by
The
Woody.
princess actually survives, and I actually have not seen this inter. Okay, arrows is gonna end it. Royal giant, time to tower is very
Nice
short.
timed on the cannon.
Nice. And he wanted to play it safe. He just wanted to make sure that the Royal Giant did not get maximum amount of shots, but it's still working. Oh, and Woody just doesn't care. He just commits the arrows.
It was a predictive error. Yeah, you don't win every bet you cast.
Yep.
But I think that was
Oh my
worthwhile.
goodness. And the positioning for Woody time and time again just outside of the tower range, and this is hurting Mr. Friedenath a lot. And another Royal Giant makes its way through. No cannon this time.
Couldn't cycle fast enough.
Oh, and the Royal Giant! Ah, the cannon! Oh, okay.
Doesn't get it.
But there's still
Wow.
arrows. Arrows is still in the pocket. And how is Mr. Friedenath supposed to do 2.1k damage in this next push? 18 seconds remaining. And Woody.
Great killing of the princess. Second musketeer coming out. We're starting to get Mr. Frodenath's kind of patented casting the same card over and over again.
Giant and Musketeer is actually going to get a good amount of damage. The Royal Giant is going to try to race. Is there any kind of freeze? No, the zap. 3 seconds. Oh my god.
Whoa!
Oh
wait,
my
they went
god.
to overtime with that!
I feel like that was a...
Oh! The Barbarian squad was unanswered because it was being ignored on the other side. Incredible. Can we watch that ending again? I almost want to just fast forward to the ending of that game.
Oh my god.
Woody, the defending champion, or from Tournament 1 defending champion.
Yeah.
Moves
oh my
on.
goodness.
Wow. We gotta get a horizontal watcher.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. What ended up happening? And
That was
feel
so
like
much happening at the very end. It was hard to keep track of.
Woody is kind of... I feel like he's the quintessential definition of what a Siege player looks to do.
Yeah.
I feel like he's playing the Siege style very, very, very well. I mean, I feel like it's a testament to how unfamiliar we are to this playstyle when we're looking at some of these decisions. We're like, why would he ever do that? You know, but he finds a way to make it work.
I'm really impressed with Mr. Frodenath pulling out that 0-second timer. I mean, that is an incredible test. We said there was no way for him to do 2,100 damage, and then he did it.
He did it.
Right on. So
Giant Musketeer.
That Barbarian in the middle. Okay, so slow down here.
Pause.
Okay, so what we have, or put it, yeah, okay. So it looks like actually just while we were paying attention to that 0-second thing, the Barbarians had actually already taken down the tower very far. Like by the time that the 0-second timer even hit, the Barbarians had that tower to about 700 or less damage while piling on it. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was just a certain amount of elixir committed to making sure that the 2.1k damage was done on that left side tower, and I feel like it was good game sense for Woody to know that, like, hey, you know, if I place these cards here, even if he gets that tower, he's gonna have to give up elixir. So it's either you spend elixir defending and lose to the overtime, or you spend elixir there and lose your tower and I win anyways.
You could even say that the only, like, the reason why that tower went down is because the Barbarians played by Woody, they were played in the center. They actually walked the other direction. If they had walked towards the Giant and fought it, it's possible that tower would have never gone down, and it would have been a 1-0 victory instead of a 2-1 victory. But, congratulations, Mr. Frodenath, for playing. Congratulations for Woody for moving on. Woody will play Adam in the next round, but our next game is Malcade versus Manufan.
All right, and so we're actually starting to condense these teams down now. Out of the ones that we saw, because the two players that made it out of Group B was Manufan and also Friedenath, right? And those two were the ones that impressed us a lot, and they made it actually into the round of 8. And now we have Friedenath moving out, getting knocked out, and now the only remaining name from the list that we've seen is Manufan. How will Malcade line up against Manufan, and then how will Adam or Woody do so? And Woody is starting to it's starting to look more and more possible that this comeback story, or rather this repeat win story, is actually a real thing.
Well, I mean, Clash Royale is a very heavily skill-intensive game, so it makes sense to me that very skilled players would have good repeat performances. I mean, if you consider that even in this tournament, there's a bit of a single elimination aspect to it. It shows how talented some of these players are to make it through those single elim rounds week after week.
Consistently, Woody.
So it looks like Malcade is going to be doing a cycle deck, his Hog and Mini P.E.K.K.A cycle deck. Manufan has a lot of experience defending against these kind of decks, and it looks like he's actually playing his other deck first. He's playing his one with Inferno Tower Skeletons and Minions instead of what he had been starting the rounds with prior.
Royal Giant makes its way across the bridge.
Oh, the Goblins can't reach the Ice Wizard. Look, they're not hitting the Ice Wizard.
Oh, goodness. That was a lot of damage put onto the tower by Manufan. Again, a key hallmark that we identified of Manufan's play. He's very keen to put damage on a tower, and he's recognized that is the only way that he's going to win. So his deck is built around playing strong defensively and then combining to make sure that his Royal Giant gets up.
Interesting change to the line of play here by Malcade. He noticed instead of playing the Goblins plus the whatever, he played Hog plus Mini P.E.K.K.A together, and that was enough to overwhelm the Inferno Tower and get some damage on the tower. We're looking at a relatively even game now because Malcade was able to adapt his offense.
Yep, and Mini P.E.K.K.A is the kind of card that you should be okay with it just getting... Oh, the Princess is onto the tower, but the cannon...
Great timing on that cannon. And the Goblins really helped to fill in the gap.
Nice.
Took some damage, but not as much as he has on past attacks. And one little knife in there for his efforts.
So now the question is, how will Malcade replicate that push he did to do any damage to Manufan's tower, right? I don't think he has a card cycle or the elixir at this time.
Let me see the arrows there. I mean, I think you gotta arrow that princess before she even gets close if you have the option to.
Yep. Okay. Maybe back onto the spear goblins. Oh, and a good zap.
Wow.
I'm not sure
zap
if he
plus
necessarily.
princess.
Oh, and this is looking really bad. 10 elixir to defend, and Cannon is the first choice. Zap to slow it down. Goblins is the second choice, and the Ice Wizard is actually working its way into them, and that's kind of a big problem if you don't have a card like Valkyrie or Giant or any kind of tanky card, is that the cheap cards you play get immediately worked on by now what is a double Ice Wizard plus a Princess combination and a Royal Giant on top. Uh-oh, I think Malkaid is in a spot of trouble here.
Yeah, it's the downside of playing your Mini P.E.K.K.A. on that offense to get the one hit on the tower is that Mini P.E.K.K.A. is one of the best cards in your deck to counter Royal Giant.
Yeah.
So by playing it on offense, he loses the ability to play it on defense.
And we see the resulting situation from that. Manufan blowing through the tower.
I don't think I've seen Manufan lose a game yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Everything.
I'm pretty sure he's 2-0'd everything too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Actually, our entire Woody was the only one who had a 2-1. All of our first rounds
Yeah.
are 2-0 games,
Yeah.
except for the Woody Fruitnath match.
Yeah. Manufan is
Wow, Manufan is no joke. Really impressing me with the double Royal Giant deck. He felt that with the patch, Royal Giant is the best card, really committed to it. One thing I haven't seen out of a lot of people's decks that I use in almost all my decks now to counter Royal Giant is Barbarians. Barbarians are one of the strongest cards to kill Royal Giant. They do a ton of damage. They're not easily removed. So if you notice, people are backing up Royal Giant with Princess. Well, Princess does hit, Barbarians, but I think I would rather the Barbarians just kill the Princess, or kill the Royal Giant and survive. So let's go into game 2.
All right.
All right, let's give Malkaid, let's give the underdog a little confetti here.
Woo, Malkaid, and I mean maybe his alternate deck is going to work better. If Malkaid decided
I think
to
Malkaid's
swap.
second deck had. Oh, it's true. He could be saying the same deck or switching.
Yeah.
I believe that he has an Inferno Tower on his deck. But I might be
Oh,
remembering
that's
that.
a lot of commitment. Skeletons plus Spear Goblins and the Hog Rider.
Well, if he's been watching and paying attention, Malkaid might know that Manufan doesn't have Zap in his deck.
Yeah.
He had Zap in the last version, but since he won with it, he can't play
Yeah.
it. This deck has arrows,
Yeah.
and arrowing Spear Goblins or Skeletons is a much harder proposition.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Royal Giant at the bridge. Tesla.
Tesla might be interesting because it doesn't have a ton of hit points, but it does a lot of damage.
Yeah, and it actually
Wow,
reduces the
yeah.
Royal Giant down to about 25% health with the help of Valkyrie. That was pretty good. I mean, 2.2k on your own Crown Tower is not the worst that you would expect out of a Royal
It
Giant
only took
push.
300, yeah, especially given that he had the slow Valkyrie, which was not. Oh, can we push? Oh, unfortunately, we missed the hog push. It
That gets one swing.
It's lined up just wrong. Oh, Mini P.E.K.K.A. though, just doesn't mess with anyone's business, just comes right on in. So Skeletons here, I think, will block. Yep.
Nice, there we go.
And he's got Goblins as well, so if he needs it, but I don't think he will.
That's an efficient defense, and now he's brought himself back to Elixir even. And again, he has that Tesla for the Royal Giant. And even if he plays a Tesla early, the fact that it goes up and down means that it's actually pretty safe.
Yeah.
It's hard to play around it.
Well, Tesla's actually really good against Princess, because Princess it's the only defensive tower that Princess can't snipe from far away, because it goes into its hidey hole until Princess gets within range.
Yep, now Valkyrie and Tesla again working on the Royal Giant. And again, we see the Royal Giant being reduced to about 25% health before it gets any damage onto the tower.
I'm so impressed with that Ice Wizard. Like, I play Archers in my deck, and I might go home and just put Ice Wizard in place of the Archers in this
Yeah.
deck. It seems so good.
Ice Wizard is really just, I think it's hard to quantify the benefits of having the snare effect, but it really helps. And that's kind of the same thing with Poison. I feel like a lot of people undervalue the benefit of having that slow effect on the Poison.
Yeah. In my head, I really wanted Archers to help pick off Skeletons and Goblins and stuff, but it's interesting how the Royal Giant slows down the Ice Wizard slows down all the things that would be hitting your Royal Giant to the point that they effectively don't do a lot of damage. The Ice Wizard, in a way, is generating extra damage.
Yeah.
Because of how much it lets the Royal Giant fire.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just that idea of synergy, right? The Goblin alone doesn't do too much damage, but all of a sudden you put even just one body in front of the Goblins and they do a ton.
Yeah. It's interesting how relentless Manufan is with his Royal Giants. I mean, he's just casting them, like, as soon as he gets to 10, throws it down every single time. And it almost doesn't back it up. Like, if you notice, he's really not supporting this push, whereas Malkaid is still spending Elixir. Manufan's just kind of letting it go. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, how can you argue against that? I mean, look at it. His towers are essentially clean.
Yeah.
It's only taken maybe 50 damage, 100 damage on it. Meanwhile, 1.7k health on Malcade's right side tower.
And we've got 2 minutes and 45 seconds of double elixir time. It's effectively a whole nother game. The extra 2 minutes of overtime are equivalent to the first 3 minutes of a normal game, right?
Yeah. Half the game is being played at double elixir. And this is a situation where you can get into where Manufan could actually create a double Royal Giant push.
I actually really like Malcade's push here. He had the skeletons leading up. They were kind of innocuous, but then when he froze, those things just overran the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Royal Giant did some damage.
Yep, there's a second Royal Giant.
Hitting the Minion Horde and the Royal Giant felt really good there.
Yeah, and the Tesla is getting placed down again. He's getting...
Malcade is slowly but surely generating counter pushes that are pretty reasonable. The downside here is that those princesses are just like stopping his goblin, skeleton, minion horde sort of counter pushes.
Yeah. I think at double elixir it's getting very hard with how fast the cards cycle. The counters come up very quickly. But again, Manufan gets a little bit of chipping damage onto the right side tower. Mini P.E.K.K.A. plus the Royal Giant. Where's the Tesla Tower? Okay.
What will be like the deciding push here? Because if you notice that time it's actually not going very hot because he doesn't have all the other units to attack. There's no Valkyrie, there's no...
Interesting, the P.E.K.K.A. is being tanked for, but the Goblins will distract it. And that's the big thing about the Mini P.E.K.K.A. is that it doesn't go straight for the buildings, even though it does an immense amount of damage.
You know what I'd like to see Malcade do? And I understand he kind of can't because he has lower health. He's only 1,200 on his tower. But I almost wonder, since Manufan's doing the exact same thing over and over again, the exact same Ice Wizard, Royal... I mean, it's like he's doing the same line of play over and over and over and over again. If he should mix it up a little more and try to, say, go like hog goblins down the other lane.
Uh-oh! The Royal Giant is connecting in a big way. Chunks down a lot of the health of that tower. But yeah, I agree with you with the line of play. If you find some way to mix it up, it could be just the thing that Manufan needs to throw. Oh, and this is what we were talking about. The freeze is spent a little bit early. The line of play is all messed up now.
Oh, we got the Tesla Tower did land, though. So it is distracting the Royal Giant for a little bit while the Minion Hordes get some damage. But that Princess...
Mini P.E.K.K.A. coming in. One hit could be the end.
Getting skeletons. Great pull with the Valkyrie.
Just in time.
Unfortunately, I think now that he just cast arrows after a lot of exchanges, I expect Minion Horde to come down on Manufan's side.
The freeze is a big card for Malcade to play here. Royal Giant and Minion Horde is about to get frozen up.
One shot. Oh, it's frozen. Will the Tesla Tower come out? The Tesla Tower, if it gets out soon enough, it can distract. Oh! The arrows of all things kills the Royal Giant.
I think we're gonna go into a draw situation.
I don't know. 500 space left. You never know. He's coming in with the cycle deck effectively. The Mini P.E.K.K.A. coming in. Oh, but looks like it'll get held off by the Valkyrie, or will it? The Tesla Tower. A draw. Very interesting. I would see a lot of draws in tournaments.
Yeah. Yeah, and essentially, you know, what's interesting is that Manufan worked really hard to reduce the health of Malcade's tower, but Malcade just drew the game out so long that in 6 minutes there was still no kill. And this might be one of the reasons why, you know, Malcade, or rather Manufan, looking at that, you know, that might be reason for Manufan to think, okay, in the next game we play, I'm actually going to start playing the arrows into your tower right from the start. Just start working on your tower, because at the end of 6 minutes, that's going to be more than 400 damage.
Okay.
You know, so the question is, how does he get away with that while still maintaining elixir advantage, or even, or making sure he doesn't get screwed by some kind of swarmy kind of play?
What's interesting here is that Malcade's allowed to switch his deck because he's not up a game, whereas we know what Manufan is locked into.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if Malcade either switches his deck or at least switches his strategy. I'd like to see him go down the other lane. I feel like what's killing him is he's going down the same lane that the Royal Giant, like all the Ice Wizards are going down, and then he goes down that lane.
Yeah.
If one of your towers is already being brought low by a Royal Giant, if you switch lanes, you sort of force them to switch the lane they play their Ice Wizard in, which forces them to switch the lane they play their Royal Giant in.
So already, Malcade is doing better than he was in the last game. That one scene from the Hog Rider has given him more... Oh, no! Okay, good.
Okay, little time bot, and wow, now where the arrows will probably come down and clear all this out for Manufan. Yep.
There it is. Yep.
And it's funny, that we just said that, Manufan did get a little ahead, though. Pulled ahead with a little bit of damage.
Yeah.
We'll see if Malcade can repeat that incredible defense he had at the last, 3 minutes or so of the last game.
Yeah. Manufan.
I think Malcade's unfortunately handcuffed by the limitations of a hog cycle deck. I mean, this deck really can't do much besides continually throw hogs and P.E.K.K.A.s at your tower. Yeah. And once Manufan has several lines of play to counter it, The deck doesn't really let you outplay a lot of people.
You really, and this is where you have to be very comfortable with the idea of taking damage for your tower, especially now is the best time when your tower is healthy.
Yeah.
Take that damage and you know that overtime isn't coming yet. Maybe even lose a tower and figure out some way to gain a big advantage in some other area of the game.
Again, I just haven't seen a lot of mini P.E.K.K.A.s being... Oh, there it is, okay. So again, it's a little late there. Almost at that point, don't even play the mini P.E.K.K.A, just save it for the next one.
Push.
There's literally nothing in your deck that is better against mini P.E.K.K.A or against Royal Giant than mini P.E.K.K.A, so I feel like instead of being aggressive with it, you have to hold it.
And that's interesting, he doesn't have the Tesla Tower anymore.
He's right, he did switch decks.
Yeah.
Oh! Nice pull. Very nice pull.
Yes, just enough to get the mini P.E.K.K.A to do no damage at all. Didn't hit the Hog Rider, didn't hit the tower.
Still, he's losing elixir every time he casts those 4 elixir hogs into a 3 elixir cannon.
Yeah, but what was interesting, and I feel like that was one of the things that Malkaid should have recognized is 3 elixir cannon, 2 elixir goblins. Let the goblins come across and die to your tower, and you're ahead 1 elixir. And maybe you do that several times, and you find some way to convert that into a sizable push that Manufan just doesn't quite have enough elixir to defend.
Here we go. We're going to see the mini P.E.K.K.A into the Royal Giant. Let's see how this goes. The other distracting units, too, it looks like the mini P.E.K.K.A won't get picked on too bad. Like it's not going to get surrounded by too many other goblins. Yeah, it chopped that thing down pretty quickly
Here we
before
go.
the cannon died.
This is what we were talking about. Ice Wizard is not going to take effect, but he needs to figure out a way to defend against the... Oh, goodness.
Oh, nice play on that last second goblins. Very impressive.
Arrows.
The downside now you see here is like, okay, well, how do you kill this Royal Giant? But then again, he did take a lot of damage. Manufan took a lot of damage on his tower, right?
Yeah.
Not exactly an even trade, but actually it kind of is.
So the timing here, what Malkaid needs to do is he needs to find that exact moment where he can all in on overtime, get that tower before the Royal Giant destroys his own tower.
And he can almost go either side the way it is because he just did about 1,500, 1,600 damage to the enemy tower. So if, for example, Manufan goes left, Malkaid still has the ability to go right and do 1,700 damage and take the tower.
Here we go. Spear Goblins, and it's actually not going to be
timing.
that effective. Now remember,
Mini P.E.K.K.A?
arrows, perfect cycling. And the interesting thing is, he needs to be very careful about playing Swarms as a defense. It's very tempting if you're doing a split push to use cheap cards to defend against a Royal Giant, for example, but Arrows is going to wipe all of that out. He gets 1 swing with the Hog Rider onto the tower.
Pretty impressive.
491.
How are you going to stop? He just played his goblins on the right, though. How is he going to stop this mini P.E.K.K.A from the tower?
Arrows, good.
Great value hitting the minion horde and the princess.
And I like how he let that P.E.K.K.A hit the left side tower. Not going to matter in the grand scheme of things. Cannon plus mini P.E.K.K.A.
Nice.
There it is.
Now I got to kill that princess somehow. Oh, looks like he's going for it.
There's going to be the cannon, but his spear goblins are in a good position, and goblins are coming into the right side. This could be the ending push. Manufan.
Oh, 1 hit. Oh, it doesn't swing because the Ice Wizard. He said it's hard to calculate the value of those Ice Wizards sometimes.
Yeah, and that
wow, that's
paid for itself for sure. Won the game, or rather saved the game. Mini P.E.K.K.A plus cannon.
Nice.
There it is.
Where's the arrows? Oh, he doesn't have. Oh, he does have arrows. Okay. Wow, they were picking apart that,
nice.
Little mini.
Cannon is the response. Spear goblins as a late response, and he's going to ignore the mini P.E.K.K.A. So this time, this push on the left side is not going to go quite as well as he had imagined.
Incredible. I love the poker going on right here. Like I love the mind games and the outsmarting of each other we're seeing between Manufan and Malkaid here. They're really adapting their play based on what they're seeing. They're playing the player, not the deck, which I really like.
Absolutely.
So here's a risk. Mini P.E.K.K.A is coming in with Hog.
Oh no! Oh my god! Oh my god! You were just talking about it too! Yeah. We were just... I mean, you know, we've had conversations about this.
Yeah.
The best players are the ones that are going to be able to just know.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen a lot of that in Clash Royale competitive play. But if there's anything to highlight...
That's it. I predicted. He knew because he saw. It was crazy to me is I was trying to say it, but it all happened so fast. He played the Royal Giant far back on the right side. So normally I would say like, oh man, like that hurts. Like you know, your mini P.E.K.K.A by playing it right now kind of means you can't use it in the Royal Giant. But the Royal Giant's so far away, you're getting elixir so quick, you can cycle so fast that like he was able to play the mini P.E.K.K.A and I'm sure confidently he would be able to play the next one. And he'd be able to cycle to it by the time the Royal Giant came over. Wow, great combination there.
And this is the reason why I love the mini P.E.K.K.A. Because it's one of those cards where if you just make that beautiful read, have the arrows come in, clear the path for the mini P.E.K.K.A was at that much health. But one swing. It was
a 1 second game.
Yeah.
It was the difference in that game was 1 second.
One swing was all he needed.
Congratulations. So tied up, and this is crazy because game 3 that we're starting. Oh, wait, it's in that second in progress right now. Ah! Whoa! We got to see what's going on.
Oh, no! Okay.
All right, we're about even. Okay.
Towers are even. I mean,
let's keep in mind
somehow has 10 elixir.
Let's keep in mind this game is for The loser gets 1 super magical chest. The winner gets 4. So
Yeah.
3 super magical. $100 is on the line in this game.
$100 is on the line. Absolutely. Mini P.E.K.K.A. to counter the Valkyrie. The Skeleton is doing pretty good work against the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh, and this time there was no predictive arrows, but the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Ah! Stop it!
Oh,
No!
1 hit.
Oh!
Almost
Oh,
took a
God.
second time. 2 hits from a Mini P.E.K.K.A. is about the best value you can
Yup.
expect for 4 elixir.
Yep.
Whew.
And that is why I play Mini P.E.K.K.A. Freeze, because I'm a scumbag.
Mini P.E.K.K.A. does at max level like 400 DPS. Like it's an incredible card. If you think about that, like leaving it alone for like 5 seconds is effectively a dead
Yeah.
tower. 5-6 seconds.
Yep. Okay, he's splitting the minion horde.
I like this split because he doesn't open himself up too much to an arrows of the princess. I really like the pre-arrows because now he's like, what do you do here?
Yeah.
I think unfortunately they're getting pulled towards the center.
Still, I mean,
though.
he played princess. I mean, that
For 5 elixir, he effectively, I mean, the Ice Wizards will do a little damage. And the Ice Wizard is ahead of the Royal Giant. That is actually a big difference there.
Yeah, the Valkyrie's gonna get double value here. Plus, the Tesla Tower is gonna do great work.
Better than normal because normally these Valkyries and Teslas have been frozen the whole time
Yeah.
because they can't get to the Ice Wizard. Being able to kill the Ice Wizard up front reduces damage and allows this.
Yep. And
Great
look at how
split
healthy
push.
the Valkyrie is on this counter push. Skeleton's assisting, and last time he had Spear Goblins. This time he's gonna use.
Oh wow! That's the best. Oh, he forces
Okay,
the arrows
that's fine.
out. Still though, we're about back to even if you look at the health.
Yeah, and
Only
that was
200
only
damage
because
separates
he
them.
let. I feel like Malkaid almost let that Mini P.E.K.K.A. happen. I think it was like a player error. So I don't expect many fans to be able to get that opportunity again in this game unless something weird happens.
Totally. Once again, very aggressive killing those princesses as soon as they come out. I think the worst thing. Oh, but that's why you can't pre-arrows there when the
Yeah.
princess is out. The
Yeah.
big downside of princess is if you let her survive even for just a little bit of time, she quickly gets to a situation where
Oh no! Two swings!
Two
Oh my
swings.
god! And now this
we
is
just
really
said it. We said it
dangerous.
wasn't going to happen, right? But here it is.
This is really dangerous for Malkaid right now, because even though you may think, okay, he's divided his damage up against 2 towers, that's kind of ineffective, but the fact is, they are now both liable to getting defeated by another Mini P.E.K.K.A. If you plays Royal Giant on one side and you play all your elixir and he fakes you out and plays a Mini P.E.K.K.A. on the left side, you could end up losing the match right there. Or you have to overcompensate for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. coming down the lane.
I mean, even then, like he just opened up even if he just continues to push down one lane, the left lane is now 200.
Oh, the
There it
princess!
is! Oh, said it!
No!
One swing!
God!
2
Oh,
swings!
God!
3 shots! Oh
Benefan!
my god, you
Benefan!
just called it! You said he'd be able to sneak in the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and he did. That was a sliver of a health Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yep.
that was not getting attacked by anything
Yep.
because everything was tanking on the Royal Giant.
And it is just
Only
way
one
too
swing.
dangerous.
But
It's
that's
way
600
too
damage.
dangerous. It's Mini P.E.K.K.A. This is why Mini P.E.K.K.A. is my most beloved card. Is because it just you put that fear of the sword throws, of those sword swings.
Manufan proving his skill again, adapting his play after Malkaid, adapted to his interaction. Gave it right back to Malkaid in Game 3, advancing to the finals.
We have
It's
our
final.
first finalist. Yeah, our first finalist. Let's go ahead and take a look at that bracket here. Rumham.
I'm exhausted. I mean,
It's been a long tournament. There's been some exciting games, and Manufan, that player that we saw playing in the group stages,
still here?
he's still here. He made it all the way, and possibly not. I mean, he just lost a round there, but that's possibly the first round he's lost ever in this
Now, what'll
tournament.
be interesting is that he actually gets to take a break, let his adrenaline go down a
Yeah.
little bit. The winner of this Adam Woody match has to go right into the finals.
Yep.
So let's see if Woody or Adam can win the match and then keep their cool long enough to take on the I would almost say the favorite at this point.
Yeah. I would agree. And Woody is kind of like Woody is the old. Manufan is the new, right? Woody has already kind of performed in the tournaments. We know that he's a finalist. He's finalist material.
I am so excited to see how Royal Giant and Mortar interact. It's a matchup I don't think I've ever seen.
yeah.
I haven't seen a
Yeah.
Mortar deck player. How does
Yeah.
that work? The Mortar actually outranges the Royal Giant.
Clash with Ash was a player to bring out the Royal Giant against Steroides Mortar, and I
Yes.
think back then the Royal Giant was, if there was a time that does that hit the towers? If there was a time that
the left.
Royal Giants were viable before they got buffed, is against Mortars in the old patch.
That was the absolute best counter to Mortar. Actually, was a Royal Giant right in the lane. So this is actually a pretty common thing we see. I killed the cannon as well, but I don't think the cannon was super relevant
Yeah.
there. What's a very common play actually is that Mortar players use their rockets to kill an elixir collector. Even though it's a 6-for-5 trade, it's not a great elixir trade. You are invalidating any ability they have to build up these big elixir advantage, and more importantly, you are getting blockers out of the way so you can play your Mortar. Can't play your Mortar when there's something in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. Hog Rider Skeleton is a combination on the right side. Goblins is the response plus Skeletons. One hit. Cannon stays alive. And Woody?
Pretty sure all that's going to die to a tower. Maybe the Goblin gets a shiv in. Yeah, one little stabby.
I think one Skeleton is going to make it. Oh, 2 hits. Nice. Nice. He did.
I'll take that tax on my full health tower.
Yeah.
I mean, Woody being a mortar deck, you know he's really not going to rotate over the other side. He might even throw the rocket here. He does. Throws the rocket.
I wonder, you know, that's actually interesting.
Now the towers are pretty close. Yeah,
you know,
actually.
they're about even, depending on, I mean, I suppose if Adam constantly just swaps his Elixir Collector on both sides,
You
that's
see another
probably
Valkyrie
ideal.
cannon. Oh, the cannon on Woody's side came out just a little too late. It's not going to kill that Valkyrie, and then the other cannon's going to kill that mortar for sure. Although
he's oh!
Wow,
that
great
was beautiful.
freeze.
Adam identified that Woody committed all his buildings to that one side, and so he immediately used that chance to put the Hog Rider on the right, squeeze it in. You see that the Inferno Tower was played after.
These Goblin Zone Skeletons are no joke at this point.
Oh, goodness.
It's actually allowing him to switch sides. This is actually not working out very well for Adam because... Oh, actually, the Hog Rider's going to do really well against Adam.
Oh, but it's going to get eliminated by Skeletons and Cannons, and that is a huge
Only got
commitment
2
by Woody.
attacks. Yeah.
Woody really wanted to make sure, and the mortar's targeted onto the tower now.
You're right. Oh!
Oh!
For the 10-second left kill.
Wow, and he's really committing to that. There it is, Woody.
Impressive, Woody.
Woody's decision-making as a Siege player is just so... I mean,
very intricate.
how many Siege players do you know can make the decision, first of all, to say, hey, I'm going to rocket the Elixir Collector on the tower that's completely irrelevant, and then figure out, hey, I'm going to counter push and have my Skeletons and Goblins do damage to that right side tower, and then place his mortar, and then commit his defense.
Who switches
instantly.
lanes? Yeah. What mortar deck switches lanes like that? That was incredible. I mean, I don't think I expected that out of that game at all.
That was crazy. That was crazy. Now, Adam has to think about, okay, Woody's down to his Royal Giant deck, his Royal Giant Princess Siege.
You're right.
And Adam has a choice to switch his deck. Now, if these players were being studious and watching the games, they should know, as a general, there's only 7 other players, and even so, depending on your bracket, you only really have to study a few of them.
And they're spectating
These
live
players-
like we are.
Yeah,
You know,
these
They're
players
spectating.
should know what they're up against, so they should have an idea of, hey, is deck 1 or deck 2 going to be better? And then also, how do I want to play my opening hand? What can I gamble on? You know, if you're, for example, Hog Rider deck, is it likely that he won't have a building? Not very likely. Not going to waste your elixir doing that. Just cycle.
Yeah. If Adam has Mini P.E.K.K.A. or Barbarians in either of his 2 decks, I think that's what he needs to roll out right now. But I am not familiar with what his other deck list is. I just don't remember from the earlier rounds. I really like the ability of the forward center Elixir Collector, even just to distract Royal Giants. You only need to put it up 1 click in front of the tower. It's this, you play a P.E.K.K.A. in front of the Royal Giant, hack, 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 and then the double princes behind it. How can a Royal Giant deck really defend against that?
Oh, and it looks like he's just opting to go for the trade. He's really just going for the trade.
Wow,
We're
who's
going
go-
for a base race. This is a
3 crown
question
base
of
race,
3 crowns.
incredible.
Ice Wizard behind the mini.
Pushes. It's this, you play a P.E.K.K.A. in front of the Royal Giant, hack, 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 and then the double princes behind it. How can a Royal Giant deck really defend against that?
Oh, and it looks like he's just opting to go for the trade. He's really just going for the trade.
Wow,
We're
who's
going
go-
for a base race. This is a
3 crown
question
base
of
race,
3 crowns.
incredible.
Ice Wizard behind the minions, and I like the
like the
order
play.
that he which. Okay, the first tower was given to rather Adam. We'll have to see. Oh, they're working on the King Tower already.
Dude, that Barbarian, though, those Barbarians are tearing it down, and the Royal Giant still has full health.
The Royal Giant needs to be stopped somehow. He cannot kill it in time. And the units for Adam have been destroyed. The Royal Giant continuing to work. Bomber.
Oh, there's a second Royal Giant!
Second Royal Giant.
There's no building in the way!
Oh, Adam.
No!
Okay.
Oh!
Oh my God, Woody.
Adam, hey, you know what? Great gamble. I like to see games like that. Sometimes games are just over in the first minute. That happens, right? But that, I think, was a great play. The big downside there for the P.E.K.K.A. double Prince deck against Royal Giant is that Prince and Dark Prince aren't really good on defense.
Yeah.
Once the P.E.K.K.A. and Royal Giant were in separate lanes, I think the die had been cast at that point. You know,
yes, your fate has been sealed, and that is one of the reasons why you were mentioning it. You were mentioning it at the start of this tournament. Let's go ahead and go for this lobby of it.
Incredible game.
At the start of the tournament, you were talking about how effective freeze was against the Royal Giant. If there was a freeze in that situation, that is probably the only way that Adam could have squeezed out of that situation. Because otherwise, he just actually has no cards to deal enough damage against that Royal Giant fast enough after they were on the King Tower. You know?
Yeah, that's especially once that second Royal Giant came down, it was over. Like it it was over at that point. You know what I mean? That's such a difficult. He had just taken 2,000 damage to try to stop a Royal Giant, and just as he does it, just short of dying, a second Royal Giant comes down. The thing is that even if he had played like Princes or P.E.K.K.A.s or whatever on the left lane, they weren't going to start attacking and hit the tower fast enough to make up for the Royal Giant.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at our bracket and give it a refresh, but I think it's already updated. ManuFan05 versus Woody. Now, these players... Now, remember, Woody was already a tournament winner. He has 1,000 points on our leaderboard.
Yeah.
He's already guaranteed to get either 1,000 or 500, right? So he's going to be way up there. ManuFan is up and coming. We haven't seen him perform in any of the tournaments, but I feel like he's a really, really strong player. And, you know, if he repeatedly joins these tournaments, he could take over Woody in terms of points placings, and that's just going to have to come with consistent participation.
Yeah.
The other thing to think about is that Woody is proving that mortars are still very much alive.
Yeah, I'm very impressed at the bravery of Woody saying, like, I know they just nerfed it. They nerfed it big time,
Yeah.
too. I mean, 2 separate...
Deploy
very-
time
and
damage nerf.
Yeah. And saying, like, you know what? I understand that you're going to nerf it. I'm just going to tweak my deck list a little bit and keep going. That is pretty impressive.
Okay.
And here we go. Game 1 of the finals about to start.
So while this is happening, I'm going to explain to you the last raffle that's going to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and
Oh, actually, we should have given them a few seconds, actually, to start their match.
Yep.
ManuFan wanted a few minutes, but...
It's okay. So what you guys need to know is for this next raffle, the last question, the final question, is that you have to say !raffle space any question you want to ask Rumham. Rumham, an expert on the Clash Royale community, makes very informative Reddit posts and analytical posts. Any question you have for him, !raffle space any question you have for Rumham, he will go ahead and sift through them and answer them. But we have a mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh my god!
You know what's crazy? There was a very interesting decision that happened while the raffle was in. ManuFan arrowed 3 goblins at the feet of the Royal Giant and not the princess. And it seemed like he made that decision specifically because he felt that the goblins were going to stop his Royal Giant push before the princess would. So very interesting play there. And wow, that tower's already down so low, ManuFan. Wow. What's Woody playing? Woody's playing his Royal Giant deck, it looks like, and not his mortar.
Yeah.
So it's a Royal Giant duel.
I almost feel like ManuFan's title should be the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Ninja.
Yeah, he's been slipping mini P.E.K.K.As by defenses all day.
The mini P.E.K.K.A. Ninja for sure. Royal Giant in the back. Okay, I feel like I've never seen that before. Royal Giant all
We've
the
seen
way
a
in the
little bit
back.
of them, but yeah, it's usually it's been punished or hasn't been. This duel is going to
Look
be
at
really
this.
interesting. I want to see. Okay, Barbarians are coming on Woody's side. I'm surprised he didn't play the Barbarians into the enemy Royal Giant. He's just letting that tower go down. He says, I can't
Okay,
stop
Minion
it.
Horde's gonna get taken down by the princess. All right,
Barbarians are coming in. And look, the Royal Giant hasn't taken any damage yet.
All right, so this situation is interesting for Woody because he's only just gonna break down the tower, and actually Woody maintains the elixir
even.
advantage.
Not pretty even. I mean, even though we got to stop this elixir collect or this mini P.E.K.K.A. obviously, but overall, the 1,000 damage on the King Tower isn't probably going to matter. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll eat my words if there's a 3 crown. But
Yeah.
I think overall that was a worthwhile trade for him to make. I was surprised he didn't play the Barbarians into the Royal Giant. Besides,
Wow,
just couldn't defend
and
the
he's
tower.
gonna use his positioning advantage to put his Royal Giant directly in range of that crown tower, and the cannon is not gonna help tank any damage. And Woody can actually start chipping away at ManuFan, and if ManuFan goes for a similar strategy, Woody is already ahead.
Wow. Very interesting. I'm surprised he played the Royal Giant where he did. So if you play the Royal Giant right at the river, like once you've taken a tower and you can deploy on their side, if you play it at the river, like not a click further in, it will reach the far left tower, whatever, the remaining tower, without the King Tower aggroing it. But if you notice, the first time, Woody played it 1 click further down and had the King Tower shooting it. This time, the
Oh
King
my
Tower is
goodness.
shooting the Barbarians.
And he actually pushed it so the Royal Giant took 2 shots at the cannon, but I don't know if it's gonna matter. He gets so much damage in, and ManuFan looks like he's bested in terms of Royal Giant placement.
And I like the splash damage where the Princess is hitting the Ice Wizard as well. It looks like she's targeting the tower. The Ice Wizard's damage isn't really doing much.
Uh-oh. Royal Giant now finally making its way, and this is why ManuFan got so far behind. And what's interesting is...
Woody! Woody steals game 1!
Oh!
Cannon!
Now, one thing that I have to talk about here that is really, really important that a lot of people, I think, ignore
is that ManuFan, remember, had a very, very, very strong early lead. His mini P.E.K.K.A. creeps through, put the last tower to 100 plus health, right? But the thing is, in order to finish off that tower, he committed a whole 6 elixir. He committed a whole Royal Giant that killed the tower, ended up walking for it and killing the King Tower. Guess what? Woody took that opportunity to completely ignore that, and he pushed down from 100 to 0 the left side tower of...
Very, very smart. I mean, I said it as it happened. I said, why wouldn't you play your barbarians in front of the Royal Giant? But the reason why, it's kind of right there. The reason why is, well, I'm not going to stop that tower anyways. 5 elixir barbarians isn't going to protect that tower. So instead, let's try to go for the trade. He just abandoned his side, said, you know what, forget it. Let's tie it up. And was able just to use those pushes.
And so essentially, what ends up happening is now Manufan spent 6 elixir on a right side push that essentially Woody was like, I'm going to ignore all of this.
Yeah.
And so he is 6 elixir up on the left side, and we saw at the end of that trade, Woody had a full bar of elixir plus an elixir collector in the back, and Manufan was dry.
Yeah.
And that allowed the resulting play of Woody being able to put his Royal Giant in the middle, do so much damage early on to Manufan's right side remaining tower, and then Manufan got behind and he felt like he needed to stop the Royal Giant pushes.
Here's what's interesting, though. Can Manufan pull this off? Manufan has 2 Royal Giant decks, and Woody has to win with a Mortar deck.
Interesting.
So, can Woody pull off a win against a deck that is kind of his natural enemy?
That is very interesting.
Oh, that's
Ninja!
Another
my God!
Another Pekka Ninja!
Oh, situation
goodness.
like not as bad as it could have been. Just one swing.
Hooray!
Oh,
We
my
are both
goodness.
fans of mini Pekka Ninjas.
Oh.
He even looks like a little ninja.
Yeah,
He's wrapped in like black metal. He's got a little like eye slit he can look
The
through.
mini Pekka, that is a okay. We've got the miner with the raccoon mask, and now we've got mini Pekka with a ninja outfit. We'll
Now
submit
that,
this to Supercell.
once again, the mortar gets countered by the cannon. Actually, having Royal Giant and
Oh
cannon
my
in this deck
God,
is not going
Manufan.
to bode well for the mortar deck.
Manufan is just so good at sneaking damage into towers in general. That's just what he does. He knows how to play in between your elixir.
And that's that veteran play. I mean, the difference between a good player and a great player is the ability to chip in just that 300 damage until they all add up. Great play with the goblins there, by the way, to protect that princess.
Yeah, yeah. And the princess is gonna have.
And he's going to
maximum
sneak through
effectiveness.
another mini.
Oh!
Tell me if you've heard this one before.
Okay, but the princess is there, but it's not gonna one shot the goblins.
No,
Remember, because
too slow. The wind up.
Yep. Oh.
Wow, nice job on that goblin, by the way, to get the needed shiv
Yeah.
to kill it.
Okay.
Oh, wow. So that elixir, that Inferno Tower is going to drop, and he's going to drop a mortar right there, right to the next
Yep.
side of the Inferno Tower.
And the Inferno Tower still has a good amount of health.
Yeesh,
And the
different.
fact that it's not at the bridge means that if he tries to play goblins or a mini Pekka to try to get around, they have to walk a long distance.
It looks like he wanted to save up till he had all 10.
Okay.
Nice, and the cannon did go down, but... Oh!
One
You should be able
shot.
to get 1 or 2 shots off,
Okay,
maybe?
but this is heavily nerfed, right?
Yeah. Only about 250 damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
230. Still, though, only need about 10 of those shots.
Yeah.
A single mortar can do plenty.
And here we go.
Oh, wow. So I'm surprised he didn't play the Royal Giant. I mean, he clearly is going for the tower, but I feel like Royal Giant right there would have outranged the cannon. It would have killed all those things. I mean, it would have killed the cannon
Oh.
and the mortar and tanked all the damage.
Nice. The princess is actually getting the cannon and the mortar now. And
Nice. And the mortar just retargeted
Nice.
to the cannon.
Oh, the rocket!
Wow. So now...
And now it's retargeted. So this is a guaranteed maybe 2 shots. No, the arrow's going to take it down. But again, like you said, the ticking, hey, we'll take it.
But here we go. This Royal Giant, it doesn't look like it's going to be easily stopped by
And this is
anything.
dangerous.
Double
Now,
Princess!
what's really dangerous is now you don't have the opportunity to take one tower and then trade the other tower because it's going into overtime. The instant you lose your tower, unless you somehow line it up to be at the exact same time, the next tower that drops is actually the losing
the
player.
game. Yeah, I actually kind of favor, in that situation, then I favor Manufan because the Royal Giant has just not
Yeah, the
proven
Royal Giant
stoppable
is
this whole
fast.
tournament. Yeah.
The time to tower for the Royal Giant is fast, and his attack speed is much quicker than the mortar.
Big call out for Woody, though, with using that single cannon to hold off a lot of stuff.
Uh-oh, there's nothing to take it. Okay, the deploy time is incredibly long, so that Royal Giant is actually, and this is why the Royal Giant is so great.
But then again, look at where by letting it come up and then playing the Inferno Tower, he actually kind of baited a Royal Giant to now what is now a full health Inferno
But
Tower.
the question is, he's committed all of his structures. If he plays a Royal Giant on the left side, you're gonna need to play something like a mortar to block it, and he's actually gonna commit his mortar to the right side, and it's gonna shoot the left side. And okay,
it is.
Manufan commits his Royal Giant to the right side.
It's interesting because it looks like Manufan is committing to an arrows, grinding him out with arrows and maybe
Yeah,
trying to sneak a Royal Giant.
and
at
he's
the end.
gotten started early, so he has 2 minutes of time to continue doing that. I mean, 619 health. That's about like 4-ish, 5-ish arrows.
Let's see with the cannon. He's got the goblins in front of the cannon to block. Oh, wow. That fireball, though, just ended that push before it got started. Oh, wow, though. 50 damage adds up.
Any tick onto...
No, it's...
Oh! Okay, it's
Oh, wait,
taking the
no.
mortar.
Okay, I get it. Taking the mortar. That makes sense. But that Inferno Tower, once again...
Mini P.E.K.K.A. Trying to make its way
And that
across.
mortar's going to live with a lot of health left. It's
Yeah.
going to shoot the princess now.
And then it's
Squisher.
going to shoot the... Okay,
Oh, and there goes
nice.
the cannon. That's the downside about Mortar. It's such a predictable, slow card
Yeah.
that a really smart player can just sort of chain that along. All right,
It's kind
shoot
of like
that,
a
then
very
shoot
long
that.
range. It's the long range, faster attacking, lower damage Sparky.
Yeah.
That can be. So I guess it's not like Sparky at all. But
I just call Sparky a ground balloon.
Yeah.
In the ground balloon.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a
And
very intricate
what's interesting
battle
to
here at
note
the end.
is that Woody has not chipped away at that right side tower with fireballs or rockets of any kind. He's been so concerned with defending the Royal Giant that he's not had the elixir to just keep rocketing, and that's what was getting him a lot of the damage before.
And that's a good point too, because if he were to ever, and that's a great, once again, getting the princess with the arrows is just super valuable.
That
oh, that
Mini
mini
P.E.K.K.A.
P.E.K.K.A. ran
That
all the way
Mini-
across the right.
He came
He's a
across the
river
world.
runner. Oh, it's too late.
It's too late. It's onto the tower. He needs to play a lot of cards, but where are your towers? And now, here's an interesting thing. Manufan can actually play a mini P.E.K.K.A. on the left if the buildings are not positioned right.
I think he's ignoring the mini P.E.K.K.A. strategies from here on out and really just trying to cycle these arrows. He's just got his arrows back in his hand, I think. Oh, wow. Wasted fireball from Woody. That might prove fatal.
Nice! The princess, and then the arrows on
shot.
top.
One more shot.
And he gets it. The arrows is going to close it out.
Wow. Incredible game by Manu.
That was a very long-term strategy employed by Manufan, recognizing,
Cast
hey,
off 5 arrows.
3 minutes ago, he's like, I need to start arrowing this tower because I know that in the future, if I don't do that, it's going to become a draw, and I want the win. Manufan, I really respect that strategical thinking and really looking at it in the long term. A lot of people see the card exchanges of 1-to-1 to 1-to-1, but this guy is looking at the macro, right? He's looking at the big picture.
It was interesting because that involved him making some bad plays. There was at least one time where he arrowed a naked tower, just 3 elixir to do 150 damage to the tower, right? Like that wasn't a good or efficient play, but given that the situation they were in, it was one of the main things that contributed to that win. There's only 30 seconds left in overtime.
Yeah.
That could have been a draw.
Yeah.
If he didn't just throw in arrows randomly earlier in the match.
All right, into the next game, but really quickly, exclamation mark raffle space. Any question you have for Rumham, that's our last giveaway that's going to be closing out. I'm closing the raffle after this game ends. So when the crown tower or when the victor is decided for the last game, that's when the raffle closes. Any question to Rumham, exclamation mark raffle space, ask your question.
Wow, Manufan's bleeding. Oh no, he's bleeding elixir. I wonder if he's having connectivity problems.
I think it might have, it might have been connectivity if we saw that mini P.E.K.K.A. there had like a double clock thing. And this is going to hurt. The mortar is actually going to be pretty damaging, and a princess added on top of that.
Oh no! Oh, I really don't want this game decided by connectivity issues.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what our admin is going to say about that.
I'm totally comfortable with them playing this match over again. This is pretty gross.
Yeah. I think the admin is going to.
Oh, I think it looks like Woody's not casting things anymore. He's just wait. They're just going to do it over again.
Yeah. Actually, technically, Woody should cast it. Yeah. Now that we have time, exclamation mark raffle space. Your question for Rumham could be anything.
Oh yeah.
Could be anything about a stream, about Clash Royale, about Helsinki.
Helsinki was very nice. That trip was super cool. I've never been to Finland. I saw you got to tour the Supercell office. They were super nice.
Man, I wish I could have gone to Finland.
Oh, it was super cool. I got a Supercell hoodie and stuff like that. They're so generous. Like they're just very nice people.
The next time you go, add me as a +1.
I got a big bag. I'll just put you in the overhead and just,
I'm a skinny guy.
Yeah. Here, you contortionist. You just gotta get good with the holding over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like they might just play this one over again. God willing. Both of these players are already winners. I mean, if you look at it one way, the second place winner is going to get over $100 worth of gems. The second place player gets $200. I mean, 7 super magical chests. I would like to open 4 super magical chests right now.
Yeah, I would love to do that too. I have opened 0 super magical chests.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be a stat.
How many super magicals you've opened?
You go to the profile and you can see how many super magical cups have been opened.
I've looted 2.
You've looted 2?
I've looted 2.
That's a lot. That's a lot. All right. The admins are.
We're going to replay that last game. There is 0 chance that we are letting this game end on a disconnect. This tournament. These two have played exceptional Clash Royale the entire way up here.
Just to have that effort.
We're not like that. We're not robbing the title from someone on something as simple as the internet.
Yeah. Whew.
Close game. You want to close the raffle out now, or do you want to wait till after the finals? We can wait till after the finals.
Yeah,
do it.
let's wait until after the finals. We just have one game left. If you guys have been enjoying the tournament play all day today, make sure to give this channel a follow. Make sure to give the Twitter a follow. All that information is up on the overlay right now. We do this weekly, and Rumham has been kind enough to join and give us a hand and do commentary and do awesome videos. Make sure you give us a feedback about everything: the tournament, the casting, the videos, what you want to see, and we have more announcements down the road that you can find on Twitter. Both for also make sure Rumham has a Twitter too now.
I just made one the other day.
Newly created. Make sure to follow that. And we're gonna give you guys updates about what's going on with us.
Yeah.
Radiant and Rumham doing Clash Royale stuff. Super magical updates about when the next registration for the next tournament is, and any kind of updates that we have.
This is really just the start of something big. We really want the Super Magical Cup to become the premier community tournament. So sign up for next week. Don't even wait till next week. Sign up now for next week's tournament. You could win, obviously up to 7 Super Magical chests for the championship.
Absolutely.
And it looks like we're waiting on ManuFan to reconnect right now. I'll give him a few more minutes and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, if he doesn't reconnect in just a bit, then we'll close out the raffle. So in between, we're gonna be like those annoying commercial or advertisement people. We're gonna show you the same videos that you've seen before. So guys, hang tight. When we come right back to the finale of Super Magical Cup number 3, Woody or a ManuFan.
And let us know what kind of videos of these you want to see. We're going to make a whole bunch of these, so anytime we have to take a break or an intermission, we have informative videos for you, but we only have a small number right now. Oh, wait, ManuFan's actually ready to go. Right, you want to start this one? Yeah,
yes.
We're not having an intermission at all. He's back.
Woohoo! We're done. We saved you guys. We saved you guys.
But in case you're wondering, the way to stop Prince is with skeletons. We are ready. Boom, 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 boom. Finals.
We need
It's finals week for people in college.
We need a. Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, because I went to the University of Washington, our quarters were very. My school didn't end until like June, July.
Because I went to college in Florida, I didn't learn anything.
Because I went to college in Seattle, everything was just dark and gray.
That's how you play video games.
What am I doing here then?
I'm trained to be a doctor, but as it turns out,
You're nursing the mental health of all the players that complain about Mortar. Oh goodness, I forgot. We're right here. Oh my god!
Game 3 of the finals. Okay, so early on, no real damage has been done yet. I actually, so once again, Woody's trying to set up his mortar deck. I haven't seen, the Royal Giant comes out. That 5-second deploy time could be the difference here between this whole match, because that gives that much more time to save up that extra few elixir and be able to play your Royal Giant in time. So you're tied 1-1, game 3 here. I'm ready to declare a champion.
Yes, we have to be ready. Inferno Tower onto the Royal Giant, but it's gonna get 1 or 2 shots, and as we've seen from the last game, every single little tick of damage onto the tower counts. Interesting positioning for
I like the skeletons being placed right around to prevent. Oh, the zap counter, very good.
Mini P.E.K.K.A, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Mini P.E.K.K.A, no.
That's a bummer that after all that, though, the main P.E.K.K.A doesn't. It just gets grounded up.
Yep.
Goes to the slaughterhouse.
Inferno Tower stands alone in the middle of the green field, and now the princess is going to tick away at it. And
when you have metal armor, it's hot.
Oh, goodness. The princess is liable to just get wrecked right about now.
So what's interesting is I think
it's on the Royal Giant.
It's on the princess. What a bummer, because now all of that is going to start shooting
and now
the Royal
skeletons.
Giant.
I think they were already dead by the time the thing hit.
Although overall, 2 shots though.
Yeah.
Given how much effort was put into that, that's a pretty good 2 shots.
And interesting to think that the mortar actually, just by health degradation, is already down to about 10%.
Yeah. Got about 2 shots off though, not exactly evening it up, but Woody is caught up to where ManuFan was before that last push.
Yeah. Woody, again, maybe the princess.
I don't know. I'm ready to throw some confetti. Show me something that's confetti worthy.
60 seconds left. You're leaking elixir, ManuFan. There we go.
It's hard, man. I leak elixir so much in double elixir time. That's one of my worst habits as a player.
Yep.
It's so
no!
You gain elixir so quickly.
Oh no!
Oh! The princess does go to the princess duel.
Does he have a building?
He does.
Has a cannon on hand.
It is too far. Or no, it's close enough. Okay.
But he actually got pushed out because of all the mini units he played. The Royal Giant actually got pushed out of the tower range.
Wow, that's pretty good. He avoided a little bit of damage there. That princess. Oh, the princesses are dueling Inferno Towers.
Skeletons to assist the princess on the right side, but ultimately they're not going to do very much.
Ooh, once again, the Royal Giant on the far side. Pretty good fireball there, but I think this Royal Giant's going to get countered. I think Woody might have
He has a good
wow,
situation
that's a
set up
lot
for
of health
himself.
left, and the Princess is firing too.
And a mini P.E.K.K.A. against skeletons and goblins is not ideal.
He zapped the mortar, but he didn't have anything for it to retarget.
Oh my goodness,
to.
and Woody's actually catching up in damage super quick. And maybe even 2 more.
Wow.
He has Rocket in deck.
Oh, that's right. He's got Rocket. Is the game over? No, one
Just
more
one more shot. It's over. He can't stop the mortar. The Rocket.
Here it
He
comes.
has it. It's happening. It's just a matter of time.
4,
Could we see it?
5,
The
6.
the towers could be traded.
Give the Rocket.
Rocket.
Oh, no, no, no.
He doesn't have the elixir. No. Oh my God. He did.
Manufan steals it. He could have cast the. But I see.
Woody-
He was worried about losing or whatever.
When he
my
casted
God.
the fireball instead of the rocket, if he had just waited and casted the rocket, oh my
the
God!
rocket, then the fireball. Oh, congratulations, Manufan! Excellent play. I was wondering. I said, why wouldn't you play the Royal Giant into the mortar every time? 100% of the
Yeah.
time, drop Royal Giant in front of mortar, and because you're gonna get your Royal Giant will survive with like 80%, 60% health. It'll be fine, right? So I was wondering why he was going in the opposite lane, but clearly he went for that late push. Incredible.
Oh my God! And I feel like this was just so interesting because Manufan,
Confetti.
confetti, champagne, thumbs up. I mean, Manufan made an executive decision at
Yeah.
the end. He was like, "I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do it."
Yeah.
And that 1% chance, the rocket just either wasn't in a cycle. He obviously didn't have the elixir.
Yeah, he obviously had his hand. He hadn't
especially-
cast it the whole game. He was sitting his hand the whole time.
After, yeah, right. He chose to cast a fireball. 2 elixir was the difference at the end.
You know, Royal Giant's not a very fast attacker. I'm surprised. I mean, I think I would have just let it fly. I mean, maybe you still lose anyways, but I'd have let it fly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Great. You know what, though? Great. Congratulations to Manufan. Manufan, I believe, moves to number 3 on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Woody is actually the super magical point leader now,
Yeah.
though, with, I believe, 1,500 something points?
Yeah, 1,500, because he got 1K for first place finishes for the first ever Super Magical Cup, and now he's gotten second place, so he gets another 500 points.
Is that 750 or 500?
500 for second
500,
place.
okay.
Yeah.
So with 1,500 points, Woody is the clear leader in the Super Magical Point Challenge. He's the winner of 4 Super Magical chests, which hopefully will, lots of epics, lots of legendaries possible in there. But Manufan bursts onto the scene, his first Super Magical Cup, his first win, and he is now in the top 4 of the leaderboard.
And what's amazing is we got to follow his journey all the way through because he was part of our group.
Yeah. So
So-
we watched some of his group matches.
Simply
That was not
amazing.
prepared, right? Like, sometimes when you watch like poker on ESPN, they know who's going to win, so they follow those people all the
Yeah.
way back. We had no idea. This just
It just happened.
happened.
That
Congratulations,
that
Manufan.
just
Clanmates with
happened.
Clash with Ash. Popular
Clanmates with Clash
YouTuber.
with
And
Ash.
so that their guild, their clan must be a bastion of high quality tournament strategy.
Maybe they're gonna start flooding the tournaments, and so we gotta step up our game.
Yeah, we gotta bring it down.
We gotta. All right, guys. It's not the end of the event yet. Remember, there's still one more
That's right,
giveaway.
the
and
final giveaway.
questions for Sir Rumham. For Sir Rumham.
Sir. The only time I've ever called sir is when I'm being asked to leave a place.
Maybe that's the question I should
Yeah.
say. Where have you been removed from?
The only time that someone starts with sir, it's like you need to vacate the premises.
All right, the raffle is now closed, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to announce the winners. The last 3 winners for Super Magical Cup number 3 for the spectator giveaways. Albarian, I'm going to announce the winner in chat. And the message is, Rumham, what card is distinctly better in tournament than on ladder? And I think that's a really great question.
Yeah, I actually, I'm gonna say Rocket, but I actually kind of mean any card that has an inevitable win condition to it. Because what's different about tournaments is that every game that would be a draw on the ladder plays 2 more minutes of overtime. Well, the 2 more minutes of overtime is effectively 4 more minutes of elixir, because, it's whatever.
Yeah.
That any deck that, or really any card that allows you to really push a stalemate through to a win is something that can be really good in tournaments. Rocket cycle decks are surprisingly good in tournaments because while they normally draw on the ladder, they can punch through that final victory during the last 2 minutes of overtime. Spawner decks are actually pretty good. I would say Barbarian Hut or Goblin Hut or whatever are pretty good in tournaments. I think those cards are going to be very hard to actually. let's talk about Furnace. I think Furnace might be a card that might be really good in tournaments, but really hard to evaluate in the ladder for a few reasons. One, if your enemy is one level higher than you, their towers will one hit the Furnace, the Fire Spirits. I'm sorry. So those Fire Spirits never do damage. So what's unfortunate about Furnace on the ladder is that you're always going to play someone who's got a higher level than you at some point or another, right? Like, and it means that Furnace isn't consistent 100% of the time that strong. In tournaments, it always will be that strong. And in overtime, the 40-second length of the building means that you're cycling so quick, you'll be able to get 2-3 Furnaces out. And how do you stop that with like 4 minutes, like a 3 minutes of consistent overtime? How do you stop this infinite wave of like 6 Fire Spirits just slamming into your tower? So I would say like Rocket, Furnace, the other spawners, anything that lets you take advantage of the extra elixir and lets you take advantage of the extended time in the match. I think it probably is distinctly better.
Awesome. Hope that was a satisfactory answer to your question. Abarian, make sure you message Super Magical Cup and we will hook you up with your bucket of gems. Let's find our second winner and our second question for Rumham. Royal Gems.
Congrats, Royal Gems. You just won some Royal Gems.
Wow. Yeah. And his question is, why don't players play Swarm?
So this is a very interesting question because this comes down to like what the metagame is. Like people ask me like, what is a metagame? Well, metagame is choosing the cards that you're going to play based on what you know other people play. Now, what's interesting is that everybody plays Princess. So everybody plays Arrows. Hog, everyone plays Hog. Hog decks often run Zap. So most every deck is either running Zap or Arrows, or sometimes even things like Valkyrie, or both, or Valkyrie, whatever. So what happens is if you entirely rely on Swarm cards, you kind of every deck plays something that's good against you. The best Swarm deck I've seen are actually those Arrow bait decks that run not necessarily a lot of Swarm cards, but they run Princess, Goblin Barrel, Minion Horde, all cards that you want to arrow. And what happens is when you arrow the Goblin Barrel, well then they play Minion Horde and you're like, what do I do? Right? Or conversely, they play Princess, and you're like, oh, well, I don't have anything else to do. I'll just arrow the Princess because I want to get rid of it. And then they go, Goblin Barrel, Minion Horde, and you're like, oh, God, like I don't have any answer for this. So yeah, I think that's probably the closest thing to a Swarm deck you're going to see in the meta. But if something like Hog Zap were to go out of favor, or if Princess were not to be played so much, then I think there could be an opportunity for a lot of Swarm decks to come back in. Skeleton Army is, for example, one of those cards that is just sort of unfortunately positioned because everyone's playing Valkyrie and things that are just good against it. But if there were ever a time where people weren't playing Valkyrie and Baby Dragon and stuff like that, then
maybe.
Maybe Skeleton Army.
And what's even worse for Skeleton Army is that Bomber is making a comeback.
I'm surprised about that one, but it makes sense. Barbarians are really popular now. Bomber is the best.
All right.
Final one.
Royal Gems, make sure you message Super Magical Cup. Thank you for your question. And now the final giveaway winner for Buckets of Gems. GG. Good fight and GG.
Yeah, GF and GG. I like that. That was very polite. I like to go out and play
one. And the question is very simple.
This is the worst question.
It is not a very relevant question, but how are you so handsome?
Awesome. I said awesome. If it was handsome, I could answer that. The answer was shaving my head. That really helped a lot. But why are you so awesome is sort of like the reverse of the like when was the last time you robbed a bank kind of thing. Like I can't. I would say being surrounded by very good people. I think that getting to know. I've met so many awesome people through competitive gaming, through Clash Royale, from playing a lot of other games in the past, that all I do is I just take the best things they say and do, and then I just do it myself. So I can only be awesome by knowing other cool people. That would be what I say.
By proxy.
By proxy, yeah. More like osmosis.
Right.
Like I just sort of be like, that's a funny thing, Rainey. Like, I made that now.
Yeah. So I guess as a follow-up, I have a follow-up question to that. So obviously you've been around the space for a long time, and you've been pretty dedicated to doing analytical and approaching games with a competitive mindset and really trying to foster the competitive scene. That's something that's growing in Clash Royale, and it's something that we're trying to grow with the Super Magical Cup. How do you find yourself, I guess, because you spent a lot of time playing the game and you're very high up in the ladder. How do you feel your growth in Clash Royale has been so far, and how has that experience been, because you've played Hearthstone and other games and stuff. How do you feel that experience is in terms of how is it unique, and how is it similar, and how is it great?
Yeah, I think for those who don't know, I've been playing competitive games for about 20 years, which, given that I'm like 29, is a gross amount of time. I learned how to play Magic the Gathering when I was 5 years old, so like I sort of just have been playing card games specifically for a very long time. I think the more you play a game for the longer period of time, the easier it is to account for things like tilt. I think when I used to play other card games and stuff, I would get really angry. When I was trying to get Legendary in Hearthstone, God is my witness, I got so mad one time, I kicked like a basketball, and it like knocked my alarm clock off the shelf. It was like a whole like comedy of errors because I just got so bad. But I think after playing games for years, you learn how to handle tilt. You learn how, when things go wrong, instead of be like, oh, that was so bad, you just go like, what happened? Mm-hmm. What did I play and when did I play it that made me lose that game? Not like, oh, this is BS, rah, trying to figure out like what exactly went wrong and try to correct it. I actually, on stream earlier, I lost about 4 games in a row, and I was playing a Giant Skeleton Royal Giant deck. What I realized was the consistent thing in all 4 games was the opponents had Freeze and Valkyrie, and they had Barbarians that they were playing behind the Giant Skeleton so that the bomb never blew up anything. And I was losing on these big counter pushes, and I go, where'd he get all this elixir? Well, he got it by not losing the Barbarians to the Giant Skeleton and then building on from there. Yeah. So learning how to do that, I just changed my deck and immediately went back on a winning streak. So just staying calm, trying to be analytical will ultimately win you more games. Nobody's ever won a tournament. Nobody's ever won the Super Bowl by being like mad and or whatever, right? Like you at some point have to just stay cool and figure out what's doing and just outsmart them. Outsmarting always wins.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why Rumham is so awesome. So, thank you, everybody, for
Depends on who you ask. I've got some ex-girlfriends that will very much answer that question differently.
Well, that is, maybe a conversation for another day.
He's not!
All right, guys. Yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of the Super Magical Cup. We are every Saturday at 12 p.m. PST. Mm-hmm. And the signups for the next tournament will be announced on Twitter and also on Reddit. Thank you very much to our Clash Royale for allowing us to promote our event and get some exposure. And thank you again for Rumham for coming out, starting to help us out with casting and hosting our stream and pulling viewers in. And thanks for Clash with Ash for dropping by and giving us a little wave, and all you viewers for also watching the stream. I mean, it would be a lot different if we were sitting here talking to ourselves. I feel like you guys
way sadder.
Or maybe we'd just be having a good old time.
Yeah, that's true. I guess so.
It's nice to just share it with everybody watching right now. So, with that being said, next week, 12 p.m. PST, watch out for the signups. Make sure that you sign up and put yourself onto that leaderboard. Come back for more viewer giveaways and more gems for the tournament participants too. Mm-hmm. And I guess we'll see you later. We'll leave you off with the 4 videos. Follow Rumham on Twitter and Twitch. You can follow me if you want, but definitely follow Rumham. And also the Super Magical Cup. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Hey Clashers, Rumham here with another tip series in between your games. Prince is one of the first epics that a new player encounters, and it's really important to know how to counter them. The most important thing to know about a Prince is that once he starts charging, he's going to deal double damage to the first thing he hits to stop the charge. So what you really don't want to do is let a Prince hit your tower, because he's going to tear it down really fast. The best way to deal with a Prince is to use cheap small units to swarm it, surround it, tear it down, and kill it before he ever gets to your tower. An important thing to avoid is to not play any low hit point single body units in front of it, like say a musketeer, because they're just going to get run over within the charge or 2 hits and be barely more than a speed bump against the Prince's charge to your tower. Air is really good against the Prince because he only attacks ground units, but watch out because small units like minions may not kill him before he reaches the tower. The Prince will charge the first ground unit in his sight, so you can distract him towards the middle with buildings that allow both towers to attack him and kill him before he gets there. And that's been your tip series on the Prince. See you in the arena. Hey gang, Rumham here with another troop tip series. The Golem is the biggest, toughest unit in tournament play. Boasting almost 4,000 hit points, it's gonna come right for your tower. The Golem only attacks buildings and not troops, so you would counter it the same way that you would counter, say, a giant. You want to swarm it with cheap units, but watch out because every time the Golem explodes, he's gonna kill a lot of those cheap units around it. The best way to counter Golem is with either high hit point or shield bearing melee units like barbarians and guards, because not only can they attack, but they can survive the explosions after and kill the Golemites. Now the Golem has a lot of hit points, so you definitely don't want to use spells, splash damage. You need high damage single target attackers. Musketeer, Prince, Mini P.E.K.K.A, those sort of things can deal a ton of damage to a Golem before the Golem really does a lot to your towers. Like Giant, Golems will only attack buildings, so you can use buildings to your advantage to lure them across the middle of the field where both towers attack. Thanks for watching. That's been another Troop Tip series. I'll see you in the arena. Hey gang, Rumham here with another Troop Tip series. The Giant is a very big, tough tank unit. It has the most hit points for its elixir cost, but it moves slow and only attacks buildings. First and foremost, because it has so many hit points, don't use your spells on it. You could throw 10 elixir worth of magic on it, and it's barely going to take it to half health, if even. The best way to fight a Giant is to surround it with cheap, swarmy units that will deal tons of damage to it, and they won't die themselves because the Giant doesn't attack them. Since the Giant only attacks buildings, use that to your advantage and draw the Giant towards the middle with buildings where both towers can attack it at once. Now be very careful with the Giant, because low damage splash attacking units like Baby Dragon and Princess can be really good against a lot of units, but won't even bring the Giant to half health by the time he reaches the tower. One of the most effective ways to counter it is with high damage swarm units like guards, barbarians, goblins. That's been Rumham with another Troop Tip series. See you in the arena. Hey Clashers, Rumham here with another tip series. Dark Prince is in a lot of ways the opposite of a Prince. It still charges and does double damage, but instead of a single target attack, the Dark Prince attacks everything in front of it and around it while charging. So in a lot of ways, you counter the Dark Prince the opposite the way of a Prince. You want to use high hit point, single body units. You don't want to use swarms. If you drop goblins and skeletons in front of a Dark Prince, they're going to get cleaned up real fast. Tough units though, like Valkyrie, or high damage single attackers like Mini P.E.K.K.A, will do a great job at repelling Dark Princes. Like Prince, they will charge the nearest thing to them, so you can use buildings to distract them to the middle. Buildings like Cannon are especially useful at destroying a Dark Prince quickly. The Dark Prince has a unique shield mechanic. The shield is a little bit of hit points that blocks any extra damage done to it, simply knocking off the shield. Don't use your big spells while the shield is up, because all that extra damage will go to waste. That's been another tip series on the Dark Prince. See you in the arena.